Cheng anymore, you are embarrassing me. Gu King Cheng. Future Gu King Cheng didn't care. She sneered and said disaffectedly, a frog in the well, a country bumpkin. Gu King Cheng. I was laughed at by my future self again. She is the queen of Hanghouse after all. But even her future self looks down on her. What a sin. This person must have used a quasi-saint level treasure. A sinister treasure with a very obscure power. It is not his own ability. Gu King Cheng snorted coldly. She didn't feel that the seemingly harmless man next to her had any offensive power or anything particularly outstanding. Beside him, Ziran approached Xiao Yi and whispered, "Have the resources been upgraded?" Xiao Yi nodded. "The ones with creative attributes are better. Or still short of the devouring type. Do you have 50 of them?" Ziran shook her head. "After I upgraded to the Saint Realm, I have been with you. I don't have time to do anything else. You are so capable. Please help me. It will take me 1 or 2 months to go to the K-space to do it." She took Xiao Yi's arm and spoke in a coquettish voice. Xiao Yi felt his bones soften when he heard this. And he quickly responded, "Okay, as you are my beast mother, I will naturally help you. But I have one condition." Ziran's beautiful eyes lit up. "What are the conditions?" Xiao Yi leaned close to her delicate ear, blew a breath, and whispered, "When I reward you tonight, call me daddy." Ziran's pretty face froze, and the look she gave Xiao Yi became strange. She moved her lips as if she wanted to say something, although the two spoke in a low voice. Gu King Cheng, a powerful saint, could hear it clearly. "Reward you. Satisfy you," these key words, she understands them and knows what they mean. Ziran will never agree to that. How can I even say such a shameful name? She chirped in her mind. But turning around, Ziran nodded with a blushing face. "No problem, as long as you like. Xiao Yi, Ziran can call you anything." Xiao Yi smiled. He was no longer sleepy after hearing this. His eyes were bright, and he looked much more energetic. He smiled and said, "Sister Ziran, don't be so accommodating to me, or I'll get carried away. I'll let you call me daddy this time. But who knows what you'll call me next time, something even more perverted." Ziran's pretty face became excited after hearing this, and she said, "Do you have a better way to play? Don't hide it, show it all. You know, we have a common hobby, watching action art movies." This, Xiao Yi suddenly realized. Yes, Ziran has watched so many porn movies, so of course she has no objection to what he just said. No, it's not that she doesn't have any objection, on the contrary, she likes it very much. Damn, the things in Ziran's little head are probably more perverted than he imagined. Gu King Cheng turned away, and her beautiful and majestic face was now hot and red. When she was a child, she was also led astray by Ziran and liked to watch action art movies. This strange habit has been retained to this day. Oh, that's not right, this shouldn't be my focus. Ziran actually agreed to him. My goodness. Is this man so charming? Ziran was also teased by this man and agreed with him in everything. In my mind, the sour voice of Gu King Cheng sounded just like eating citric acid. It sounded so sour that it made my teeth fall out. This slut really has a way of seducing her husband. It's just an action art movie. I've watched as many as she has, and the way you play it is no worse than hers. But my husband just hates me and doesn't want to pay attention to me, leaving me alone in an empty room every day. Gu King Cheng felt her ears burning after hearing this. Not to mention her future self, her current self has watched as many porn movies as Ziran, and knows how to play as well as. She gritted her teeth and said in her mind, "Stop talking, you unsatisfied woman. Shut up. Even though I am good at it, I will never use it, nor do I bother to use those shameful ways to please men. I'm the queen of Hanghouse, I'm Gu King Cheng." Shen Hun. Gu King Cheng said speechlessly. "You have seen how good he is, and you still take yourself too seriously. Ziran just said that it was my husband's ability. I understand that you don't believe me. But you don't even believe Ziran's words?" Gu King Cheng's pretty face rose and she remained silent. The means used by the man just now were really not from the treasure, but from his own ability. After Ziran and Xiao Yi talked quietly for a while, they noticed that there was an empress of Hanghouse standing next to them. Ziran asked awkwardly, "Why are you still here?" Xiao Yi whistled and looked away. Gu King Cheng's mouth twitched. Has she become a light bulb? She said speechlessly, "Can't I be here?" Ziran nodded and said, "Well, just don't eavesdrop when we are talking in private." Gu King Cheng's mouth twitched. "Do you think I'm the kind of person who likes to eavesdrop?" Ziran smiled, and the embarrassment in her heart disappeared in an instant. Yes, with the temperament of the Queen of Hanghouse, it was impossible for her to eavesdrop on the shameful words they just said. "We want to kill some magical beasts with devouring attributes." "King Cheng, do you know which secret realm can find them?" Ziran asked. Gu King Cheng thought for a moment and said, "A devouring type exists in the special secret realm No. 23. Ziran's expression lit up with joy. "Xiao Yi, let's go to the special secret realm No. 23. Xiao Yi nodded, "Okay." He looked at Gu Qingcheng and a strange look appeared on his face. Gu Qingcheng at this moment exuded an extremely fierce aura, and was like the different people from the amiable Gu Qingcheng who had just apologized. It was as if the Gu Qingcheng just now was the easygoing big sister next door, and this Gu Qingcheng was the domineering and powerful empress of Hanghouse. Gu Qingcheng suddenly pulled Ziran aside, glanced at Xiao Yi, and whispered, "Ziran, what realm is your husband at?" Ziran frowned and thought for a moment, thinking that Gu Qingcheng was her good sister, so it was not a big deal to reveal some information, so she smiled and said, "He is a great venerable of the second level. As for the talent of a beastmaster, it's a little better than yours, maybe a few hundred times better above the SSS level, and it's a mythical talent. By the way, he is only 18 years old now, and has been practicing for less than a year. Don't think that his realm is relatively low now, it won't be long before he surpasses us. An 18-year-old great venerable with mythical beastmaster talent?" After hearing this, Gu Qingcheng's eyes widened, her pretty face became dull, and she was completely stunned. It is impossible for Ziran to lie to her. Which means that this man is really outstanding. I, the Queen of Hanghouse, am actually not as good as him. Chapter 431, Empress, this man is barely worthy of being a good sister. Mythical template talent. That is a template that only exists in legends and has never appeared from ancient times to the present. Blessed by heaven and earth, and favored by the laws. The template talent of the Son of Destiny who will surely reach the pinnacle in the future. But that was only a legend. I never expected it to actually appear in the world. Gu Qingcheng was stunned. Looking at the stunned Queen of Hanghouse, Ziran was afraid that this would undermine her self-confidence, so she patted her shoulders and said, "Although you are a little bit worse than my husband, don't underestimate yourself. You are still very capable. With your talent and SSS level top-level qualifications, you will definitely be at the top of Blue Star in the future." Gu Qingcheng opened her mouth, choking with speechlessness. "Just a little bit? That's a little bit." She looked at Xiao Yi with surprise in her eyes. She found it incredible that this man was so talented. Gu Qingcheng couldn't help but ask in her mind, "Old Gu, is he really a mythical template?" It's not that she didn't trust Ziran, but the mythical template was too unbelievable. This kind of template was an illusory existence and was really too unreal. Anyone who encounters something that challenges their cognition will have doubts. Seeing Xiao Gu so surprised, the soul Gu Qingcheng said proudly, "Of course. That's my husband." Gu Qingcheng's husband, he can easily create a mythical template in front of him. "Xiao Gu, now you know how powerful my husband is. So don't think you are the best in the world and invincible all the time you are nothing in front of him." Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched. "Are you still so proud of yourself? You can be proud if you want, but you still have to look down on me. Hey, you are also Gu Qingcheng, you are me. If you despise me, you are despising yourself." Chen Hun Gu Qingcheng didn't take it seriously and said with a smile, "No, no, no, no. And different from you, my talent is hundreds of times better than yours." Gu Qingcheng widened her eyes and felt delighted. "Will her qualifications be hundreds of times better in the future?" Gu Qingcheng quickly asked. "Old Gu, you must have a way to improve your qualifications, right? Tell me where I can get the resources." The soul Gu Qingcheng sneered and said, "You are not worthy of it now." Gu Qingcheng. Her face turned dark, and she clenched her pink fists, feeling the urge to hit someone. Soul Gu Qingcheng said again, "As long as you are willing to listen to my advice, I will tell you how to improve your qualifications." Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes lit up. "I will naturally listen to your advice." Soul Gu Qingcheng, why do I feel that you haven't completely accepted your husband in your heart? You should accept your husband quickly. This strand of my soul won't survive for long at this point in time and will dissipate soon. One of my goals after coming back is to improve my husband's attitude towards me. Hurry up and recognize your husband, learn how to seduce him, so that he will not hate you, but will like you and fall in love with you. The purpose of my trip has been fully accomplished. Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched. And he said, speechless lie, "I really want to catch you and beat you up. I, the Queen of Hanghouse, will never use such shameful means. Do fully accept him. To accept him as my best sister's husband, that would require him to have enough outstanding qualities." Hearing this, Shenhun Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, "My husband has many outstanding qualities, you will see them. I hope it's true as you said, and I have enough ability to lead my three good sisters to the top." Gu Qingcheng withdrew his mind and focused on the outside world. He stared at Xiao Yi blankly for several seconds. "Well, this man is barely worthy of my good sister. Barely qualified to be my good sister's husband. But to say that he is completely qualified is not enough. Our three good sisters have entrusted their lives to this man, not just one, not just Ziran." Xiao Yi was stared at closely by the fierce Queen of Hanghouse, feeling uncomfortable all over. Her expression was too serious and she exuded a fierce aura, as if she was staring at herself as if she were a criminal. Although he accepted the apology of the Queen of Hanghouse City, he did not intend to oppose the Queen of Hanghouse City or to have a conflict with her, but in his heart, he still had a very bad impression of the Queen of Hanghouse City. Xiao Yi still hates this woman. He frowned, looked away, walked to Ziran's side, and took out a bronze palace of the perfect quasi-emperor level. The creature capture function of the bronze temple was activated. A small and exquisite bronze palace floated up from his palm, emitting a vast and majestic aura and casting 2 rays of light. 1 red and 1 green. 2 rays of light were projected onto the creative monsters huddled together. Around 1400 magical beasts were immediately freed from the world's confinement and all captured into the bronze palace. Ziran had seen this kind of scene many times and felt nothing at all. But Gu Qingcheng is different. The moment he saw the bronze palace, his heart, which had just calmed down, was stirred again. A look of deep surprise appeared on her beautiful and serious face. She recognized the bronze palace as an imperial treasure. Even she had never owned a treasure of this level. How could someone of the great master level like Xiao Yi possess it? Gu Qingcheng looked at Ziran and suddenly understood, feeling a little helpless. It is estimated that Ziran, the good sister who was hooked into a black bass, used some method to obtain the bronze palace, an imperial treasure, in Jinling City, and then gave the bronze palace, an imperial treasure, to this man. It's probably a token of love. Let's not talk about how glorious this man's future will be, setting aside the facts. He is now at the level of a great sage and is just a gigolo. On the other side, after all the monsters were put away, Xiao Yi put away the bronze palace, patted it and said, "Okay, let's go to the next secret realm to obtain devouring resources." Ziran skillfully took Xiao Yi's arm, leaned against it, and said with a grin, "Okay. Qingcheng, are you coming with us?" Gu Qingcheng wanted to observe Xiao Yi to see if he was as good as old Gu said, excellent in every aspect and capable of being the husband of 3 good sisters, so she said, "Go." The 3 of them returned to the secret hall through the portal and saw a heavily guarded scene. Teams of soldiers in steel armor exuding murderous aura stood in front of the teleportation array gate of the special secret realm. There was also a banner hung outside. Special secret realm closed from 20th to 30th today. Xiao Yi frowned. Closed? He also needs to obtain the devouring rule fragment crystals to upgrade the Ziran mythical template. Ziran's upgrade resources are 50 fortune making rule fragment crystals, 50 creation type rule fragment crystals, 50 devouring rule fragment crystals, and 200 supreme crystals, and 200 supreme crystal cores. Currently, he possesses the good fortune and creation types, and is still short of the devouring type, 200 supreme crystal cores. Ziran leaned close to Gu Qingcheng and whispered in her delicate ear, "What are they doing?" Gu Qingcheng shook his head, then pointed his finger at a team leader, exuding a sense of oppression, and naturally spoke in the tone of a superior. "You, come here. The secret realm hall is open to the residents and soldiers of Hanghouse City. Why are you surrounding it?" The iron-armored commander knelt on one knee with a thud and said solemnly, "When the Empress goes out, we must clear the passersby so as not to disturb her interest." Gu Qingcheng nodded. "Then you guys continue to surround them." Having received the Empress's approval, the Iron Warrior was very excited and said, "Yes." Xiao Yi and Ziran looked at it in shock. Is this the treatment of the Queen of Hanghouse? Awesome. Chapter 430. Gu Qingcheng was shocked. Can he predict the future? The Iron Commander returned to the portal of the special secret realm and said to dozens of soldiers, "Keep your eyes open and don't let even a fly in." "Yes sir, yes sir, yes." These soldiers also heard the conversation between the Empress and the Commander. Their behavior was recognized and satisfied by the Empress. Everyone was in much better spirits, but the surge of enthusiasm in their hearts and their eyes sharper, as if they had obtained their life mission, staring closely at every inch and every millimeter of the outside world. Gu Qingcheng turned around. The oppressive feeling on her body subsided, and she smiled and said, "Ziran, Xiao Yi. Shall we continue to Secret Realm No. 20? Ziran said, "Well, Secret Realm No. 20, devouring magical beasts." Then, the teleportation array flashed, and the figures of the 3 people disappeared. Special Secret Realm No. 20. This small world has clear skies and no clouds, with mountains and large lakes located all over the world. The 3 of them stood 10,000 meters in the air and took in the scene of the secret place. Xiao Yi's temple suddenly throbbed and he felt a sense of crisis in his heart. He frowned, feeling something was not right. The time-related talent skill of predicting the future is automatically activated. Mysterious energy emanated, and pictures appeared in my mind. All the Supreme Realm monsters suddenly rose up and besieged the Hanghouse soldiers who were undergoing trials in the secret realm. A dragon-shaped monster with a single horn on its head seizes the heart of the secret realm in a special space. The heart of the secret realm was crushed and destroyed, the secret realm collapsed, the small world fell apart. And all the mountains, lakes, monsters and soldiers in this small world were strangled by the chaos of space as the world collapsed. After reading the predicted image, Xiao Yi's face darkened. When the small world collapses, all the creatures inside will suffer, and the devouring monsters will also suffer. If he lets things continue this way, his trip will be in vain. Immediately he wanted to inform the Queen of Hanghouse of this information. Wu Qingcheng and Ziran suddenly narrowed their eyes, looked at each other, and said in unison, "Something happened." In their minds, the soldiers of the Venerable Realm and Great Venerable Realm, who were training in this small world, were crushed and slaughtered by the Supreme Realm monsters. Swish, the Queen of Hanghouse disappeared on the spot. Diran took Xiao Yi's arm and said with a serious expression, "Xiao Yi, the monsters in this small world are rioting, and the soldiers in Hanghouse City have been slaughtered. Let's go and help." Before Xiao Yi could express his opinion, he was pulled across the void and quickly arrived above a mountain. More than 1,000 Hanghouse soldiers were surrounded in the mountains, and more than a dozen supreme-level monsters blocked them from all sides with teasing expressions. "A portal won't open. We can't get out. Oh, no, the information can't be transmitted. We are in trouble this time. That's it, I'd rather die standing up." The experienced soldiers faced desperate situations, but none of them showed any fear. The captain of the team showed a resolute look on his face and shouted, "Soldiers, there are wolves in front and tigers behind. Even if we die, they will pay a heavy price. Everyone, prepare to fight." Hit and attack the dragon snake monster in front. Attack. As soon as the words fell, more than 1,000 soldiers attacked collectively, shouting loudly, "Kill, kill, kill." The supreme dragon snake beast showed disdain on his face. Rubbish. Its 100-meter-long tail covered with gray scales swept out with unparalleled momentum, slapping towards the soldiers who were rushing over. If they hit the target, all the soldiers would die on the spot. Looking for death. At this time, a domineering and cold female voice resounded in the ears of all the soldiers and all the monsters. "It's the Empress. The Empress is here to save us. Everyone, charge. It's worth it to fight side with the Empress, even if we die." The soldiers charged at an increased speed, their morale soared, and they charged forward with fanatical expressions. After hearing the domineering female voice, all the supreme monsters felt as if there was thunder exploding in their ears, making their heads buzzing and their minds become dazed. Here comes another piece of trash. A bigger ant is still an ant. Leave this man to me. The dragon snake monster soared into the sky and rushed towards the white-robed figure in the sky. Wu Qingcheng opened her hand and lightly grabbed in the air. A dragon snake monster that soared into the sky was imprisoned on the spot, its body suspended in Midra. Its body seemed to be tightly grasped by a terrifying existence, unable to move. Wu Qingcheng looked indifferent and clenched her hands suddenly. Bang! A loud explosion resounded through the sky, and the dragon snake exploded like bloody smoke. And endless blood spilled onto the ground. "The Empress is mighty. The Empress is mighty. The Empress is so handsome." The soldiers had fanatical expressions, and looked at Wu Qingcheng standing high in the sky with great reverence. A reason why they wanted to join the army was because they respected the Empress and wanted to fight alongside her, kill monsters together with her, and expand the territory of the base city. In the base city of Hanghouse, almost everyone is a soldier, except the elderly, the weak, the sick and the disabled. In their eyes, the Empress is a myth, the supreme being, the goddess of war in everyone's heart. Joining the army has become a dream and the only ideal path in everyone's heart. Holy Realm, this is a powerful person from the Holy Realm. Run, everyone run. After seeing the dragon snake being crushed to pieces, the remaining 12 supreme-level monsters showed expressions of horror. They all fled in all directions at their fastest speed. Wu Qingcheng had a blank expression on her face. She waved her hand and released 12 energies, which hit the 12 fleeing supreme monsters at lightning speed. Bang, bang, bang! A series of explosions sounded. The 12 supreme-level monsters were hit by the holy-level energy, and their bodies and souls were destroyed like withered dry weeds and rotten in the explosion. When dealing with the supreme being, the Saint Realm doesn't even need to use his innate skills. Ordinary energy can crush the enemy and kill him. After killing the supreme realm monster, Wu Qingcheng came to Ziran. A smile appeared on his face, and said, "It's just a few monster riots. It has happened before. The devouring monster is on another mountain range. Let's go." Ziran nodded. "Okay." Xiao Yi asked, "Hanghouse Queen, do you think this is the end of it?" Wu Qingcheng was stunned. This was the first time this man took the initiative to speak to her. "Yes, Warcraft riots happen from time to time. It's a very normal phenomenon," she nodded. Ziran's heart skipped a beat and she asked, "Xiao Yi, is something more dangerous going to happen?" Based on her understanding of Xiao Yi, he would not say all this for no reason. Wu Qingcheng frowned. Was this man thinking too much? She, a powerful saint, didn't sense any danger, so what could you, a great venerable, detect? Xiao Yi said solemnly, "There is a western dragon-shaped monster with a single horn on its head. It is trying to steal the heart of the secret realm. It wants to destroy the heart of the secret realm, make this secret realm collapse, and destroy this small world. We have to hurry, or we might be too late. Gu Qingcheng's pupil shrank. A unicorn-shaped monster. She just killed a holy unicorn-shaped monster king yesterday. Ziran said anxiously. The heart of the secret realm cannot be destroyed, otherwise all the monsters inside will die. King Cheng. Xiao Yi has time attributes and can predict the future. He won't lie. We have to hurry to the core space of the secret realm. Gu Qingcheng was shocked. This man not only had a mythical template, but also had extremely mysterious time attributes. Chapter 433 Gu Qingcheng's attitude changes. Space is king. Time is emperor. Time attribute. Very strong practical ability. It is much more practical than the destiny attribute she possesses. Gu Qingcheng had a better understanding of Xiao Yi. The spirit Gu Qingcheng chirped, "Little Gu, now you know how powerful my husband is. I was able to come back because of this time-traveling treasure that my husband found. Including the Bronze Palace, which was obtained by my husband alone in the clan land in Jinling City. My husband not only has many abilities and is very powerful, but he also has many treasures. If he takes them out casually, they will blind the eyes of a country bumpkin like you." Gu Qingcheng was furious. "If you call me a country bumpkin again, I will catch you and beat you up." The soul Gu Qingcheng disagreed and sneered. "I'm hiding in the treasure. And you catch me? You think too highly of yourself. Don't stay in Hanghouse Bay City all the time. Go out and see the world more." Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched. She really couldn't catch it. She was silent for a while. "You said that the Bronze Palace was also obtained by that man? Wasn't it a token of love that Ziren gave him?" The soul Gu Qingcheng laughed and said disaffably, "You think too highly of that bitch Ziren." Gu Qingcheng could sense old Gu's resentment and said helplessly, "I know. I guess it's because old Gu has been staying in an empty house for too long, and she can't touch Xiaoyi, the man. And she can't vent her emotions, so she has become a resentful woman. By the way, the Bronze Palace was actually obtained by that man." Gu Qingcheng was extremely surprised. This man is so capable. A great venerable obtains an imperial treasure. This must be bragging. It's too dreamy. But there was no need for Lao Gu to lie to her about this, which meant that the imperial treasure was really obtained by the man himself. It is both mythical and has time attributes, and can obtain top-level treasures. Even novels don't write things this outrageous. There is probably only one man like this in the world. He seems to be really outstanding, Gu Qingcheng said in her mind. The soul of Gu Qingcheng put her hands on her waist and looked up at the sky and laughed wildly. Her relatively transparent face was full of pride. She boasted proudly, "You finally admit that my husband is excellent. Much better than a country bumpkin like you. I would like to give you a piece of advice. Take advantage of this man next to you and take him down. Otherwise, there won't be so many opportunities in the future." Gu Qingcheng's face darkened. "He may be excellent, but it has nothing to do with me. I just want to observe him for my sisters to see if he is capable of being entrusted with the life of our three good sisters." The soul of Gu Qingcheng chirped. "You are worthy of his entrusting you with your life." Gu Qingcheng regained her composure and didn't want to listen to old Gu anymore. "How could my future self urge myself to find a man? I guess she is the only one in the world who would do this." Outside, high in the sky. Seeing that Gu Qingcheng didn't seem to believe him, Xiao Yi said, "Sister Qingcheng, please check to see if the monsters in this secret realm have lifted the world imprisonment and the world blockade. With just a portal, they could escape to the outside world at any time." Suddenly he was stunned, and Gu Qingcheng's eyes seemed to soften as she looked at him, not so sharp and oppressive anymore. "An illusion, right?" Xiao Yi rubbed his eyes. Gu Qingcheng nodded and said, "Let me check it out." She flashed out and randomly picked a great venerable monster that was taking a shit. "Use your divine sense to check the restrictions on it." Gu Qingcheng was shocked. Just as the man said, the world restrictions on the monster were lifted. She crossed the void again, reached a distance of 100 meters, and selected some magical beasts on the other side of the small world for inspection. The inspection results showed that the world restrictions on those monsters had been lifted. She was shocked. She was not shocked at who had the means to remove the ban, but at Xiao Yi's strong reasoning ability, able to infer these things from the smallest things. Even she, the Queen of Hanghouse, couldn't guess this. She, the Queen of Hanghouse, is actually not as good as that man. After crossing the void and returning to Xiao Yi's ear on side, Gu Qingcheng stared at Xiao Yi with her beautiful eyes. The strong sense of oppression on her body was completely restrained, and her eyes became gentle. Xiao Yi felt very uncomfortable being looked at like this, being looked at by the Queen of Hanghouse. He touched his handsome face and asked awkwardly, "Sister Qingcheng, is there something on my face?" Gu Qingcheng retracted her gaze, her pretty face blushed. She looked away and said, "No. Those monsters are indeed as you said. They have been released from the world ban and may escape to the outside world through the portal at any time." "How did you deduce that?" Xiao Yi scratched his head. Intuition, yes. That's it. Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched. If you don't want to say it, then don't say it. You still rely on intuition. Ziran looked at her good sister Gu Qingcheng's changing attitude, and a bad feeling emerged in her heart. I feel like this is familiar. Yes, just like her apprentice Bamo. However, this is the Empress of Hanghouse now. It is impossible she would not fall in love with Xiao Yi. Ziran shook her head, thinking that she was overthinking. Gu Qingcheng, the soul of the soul, smiled broadly. Little Gu is finally willing to listen to other people's opinions. Otherwise he would not have gone to check on those monsters. Good, very good. I'll be a wingman for a while longer. And I can go back and enjoy my life. My husband's 8-pack ABS, I've wanted to touch them for a long time. It would be so blissful if I could sleep with my husband in my arms every day. As she spoke, tears of emotion flowed from the corners of her mouth. With a slurp. She was so happy that she was extremely excited. Xiao Yi patted Ziran's head and said anxiously, Sister Ziran, Sister Qingcheng. That unicorn-shaped monster is probably going to attack. We don't have much time. Gu Qingcheng's expression changed. This secret realm can only be entered by using merit points. It is a trial secret realm for the soldiers who have killed monsters and the residents of Hanghouse. It is the foundation of Hanghouse. This secret realm must not collapse. Follow me. Gu Qingcheng pulled with both hands, opened a space crack and jumped in. Ziran complained. Xiao Yi, why are you patting my head? If you want to pat someone, pat your own head. Xiao Yi smiled and said, You don't like me patting your head, then where on your body do you like me to pat? Ziran's pretty face turned red. You only know how to tease me. Then she pulled Xiao Yi and entered the space crack. The three people appeared in a void space. In the center of the space, there was an irregular chaotic energy body. In front of the chaotic energy body, a unicorn-shaped monster was suspended. This monster is 2 kilometers long, and the small irregular chaotic energy body looks very small in front of it. I finally found you. My father was killed by the Queen of Hanghouse yesterday. I want Hanghouse to pay the price. Destroy the secret realms one by one, causing Hanghouse's resources to decrease rapidly. And then, while the Queen of Hanghouse is away, massacre the city. Its hissing sound, like grinding teeth, rang out in the coarse pace of the secret realm. At this moment, a domineering and indifferent voice resounded behind it. You don't stand a chance. You should be buried with your father. The unicorn-shaped monster felt like its soul was coming out of its body, and asked in surprise, Hanghouse Queen, how did you find me here? Chapter 430 for Empress. From now on you will be my guest of honor in Hanghouse. Faced with the unicorn-shaped monster's astonishment, Gu Qingcheng took action without wasting any words. The aura of perfection in the holy realm emanated, and the power of the rules of destiny instantly filled the entire core space of the rules. Run! The unicorn-shaped monster was only in the initial stage of the holy realm, facing a saint in the perfect stage. It had no chance of winning and might even be killed instantly in one move. It just has to escape. Immediately it burst out with all its might, trying to break through the space and escape. However, Gu Qingcheng's power of rules has already spread throughout the core space of the entire secret realm. If it wants to break through the space, it is equivalent to breaking the perfect power of rules in the holy realm. The unicorn-shaped monster burst out with all its strength, trying to tear open the space, but the space did not cause the slightest ripple. Escape? Can you escape? Gu Qingcheng uses her innate skill, Fate Lock. Lock the enemy's fate. No matter where the enemy is, they will be hit. A cold light emanated from her slender hands. The unicorn-shaped monster wanted to dodge, but found that no matter which direction it dodged, the cold light was like a positioning navigation system that predicted its movement in advance and shot into its body. The cold light carried the violent power of rules, raging wildly in his body. With a bang, the unicorn-shaped monster exploded. Blood exploded and splattered all over the ground. The soul of the unicorn-shaped monster escaped, but it was horrified to find out. A cold light that still remained on its body shot towards its soul again. So come over here. It roared in panic. With a hissing sound, it was hit by the cold light and its soul was destroyed. At this point, the body dies and the Tao disappears. Gu Qingcheng stood tall and straight, without blinking at all under that indifferent gaze. Xiao Yi is a very capable man. He is capable of being the husband of my 3 good sisters, she said in her mind. The soul of Gu Qingcheng laughed. Of course. Let me tell you, this demon beast destroyed nearly 10 special secret realms in my Hanghouse base city, seriously damaging the foundation of my Hanghouse base city. Although I killed it in the end, the damaged foundation cannot be repaired. You were able to have my husband's guidance and kill the monster in advance, saving the city of Hanghouse. You should be thankful. You should thank him. He helped you and prevented Hanghouse from suffering a huge loss. Gu Qingcheng's expression was complicated. The man she looked down upon not long ago actually helped her a lot unintentionally. Gu Qingcheng, The soul felt Xiaoju's mood change and snorted, "From now on, you must treat my husband as a guest of honor in Hanghouse Base City and be polite. He is not only capable of being the husband of your 3 good sisters, but also capable of being the husband of your Gu Qingcheng. Clear?" Gu Qingcheng responded, "I will treat him as a distinguished guest in Hanghouse and give him the best etiquette. But as my husband, Gu Qingcheng, that won't be necessary." Shenchun Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, "It's okay if you want to marry my husband at this moment. My husband probably won't even look down on you. What you should do now is to be polite to others and improve your impression in your husband's mind so that he doesn't hate you. If you can make him like you, that would be even better." Gu Qingcheng had no expression on her face. After a long silence, he finally said, "He is qualified to be my sister's husband. But I have to observe how my 3 good sisters are doing and how he treats my good sisters. If my good sister is not doing well, I will teach her a lesson as the best sister." She would not break them up, but she could teach him a lesson. Gu Qingcheng was furious. "If you don't improve his impression of you soon, you will regret it. When you fall for him, you will be blocked at every level if you want to pursue him. Our good sisters are happier than you can imagine." She remembered something, and sadness and self-blame appeared in her eyes. Gu Qingcheng said disapprovingly, "I'm chasing him. Impossible. I only saw him being a gigolo and taking advantage of his good sisters, but I didn't see how he treated his good sisters. Alas." So Gu Qingcheng sighed and said, "Then you can do whatever you want after my intervention. The situation is much better now than when I first started." Outside world. Ziran laughed and said, "How about it? Are my sisters powerful? They can kill a Saint Realm Master in one move." Xiao Yi nodded, "Very impressive. Start template adjuster. Exploration function. Exploration target, Gu Qingcheng. SSS level destiny Kirin template upgradable. Attribute, destiny. Rule crystals contained in the template, 10 fate crystals. Template problem. Too much absorption of fate rule fragment crystals during awakening, no luck rule fragments, resulting in unstable template. Solution: take out to destiny types and merge them into fortune types. Physical defects. The power of rules leaked out due to unstable templates, which is hidden deep in the genes. Genes are structures smaller than DNA fragments. Even the perfection of the Saint realm cannot repair or adjust them. The power of the rules caused his realm to stagnate. His personality is very strong and overbearing. Solution: combine the absorption of Xuanhuang gemstone and use secret massage to guide out the unstable rule power deep in the genes. After reading the results detected by the template adjuster, Xiao Yi was stunned. There is actually a problem with the template of this Queen of Hanghouse. And the problem is not small. The rule fragment crystals absorbed by the template must be of the creation type, plus rule fragment crystals of other attributes. The creation category is the foundation, and the attribute category is the high-rise building. A tall building without a foundation will collapse sooner or later. If the template problem of the Queen of Hanghouse is not solved soon, what she will encounter will be hundreds or thousands of times worse than Ziran. Ziran almost had his foundation destroyed and exploded to death. That Queen of Hanghouse. Xiao Yi's mouth twitched. He couldn't dare to imagine it. Inexplicably, there was a hint of pity in the look he gave Gu Qingcheng. Ziran was stunned. "Xiao Yi, why are you staring at Qingcheng's butt? Are you attracted to her? I have to remind you that a domineering and strong woman like her would not look down on you." Ziran was angry. "You still look at me, a top beauty, and covet her beauty, you stinky man." Xiao Yi's face darkened. "I'm observing her template. What are you thinking? There's a big problem with her template. So I looked a little deeper. And it's not what you think. Sister Ziran, I noticed that you are also very jealous." Ziran's anger froze. Her pretty face turned red, and she said in embarrassment, "Oh, I was just teasing you. I'm not jealous." "Yes, how could I, Ziran, be jealous, especially of my best sister? I won't be jealous." Gu Qingcheng checked the heart of the secret realm and found no problems. Then she reinforced the core space of the secret realm and set up new world restrictions. After finishing everything, she came to Ziran Xiao Yi. Watching the two of them flirting with each other, I suddenly realized that my good sister Ziran had completely fallen for him and liked this young boy very much. Gu Qingcheng felt complicated. Chapter 435. Gu Qingcheng, I clearly distinguish between gratitude and resentment. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, Gu Qingcheng could never have imagined that her good sister Ziran would be attracted to such a young boy and fall deeply in love with him. But Sister Ziran is the leader of the Supreme Alliance, leading nearly 100 Supreme Beings and some quasi-saint elders. But Ziran was attracted by this young man. From the side, it also shows that this man is different from others. Gu Qingcheng said, "Xiao Yi, thank you. If it weren't for your advice, my Hanghouse-based city would have suffered huge losses." As she said this, the sense of oppression all over her body disappeared, and her eyes became very gentle, not as strong and overbearing as before. Xiao Yi could feel the change in Gu Qingcheng's attitude. He smiled, waved his hand and said, You're welcome. Now that the issue of the unicorn-shaped monster has been resolved, it's time for us to kill the devouring monsters and obtain resources. Gu Qingcheng nodded. Then let's go together. Then, the three of them left the core space of the secret realm and came to the small world No. 20 of the secret realm. The portal in and out of the small world has returned to normal, and those soldiers and officers have already gone out. Over a mountain range. Gu Qingcheng pointed her white finger downwards and said, "This mountain range has the largest number of devouring magical beasts. The highest level is the supreme level, and the lowest level is the newly born mortal level magical beast. The total number of all magical beasts exceeds 10,000. She took action personally, and the powerful divine consciousness of the perfection of the holy realm spread out, instantly covering the entire mountain range. In an instant, she knew the situation within 1,000 miles. Gu Qingcheng raised her hand upwards. A shocking scene appeared. The devouring monsters, like dumplings being dropped into the air, were forced to soar into the sky and gathered in front of the three people. Half a minute later, tens of thousands of devouring monsters gathered in front of the three people. These devouring monsters were imprisoned and unable to move. They could only look terrified and dance helplessly with their hands and feet. Ziran was stunned. "You captured all the monsters?" Gu Qingcheng smiled on her beautiful face and said, "Yes. Your husband helped me just now. I, Gu Qingcheng, am a person who knows how to repay a favor. The devouring monsters in this mountain range should be regarded as a reward. Xiaoyi, please accept it." When Xiaoyi captured creative monsters, she watched from the side knowing that Xiaoyi liked to capture or raise monsters. She simply took advantage of this to satisfy Xiaoyi. Xiaoyi was a little surprised. For the first time, I felt that Gu Qingcheng was not that annoying. In order to repay his gratitude, he was willing to clear out all the monsters in the entire mountain range. He previously revealed that the unicorn-shaped monster was destroying the heart of the secret realm because he didn't want the secret realm to collapse and cause these devouring monsters to be annihilated, not to help Gu Qingcheng. Was this an unintentional act of helping her a lot? What a pleasant surprise. Sister Qingcheng, since you are so enthusiastic, I will accept it with reluctance. Xiaoyi rubbed his hands, looking somewhat excited. Ziran's attributes are creation and devouring to cultivate in the holy realm. He needs a lot of rule fragment crystals, so he must raise more magical beasts with related attributes. Sister Qingcheng, you call me so intimately. Wow, you are so blessed. A soft voice sounded in Gu Qingcheng's mind. It was the voice of the soul Gu Qingcheng. Gu Qingcheng was speechless, and responded in her mind, "You have been a complaining woman for too long, and your brain has become rusty. You even want to be jealous of me. You and I are both Gu Qingcheng when he calls me. He is calling you." The face of the soul Gu Qingcheng froze. "When my husband called me, he called me the Queen of Hanghouse. What a strange name. If I hadn't changed some details, you might still be trying to break them up. At the beginning, I used some tricks and means to break them up, which made my husband hate me very much." She then became pleasantly surprised again. "But it's okay, my husband's attitude towards me will probably be much better after I return. Xiaogu, do a few more things to make your husband happy and completely change his attitude towards us." Gu Qingcheng snorted coldly. "I'm not you, who was hooked into a fish. But I, the Queen of Hanghouse City, am a person who knows how to repay kindness and is clear about gratitude and resentment. Since I have recognized his identity, I will treat him politely and regard him as a guest of honor in Hanghouse City-based city." The soul of Gu Qingcheng smiled innocently and said, "That's good. As long as you make my husband not hate you, I have a way to make my husband like you. Over the past 100 years, I have already figured out my husband's preferences and special hobbies. It's just that my skills in seducing people are still not as good as that bitch Ziran. My husband ignored me and many of my methods were useless to me, but now it's different." Gu Qingcheng's face darkened, and she said, speechless lie, "Are you seriously ill? You let Xiaoyi fall in love with me? Isn't this asking me to steal my best sister's man? I, the Queen of Hanghouse, can't do that." Shenhun. Gu Qingcheng shrugged and said inferently, "When you fall in love with him, even if I don't tell you, you will beg me to tell you the method." Outside world. Diran stuck close to Xiaoyi, holding his arm, and said with a smile, "Xiaoyi, it's still 50 monsters, right?" Xiaoyi nodded, "Yes. Pick out 50 old, weak, sick and disabled ones, and I will capture the others and raise them in captivity. Such a large group will be enough for you to practice with. I'm a little thirsty, please give me a few cups of ice cola." "Okay." Ziran flipped his palm, and the power of materialization emerged. To cups of coke appeared on his white and tender palm in an instant. After Xiaoyi took it, he frowned and said, "I want it cold. You should be able to have ice today, right?" Ziran smiled and said, "Yes." And she materialized some small pieces of ice and put them into the coke. She used the back of her hand to feel the temperature of the coke and said, "Is this icy temperature okay?" Xiaoyi took a sip, nodded, and said with satisfaction, This ice degree is good, and the taste is very good. Just like that, he sipped his ice cola, released his Zir and divine consciousness, and began to select magical beasts. She picked out the old, weak, sick and disabled devouring monsters and imprisoned them in the air behind her. Gu King Cheng. No matter how she looked at it, her husband Ziran was a gigolo. Although Ziran's husband is very outstanding and capable, and has helped Gu King Cheng a lot, it still cannot change the fact that this man likes to live off women. Ziran had to do everything, while he drank cold drinks beside her, holding a beautiful woman in his arms and letting her do the things. My wife does the work, and my husband does the rest. The voice of Gu King Cheng sounded. This slut is so lucky to be able to help her husband all the time. Oh, if only I could help my husband in this way. Gu King Cheng's face darkened. Old Gu is indeed a woman who has been teased into pouting. She even wants to fight for the man's gigolo status. Chapter 436 Empress, this man is really hungry. But it be that he has been staying in an empty room for too long and can no longer bear the loneliness in his heart? Gu King Cheng imagined that after marrying a man, she would stay in an empty house for 100 years. Her face froze. If that were the case, she would go crazy too. Next to him, Ziran looked at the 50 old, weak, sick and disabled devouring monsters behind him, and directly used his divine sense to strangle their souls. The soul was strangled, and no wounds could be seen on the body. Xiao Yi. I'm ready. It's your turn now. She wanted to take a sip of the ice cola, but found that her cup of ice cola had also been taken away by Xiao Yi. Ziran snorted and snatched the last glass of ice cola from Xiao Yi's mouth. She bit the straw directly, sucked it in big gulps, and drank it all. There's only a little left. Ziran snorted softly, but the raised corners of her mouth showed that she was not angry at the moment, but rather secretly happy. Gu King Cheng's beautiful eyes widened, and she said in disbelief in her mind, "This is the ice drink that man drank, and Ziran actually snatched it and drank it? Can a couple do this?" The soul Gu King Cheng snorted coldly. "That bitch did it on purpose." I remembered that Ziran clearly didn't like drinking coke, but she still grabbed it and drank it. This bitch's method of teasing her husband is really sophisticated. Gu King Cheng. It turned out that he had robbed it on purpose. Gu King Cheng suddenly licked her lips and said sarcastically, "Xiao Gu, don't make a fuss. Don't even mention drinking ice drinks. As long as it's from my husband, I'm willing to drink anything and eat anything." Gu King Cheng had seen many action art movies. She thought of something and suddenly blushed. She said, "Shut up, you dirty girl." What a dirty thought. Okay, stop talking. That man is about to use his abilities. I didn't see it clearly last time, but this time, I must see clearly what he is doing. Shen Gu King Cheng was bewildered. What did I say? How did I become a dirty woman? Beside him, Xiao Yi glanced at Ziran and said, "Okay, it's my turn next, but my shoulders are a little sore. It would be nice if someone could massage them for me." Ziran rolled her eyes, placed her soft little hands on Xiao Yi's broad shoulders and began to knead them. "You are my husband, so I will satisfy you." Xiao Yi was very satisfied and immediately started the template adjuster and activated the regular fragment crystal extraction function. Extraction rule fragment type selection, engulf and type. A supreme and vast power descended and covered the corpses of the 50 devouring monsters that had just died. The monsters' corpse began to twitch as if it had suffered a great terror. A foul smell of decay wafted out from their corpses. "Here they come." Gu King Cheng stared with her beautiful eyes, her expression extremely serious. She stared intently at the corpses of the monsters, not missing any details. Under her gaze, the monsters kept twitching, their bodies began to fester and become dilapidated. After this state lasted for half a minute, the corpses of the 50 monsters were already in tatters and gradually decomposed, turning into specks of light and dissipating in the air. Gu King Cheng was stunned. Throughout the entire process, she did not sense any power, nor did she feel any trace of energy flow. These monsters seemed to be destroyed naturally. Without being eroded by any external force, it would naturally disappear. But it was that man who took action just now that destroyed these monsters. The Empress was confused. "Why can't I realize what method he used?" she asked in her mind. So Gu King Cheng said bluntly, "Don't waste your energy thinking about this. Let alone you now, even if it's you 100 years later, that is, you at my time. I can't see it. This is most likely the top talent and skill in the universe." Gu King Cheng was shocked. Top talent and skill in the universe? He has never appeared on our blue star, but he has the top talent and skill in the universe? Chen Hun. Gu King Cheng looked at him with contempt and said, "You are too ignorant. My husband's abilities are much more terrifying than this. You haven't been out of blue star, but I have. Put away that rustic expression of yours and don't embarrass me, Gu King Cheng." Gu King Cheng's face darkened. As the Empress of Hanghouse and the #1 prodigy of the older generation of Dragon Country, she was regarded as a bumpkin by her future self. After a while, Her complexion returned to normal, and she took a deep look at Xiao Yi, who was being rubbed on the shoulder by Ziran. This man was much more terrifying than she had imagined. For some reason, Gu Qingcheng became even more curious about Xiao Yi. Why does he destroy these monsters? Capturing some monsters and then killing them. Isn't it for the purpose of obtaining the monster crystal cores, just for fun? She didn't believe that this man would be so idle, nor did she think Ziran would be so idle. Grandmaster level monster, successfully extracted 40 devouring rule fragment crystals. Grandmaster level monster. Successfully extracted 20 devouring rule fragment crystals. 60 devouring rule fragments were credited to the account, and Xiao Yi nodded with satisfaction. Now Ziran has obtained all the rule fragment resources needed to upgrade the template. 50 of the good fortune type, 50 of the creation type, and 50 of the devouring type. Now all that's left is to preserve the crystal core resources at the Saint Realm level. The crystal core resources of Grandmaster Realm, Grandmaster Realm, Venerable Realm, Grand Venerable Realm and Saint Realm are easy to obtain. What is difficult to obtain is the crystal core of the Supreme Realm. 200 Supreme level Warcraft crystal cores. He removed two devouring rule fragment crystals from the system space and placed them in his trouser pocket, which became straight. Xiao Yi smiled and said, "Sister Ziran, I'll show you a big treasure." Ziran had seen the big baby last time, and knew what Xiao Yi was going to show her, and immediately said excitedly, "Take it out, your big baby. I like it very much." She kneaded her shoulders with much greater force. Xiao Yi wanted to take it out immediately, but thinking of the Queen of Hanghouse next to him, he thought for a moment and said, "Forget it, this is not a good place to take it out, I'll show it to you when I get back." Ziran looked at Gu Qingcheng and said with a smile, "It's up to you." Gu Qingcheng. She glanced at Xiao Yi's stiff trousers, her pretty face suddenly turned red, and she looked away with a somewhat awkward expression. "Is this man too hungry?" Ziran said anxiously, "Quickly collect these monsters, as getting late we should rest." Xiao Yi nodded, released the Bronze Palace, captured nearly 10,000 devouring monsters, and placed them in the Holy Spirit secret realm. Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, "Come to my place, I'll treat you well." The three of them came out of the secret realm and arrived at the City Lord's mansion in Hanghouse Base City. In Gu Qingcheng's private bedroom, Xiao Yi and Ziran were brought here. Gu Qingcheng looked at Xiao Yi's trouser pocket with an awkward expression. It was still bulging. This man was indeed hungry. Xiao Yi looked at the table, where there were only two chairs emitting a mysterious aura, with an expressionless face. "There are only two chairs, where should he sit?" Gu Qingcheng said, "You two can sit down. And I'll just stand. This is the enlightenment chair made from the essence of enlightenment, and there are only two of them." This man couldn't be allowed to stand. His trousers were too noticeable. Moreover, since you have recognized this man, you should treat him as your own and be polite. Xiao Yi's pupils shrank. The Queen of Hanghouse City actually stood up and asked him to sit. Is this still the domineering, strong and rude Queen of Hanghouse? Chapter 437. Xiao Yi's impression of the Empress improved. It seems that the Queen of Hanghouse really recognizes him. There has been a huge shift in attitudes. If they had just met in the morning, she would definitely not have sat with him. Ziran saw Gu Qingcheng's strange look and followed Gu Qingcheng's gaze to look at Xiao Yi. I was shocked. Ziran hurriedly held Xiao Yi down and asked him to sit down, saying, "Can you put away your big treasure? It's easy for people to misunderstand you like this." "Big baby?" Xiao Yi looked down and the corner of his mouth twitched. It seems to be true, which can easily cause misunderstanding. He moved the two rule fragment crystals in his trouser pocket into the system space. Suddenly, the straight trouser pockets flattened. Ziran breathed a sigh of relief and said unhappily, "Be more careful next time." Gu Qingcheng was stunned. Could he just take that thing whenever he wanted? Xiao Yi shrugged and said inferently, "Sisters Iran, you are too dirty, your thoughts are not pure. A decent person like me wouldn't think of that." Ziran spat. "Ah, you are the one with impure thoughts. Don T. You also like to watch porn movies?" Seeing that she couldn't get a word in when the two were flirting, Gu Qingcheng went to prepare tea and fruits by herself. She walked away. Xiao Yi and Ziran sat on the enlightenment chairs and suddenly felt refreshed. Waves of mysterious energy surrounded the two of them and crawled up. In just milliseconds, the two of them became clear-headed and had a clearer grasp of their own innate skills. Ziran, in particular, became more familiar with the creative manifestation abilities. This enlightenment chair has amazing effects. The essence of enlightenment. The aura that emanates from it, when you take a sip, it's like the Holy Realm enlightenment tea when you sit on it, and tea when you sit on it and absorb it through your pores. It feels like you're drinking Holy Realm enlightenment tea all the time. The two of them took a deep breath and felt that their eyes had been opened. This Queen of Hanghouse is really rich and powerful. She didn't need to eat the essence of enlightenment, but made two chairs. If it were someone else, they would definitely keep it close to them and not show it to others easily. Gu Qingcheng is very courageous. After a while, Gu Qingcheng came over with tea and fruits, put them on the table, and said with a smile, Ziran Xiaoyi, you can stay in Hanghouse for a while and just stay here with me. I have many rooms and many floors here. Just pick a floor to stay on. Xiaoyi looked at the things on the table and muttered, it would be better if there was some wine. Ziran rolled her eyes. This isn't our home, don't be so picky. Xiaoyi smiled and said, it's okay. That's all I said. When Gu Qingcheng heard this, a smile appeared on her beautiful face, and she said, yesterday found a few jars of 1,000-year-old wine in the lair of the Holy Land Beast King. I usually drink a little wine since Xiaoyi likes it. I will take it out and drink it together. Ziran, my villa has 10 floors, you choose one, and that floor will belong to you forever. This is your home. As she spoke, she took out an ancient wine jar that exuded a rich brie aroma from the storage space. The jar of wine hadn't been opened yet. But when it was placed on the table, a rich aroma of wine wafted out, instantly filling the entire living room. Xiaoyi's eyes lit up. As soon as he smelled this wine, he knew it was better than the treasure of the May Tavern in Magic City, 1 cup of intoxication. Gu Qingcheng took out 3 small cups and poured a small cup for each person. This wine is made from saint-level fruit, and it stands of thousands of years old. Don't drink too much, just take a few sips. If you drink too much, something bad will happen. Her pretty face turned red for no apparent reason, and she stopped talking. Ziran didn't believe in evil, she was also in the saint realm, and said, wine is for drinking. What can go wrong? Qingcheng, I found that you have changed a lot since we first met. You are willing to listen to Xiaoyi's advice and even take out a jar of wine to entertain me. Tell me, are you attracted to my Xiaoyi? Xiaoyi nodded, and his impression of Gu Qingcheng improved a little, and he was no longer so disgusted with her. It seems that the Queen of Hanghouse no longer resists him. Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, are you interested in Xiaoyi? That's not the case. Their husband's ability has been recognized by me. Xiaoyi is capable of being entrusted with the life of my 3 good sisters, and I am also happy to see it. Then, she looked at Xiaoyi with a serious expression and said, Xiaoyi, let me introduce myself again. I am the elder sister of Ziran, Xiaoxi and Xiaobing in front of my own people. You don't have to call me the Queen of Hanghouse. Just call me Sister Qingcheng. From now on, I will protect you. But you must be kind to my 3 sisters and not let them suffer any injustice. Otherwise, I will teach you a lesson as the eldest sister. Ziran smiled playfully. Xiaoyi, did you hear me? You are not allowed to let us suffer any injustice in the future, or I will tell Qingcheng and let her teach you a lesson. Xiaoyi nodded and said, don't worry, Sister Qingcheng, as long as they are my beast girls, I will not let them suffer any grievances. Gu Qingcheng was very satisfied. Ziran giggled, then she tilted her head back and swallowed it in one gulp. When the 10,000-year-old wine went into her stomach, her beautiful eyes suddenly widened and she felt hot all over. This wine is so strong. Gu Qingcheng's face changed and she raised her hand to stop it, but it was too late. This wine will increase certain desires. The reason why the Beast King has so many offspring is probably because he increased his success rate by drinking this wine. Ziran drank it with her husband by her side. Everything should be fine, right? Anyway, she didn't dare to drink too much. If you drink too much, it's hard to solve the problem by yourself. You can't vent and you have to hold it in. The soul of Gu Qingcheng cursed in his mind. Xiaogu, why did you take out this wine? Can't you take other wine? You let this bitch drink this kind of wine. Do you want her to be favored by my husband? Besides, you bought that electronic toy, but you don't dare to use it. Are you drinking this wine because you want to suffocate yourself to death? Gu Qingcheng was speechless. They are a couple. What's wrong with drinking? Whatever they do is their own business. Why are you so anxious? If you are jealous, go back 100 years and go drink with your husband. Oh, I almost forgot, your husband ignored you. Chen Gu Qingcheng was furious. Xiaogu, watch your words. Do you still want to improve your aptitude? Do you still want to solve the problem of stagnant realm? If you mock me again, I will never tell you. Gu Qingcheng's face froze. Well, it's okay if I said something wrong. She felt very awkward when she said this. She is the Queen of Hanghouse. I have never bowed my head, never been humble to anyone, and never apologized like this. So Gu Qingcheng snorted coldly and said coldly, since you apologized sincerely, I reluctantly forgive you. You should listen to my advice more in the future. If you satisfy me, I will tell you the solution to your realm stagnation problem, including ways to improve your qualifications. Gu Qingcheng nodded vigorously. Don't worry, you are me, of course I will listen to your advice. Ziran suddenly clamped her legs together tightly. Xiaoyi, there's something wrong with this wine. Her innocent and pretty face was flushed and she threw a coquettish glance at Xiaoyi. Xiaoyi understood what she meant and asked in disbelief, Sister Ziran, are you hungry? Ziran nodded. Yes, I'm hungry. Qingcheng, see you tomorrow. She got up in a hurry. pulled Xiao Yi upstairs, found a bedroom, rushed in and closed the door. Gu Qingcheng. Ziran. I haven't even eaten yet, why are you so anxious? She called out, but got no response. Gu Qingcheng took a sip of wine feeling a little depressed. The sour words of Gu Qingcheng rang out in the soul. Xiao Gu. Quickly put the wine jar away, otherwise that bitch will definitely snatch the wine away. Gu Qingcheng shook her head. No. Since Yiran likes it, then give this pot of wine to her. Soul Gu Qingcheng. Chapter 438 Future Empress, you and Xiao Yi must get married. The Soul Gu Qingcheng said with a dark face. Xiao Gu. It seems that you are still not obedient. You want to improve your qualifications, but you still need to rely on me, right? Coming from the future, she knows how to improve her qualifications. She needs Xiao Yi to improve the template level and solve the problem of realm stagnation. She also needs Xiao Yi to solve physical defects through full body massage. If it weren't for her suggestion, Xiao Gu would probably still be the domineering and rude queen of Hanghouse, hated by Xiao Yi. Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes sparkled with brilliance. And she said confidently, Old Gu, your request is to improve your husband's impression of you. Well, that's Xiao Yi's impression of me. I will listen to your advice and do something else to completely improve his impression of me. But what about my good sisters Ziran and Xiao Yi? You can't interfere. This is a principle. They are originally a couple, and it is reasonable for them to love each other even if you threaten me with improving my qualifications. I will not compromise with you. The pretty face of the Soul Gu Qingcheng turned blue and red, and finally she sighed and said, okay. My purpose of traveling back through time and space is indeed to improve my husband's impression of me. But when I saw that slut Ziran kissing my husband all the time, I got very angry, she said gritting her teeth. During the next 100 years, my husband wanted to favor me, but the three sisters Ziran, Xiaoxi and Xiaobing suddenly intervened many times and seduced my husband away. No, Xiaogu, you must learn some tricks to seduce your husband. Well, I want to learn too, let's learn together. Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched. Xiao Yi is you. That is, my husband in the future, but not my husband now. Why would I learn those shameful methods? I don't have any romantic feelings for him right now. The soul of Gu Qingcheng said solemnly, the future cannot be changed. No one can change the general trend of the future. He can only change some details. After a while, after you and my husband have experienced some things, you will definitely be moved and fall in love with my husband. You will sign a contract with my husband and get married in the bridal chamber. This cannot be changed. Forget it, it's useless to say anything now. You will be tempted by then and surrender to your husband. The corners of Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched and she was speechless. She, the queen of Hanghouse, surrendered to that man? Was she arbitrarily ravaged? How is that possible? However, Gu Qingcheng was more curious about what she and Xiao Yi experienced in the future that would make her fall in love. She believes that the future trend cannot be changed. Shen Hun Gu Qingcheng said, you are still drinking that wine. Don't drink it, save it and save a jar for yourself, in case you and your husband need it. By the way, my husband seems to like the chair made from the essence of the Holy Realm. You can give one to him when the time comes. My best friend is getting married. You didn't attend the wedding, but you should at least bring a gift. This jar of wine and a meditation chair are their wedding gifts. My husband will definitely have a better impression of us by then. Imagining that Xiao Yi's attitude towards her had completely changed, Gu Qingcheng's face broke into a smile, her beautiful eyes turned into crescents, and tears of joy flowed from the corners of her mouth. Slurp. She took a deep breath, stretched out her little fish to lick her lips, swallowed her saliva, and was so excited that she didn't know what to think. Gu Qingcheng nodded. Of course I won't drink too much of this wine. If I drink too much, I'll suffocate to death. As for gifts, you're right, gifts are a must when sisters get married. On the other side, this villa has 10 floors, and the third floor is where Xiao Yi and Ziran are. After being hastily pulled into the bedroom by Ziran, Xiao Yi saw the crazy Ziran for the first time. This time, Ziran transformed into a ferocious beast and became very crazy, completely crazy, and very wild. Xiao Yi almost couldn't bear it. 2 hours later, the two came out of the bathroom, fully dressed, and lay on the soft bed hugging each other. You're pressing my hair, Ziran yelled. Xiao Yi moved a little and said with emotion. That wine is real, it's amazing. She turned a pure goddess into a lustful beast. The contrast is extreme. You seem to have only had a small drink. Ziran blushed and slapped Xiao Yi, saying shamelessly, you are the beast of desire. It's so embarrassing. Xiao Yi smiled and said, it's okay, I like the way you look. Ziran widened her eyes. She actually liked it? Sure enough, men like contrast. She complained, well, I'll find a way to get a jar from King Cheng. All men are pigs. But as long as you like, it doesn't matter if I turn into a beast. Who told you, Xiao Yi, that you are my Ziran's husband? I have chosen you. I will only belong to you in this life. If I am touched by another man, you don't have to do anything. I will commit suicide. Xiao Yi was somewhat moved after hearing this and hugged Ziran even tighter. Ziran, do you know that you are so popular with men like this? When Ziran heard this, her heart was filled with joy and she felt very happy. Xiao Yi continued, your template upgrade resources only lack the crystal cores to retain the realm, 200 supreme crystal cores. Do you think there are such high-level secret realms and so many magical beasts in the Hanghouse-based city? Ziran thought for a moment and said, there should be some. Hanghouse-based city is also a top-level base city. As the lord of a city, King Cheng probably also controls some high-level secret realms. Okay, let's talk about these things tomorrow. Tonight, you belong to me, Ziran. When Xiao Yi heard this, he felt a dull pain in his waist and said in disbelief, no way, you still want to come? Ziran rolled her eyes. What are you thinking? I'm not an unsatisfied woman. You promised me that you would help me get back in shape. Can you start now? Xiao Yi breathed a sigh of relief. It was easy to get back in shape. There are 2 steps. First, he bleeds and lets Ziran drink it. Ziran's template has not been upgraded yet, so drinking his blood should be effective. Second, we used the ancient massage secret method that he got from the medical master in Jinling City to stimulate the potential of the human body, and gave Ziran a massage to stimulate the potential of the human body and lets Aran's graceful body develop again. As for those Chinese medicines that need to be boiled, his blood can be used instead. The combination of the two should greatly enhance the effect compared to traditional Chinese medicine. Immediately Xiao Yi took out a cup, cut his wrist, and blood spurted out to the ceiling. Fortunately, he used energy wrap to drain the blood into the cup, so there was no waste. Ziran was horrified and said anxiously, Xiao Yi, are you sick? Why are you hurting yourself? She hurriedly took out the healing medicine from the storage space and poured it on Xiao Yi's wrist. The wound on the wrist healed instantly without even leaving a scar. Xiao Yi, this blood is the medicine that will help you get back in shape. Don't you worry. Ziran was stunned, and felt that her eyes had been opened. She said in disbelief, really? Xiao Yi nodded, nonsense. I'm not sick, why would I hurt myself? He pushed the cup filled with blood into her hand and said, drink it. And I will give you another massage to stimulate the potential of the human body and let your body develop again. Well, it's just that the blood smell is a bit strong. If you can't drink it, drink less. Upon hearing this, Ziran raised his head and drank it all in one gulp. After finishing it, he licked his lips and said, as long as you have something, no matter what it is, I, Ziran, can drink it and eat it. Chapter 439. Ziran regains her figure. Gu King Cheng gives a gift. After drinking a cup of blood, countless cells in Ziran's body seemed to be attracted by a fatal temptation. They surged wildly and released a powerful suction force, absorbing the energy and mysterious factors contained in the blood. In an instant, Ziran felt joy all over her body. In milliseconds, the cup of blood was completely absorbed. This is so cool, Ziran was shocked. This is still fresh-blooded, that's better than any treasure in the world. Right? Then, she stared at Xiao Yi, swallowed her saliva, and said, Xiao Yi, well, I want to drink more. Xiao Yi shook his head, don't drink too much, 1 cup a day. Of course, drinking it after you upgrade your template may not be effective. Okay, lie down. I'm going to start the massage. Ziran pursed her lips and said, if you don't want me to drink, then I won't. Then, she followed Xiao Yi's instructions. During massage, Ziran remembered what Xiao Yi said in the secret realm and asked, Xiao Yi, you said there is a big problem with King Cheng's template? While using the ancient secret massage method, Xiao Yi replied, yeah, it's a bigger problem than your template. If you are not careful, your soul may be destroyed. Ziran's expression suddenly changed, so serious. Xiao Yi nodded, that's right. Her realm is now stagnant at the great perfection of the Saint realm, and she can't go any further. This is just a superficial stagnation of realm. The deeper crisis is that the body will explode and die, and the soul will be destroyed. Ziran's face turned grim. Back then, after I upgraded to the Saint realm, the power of rules almost went out of control and I almost exploded and died. Perhaps after King Cheng breaks through the quasi-emperor realm, the template will become more unstable, and it is possible that she will fall into a life and death crisis. Xiao Yi, do you have a solution? Xiao Yi rolled his eyes and said, yes. As long as it's a template problem, I have a way to solve it. If your good sister doesn't mind, I can give her a massage to fix her physical defects. Ziran looked resentful. Can't you just solve King Cheng's template problem? Do you want her to take advantage of you? Xiao Yi said sternly. Of course not. The template problem is too profound. I need to understand the template through massage before I can solve the template problem. Ziran sighed and said helplessly, okay then. She believed it and felt that Xiao Yi would not lie to her. I don't think King Cheng can hide herself in front of you. What should I do? Ziran was a little worried. Xiao Yi shrugged, it's okay at this stage. Sister King Cheng is unlikely to be in a life or death crisis. Her realm is stagnant and she is unable to break through the quasi-emperor realm. Her template will remain in a certain state and will not suddenly become extremely unstable. Ziran breathed a sigh of relief. Yeah, if you don't give her a massage, she won't be able to break through to the quasi-emperor realm. Give her a massage. She has broken through to the quasi-emperor realm. Even if there is a life and death crisis, you can directly solve her template problem. Xiaoyi smiled. So you don't have to worry, just relax. Ziran's complexion returned to normal, and his attention shifted away. He felt a little itchy from the massage, and said expectantly, Xiaoyi, it's still early. After you finish the massage, how about we do some exercise? Xiaoyi. The next day, in the underground mine training room, Gu Qingcheng, wearing a long white robe, sat cross-legged on the crystal mine and practiced with his eyes closed. Her brows were furrowed, and she exuded a fierce aura, with an expressionless face on her beautiful face. Damn it, no matter how hard I practice, I still can't break through. Gu Qingcheng opened her eyes with an ugly look on her face. Old Gu, what is the reason? Tell me. The soul Gu Qingcheng said helplessly. Don't do useless work anymore, it's useless. Don't practice anymore, go upstairs. My husband should be up. My husband is the most energetic and handsome in the morning. I want to see my husband come upstairs quickly. Gu Qingcheng's face darkened. You keep talking about my husband Cam. You tell me the reason why my realm has stagnated? Gu Qingcheng thought about her current relationship with Xiaoyi. Shook her head and said, it's not the right time yet. When the time comes, I will tell you even if you don't ask. Gu Qingcheng went upstairs. When she arrived at the living room on the first floor and faced Ziran and Xiaoyi, she restrained all her fierce aura and became more approachable. Ziran, can you make breakfast? Gu Qingcheng was a little surprised to see the table full of buns and soy milk. Ziran said proudly, I am omnipotent, of course I can make breakfast. Xiaoyi ate in silence. This breakfast was materialized by Ziran using the power of materialization. She makes breakfast, bullshit. Gu Qingcheng, who had sharp eyes, was suddenly startled and said, Ziran, you have changed. Ziran's face froze and she looked a little embarrassed. Could it be that she had been discovered? She can't even make breakfast. Gu Qingcheng pointed at Ziran's figure and said in surprise, Ziran, your skirt has become too tight. Ziran looked down and her pupils shrank. The purple skirt was no longer flat, but puffed up. She was half asleep in the morning and didn't look carefully, so she only discovered it now. Ziran was very surprised after just one body restoring massage. A change was so big. At least it changed from a minus to B+. Xiaoyi's method is extremely effective. A few more times and her figure might be back to its peak. Xiaoyi was also a little unbelievable. How could the effect be so good? Mu Qingzu's development results are not so good. Xiaoyi pondered for a moment, recalled last night, and concluded in his heart. It might be because Ziran not only drank the blood, but also ate other things from my body. It was Xiaoyi who used to trick. My figure has grown again, Ziran said with a giggle. This skirt is still the same size and style as yesterday. Gu Qingcheng was stunned. Can the body of a powerful person in the Holy Realm develop again? The soul of Gu Qingcheng put her hands on her hips and said proudly in her spiritual sea, Xiao Gu, what do you think? Is my husband very outstanding and capable? I tell you, he knows a lot of things. Gu Qingcheng nodded in surprise. This ability was indeed excellent. Ziran glanced at the wine cabinet with her beautiful eyes, but didn't find the jar of wine from yesterday. So she asked tentatively, Qingcheng, can you sell me a jar of the wine from yesterday? I'll buy it with rule fragments. You can't use that wine, so why not sell it to me? I can use it. Gu Qingcheng, the soul of the devil, cursed inwardly. This bitch has set her eyes on our wine. Gu Qingcheng smiled and took out the jar of wine from yesterday from the storage space. She placed it in front of Ziran and said, we are all good sisters. It would be awkward to talk about business. I was not present at your wedding, Miss Xiaoyi. And I didn't bring any gifts. This jar of wine will be your wedding gift. Xiaoyi, I'll give you the Enlightenment Essence chair that you're sitting on. You can keep it and use it for yourself. These two things are the wedding gifts I, Gu Qingcheng, gave you. Xiaoyi hesitated. These two things are too precious, we can't accept them. Ziran quickly collected the jar of wine. Xiaoyi, take it. This is Qingcheng's wedding gift to us, we must accept it. She spoke quickly, as if she was afraid that Gu Qingcheng would go back on her word. Chapter 440 Empress, it's time for me to find a man. How can I let down my good sister's kindness? Ziran said with a grin. Xiaoyi shook his head. Please keep the jar of wine. I won't take this Enlightenment Essence chariot, as too valuable. Gu Qingcheng frowned in her opinion. Xiaoyi's rejection of her gift meant that she had not yet accepted her identity as Ziran's good sister. She felt inexplicably unhappy. She apologized, stated her position, and acknowledged Xiaoyi. But in the end, Xiaoyi still didn't consider her as his own. Is the first impression so important? When Gu Qingcheng first met Xiaoyi, she was indeed very domineering and rude. Does Xiaoyi still hate her very much now? Gu Qingcheng snorted coldly and said, Zhao Gu, I can see that my husband doesn't hate you that much anymore, but he still has some resistance to you in his heart, so I am embarrassed to accept the gift from you. No, you have to do something else to make my husband not resist you. Let me think about it. My husband should have some important things to do next. You can find a reason to follow him and help him see if you can eliminate the resistance and opposition my husband has towards you. Gu Qingcheng looked at Xiaoyi's handsome face and felt a little unhappy. Then she sighed and responded in her mind. Okay, even if it's for your sexual happiness, it's also for my future sexual happiness. Gu Qingcheng nodded. Xiao Gu, you will feel wise for your decision in the future. Ziran glanced at the buns and soy milk in Xiaoyi's hand and said, I want to eat imported breakfast. Xiaoyi paused and said, this occasion is not appropriate. Ziran didn't care about anything else. She put a bun in her mouth and pushed it towards his face. Xiaoyi ate Ziran's imported buns. Ziran chuckled and said, how is it? Is it delicious? Delicious, Xiaoyi. Gu Qingcheng, who was standing next to her, was petrified. Do you think of her as a light bulb? The soul of Gu Qingcheng gnashed her teeth. TSK. This bitch really knows how to play. She's always trying to seduce our husband. Oh, Qingcheng, learn this. You will need it in the future. Yeah, I'm learning to you, Ray, making me progress. Gu Qingcheng looked away with an awkward expression. He had drunk a glass of wine yesterday, and the alcohol that he had suppressed seemed to be almost uncontrollable now, and his whole body was hot. Hey, Qingcheng, where are you going? Sit down and have breakfast. Ziran saw Gu Qingcheng walking upstairs in a hurry and asked curiously. Xiaoyi smiled and said, I guess he went to wash up. It's okay. After she comes down, we'll ask if there are any advanced secret realms in the Hanghouse-based city. 200 Supreme Realm Crystal Cores, if you can get them in Hanghouse. Get them in Hanghouse. By the way, when your father Zidao passed away, he left you a storage ring. Did he give you any resources for cultivation? Ziran placed a storage ring in front of Xiaoyi, and said, I haven't looked at it yet. Xiaoyi opened the storage ring and checked the things inside. When the things came into his eyes, he was immediately surprised. 60 devouring rule fragments, 100 creation rule fragments. Your father is too rich and too generous, he sighed. Ziran tilted her head, leaned on Xiaoyi's shoulder, and said with a grin, can you find some time to go back to the rule realm with me? I haven't been back for a long time, to be honest. I really miss the place where I lived when I was a child. Well, all your beast girls can come along. Xiaoyi thought for a moment and said, of course you can. But you have to go back and upgrade your template after that. Ziran came up and kissed Xiaoyi on the face happily, saying, Xiaoyi, you are so good to me. Afterwards, the two finished their breakfast and waited here for half an hour, but Gu Qingcheng did not come down. Ziran was a little impatient and wanted to go upstairs to find someone, but was stopped by Xiaoyi. Where are you going? Just wait here. Xiaoyi smiled. Ziran broke free from Xiaoyi's hand, pulled him upstairs and said, maybe she got angry because you didn't accept her gift, and she left us alone on purpose. Let's go up and see what she's doing. Go to the top floor, the staircase to the 10th floor. The main door was closed. There was a pair of shoes in front of the door. There was still warmth on the shoes, which meant that Gu Qingcheng had just taken them off. Ziran knocked on the door and called out, Qingcheng, can we come in? There was no response from inside. Snap. Ziran opened the door and pulled Xiaoyi in. I saw a long white robe and a small panties on the sofa. Are you taking a shower? Ziran understood, and simply pulled Xiaoyi and sat down on the sofa. Xiaoyi, where are you looking? Don't look. Seeing Xiaoyi looking at the two small underwear curiously, Ziran said angrily. Xiaoyi's face turned red. I didn't expect Sister Qingcheng to have such a good figure. Her bra level is at least 30 sti. Sisters Iran, don't get me wrong. I have absolutely no feelings towards Sister Qingcheng. Any man who sees this thing will probably subconsciously appreciate it. Ziran followed Xiaoyi's gaze and saw the two small underwear. Her pupils shrank. As Xiaoyi said, the level is at least D. But if it's not 30 sti, she can't tell. Xiaoyi actually understood this aspect more accurately than her. Ziran was very surprised and said, I didn't expect Qingcheng to have such a good figure. She can even compare with Xiaoxi. She quickly pulled up her long white robe to cover her panties. Xiaoyi, can you let out some blood now? I want to grow taller. She stared at Xiaoyi with her beautiful eyes dryly. Xiaoyi hurriedly shook his head. No, drink it at night. This thing needs to be combined with secret massage to achieve the maximum effect. Drinking blood so early in the morning is so weird. The two of them stayed on the sofa for more than half an hour. The bathroom door opened. White mist came out from inside and filled the entire living room, making it look fairy-like. There is also a fresh fragrance in the white mist, which smells very nice. Xiao Yi took a sniff and muttered, "This seems to be the body fragrance of Sister King Cheng." In the white mist-filled bathroom, a beautiful figure wearing a brand new, slim white robe walked out. Different from her usual dignified and serious face, Gu Qingcheng's pretty face was flushed at this moment, and her exposed neck and hands were bright red like cooked crayfish. "There is a problem at first glance." Ziran hurried forward and asked with concern, "King Cheng, are you okay?" "Yes." She touched Gu Qingcheng's hand and immediately pulled it back because it was too hot. "Why is it so hot? Were you soaking in the magma just now?" Gu Qingcheng felt a little embarrassed, her pretty face turned red. "Yes, I just took a bath in the lava." Ziran looked at her with a perverted look. "You are probably the only one in the world who takes a bath in lava." The soul of Gu Qingcheng stood with his hands on his hips and laughed. The laughter was so loud that his chest was shaking. "Xiao Gu, find a man quickly, or I'll suffocate you to death." "Well, hurry up and be with my husband. I asked you to use electronic toys, but you didn't dare to use them. You are the one who is uncomfortable." Gu Qingcheng's face turned red. She was just soaking in ice water to suppress the effect of the wine in her body. She looked at Xiao Yi inexplicably and thought to herself, "I think it's time for me to find a man." Chapter 441 Future Empress knock him out, I will control the body. If she had a man, she wouldn't have to soak in ice water to cool down the heat in her hardened body. It is said that women are like wolves at 30 and tigers at 40. She is now 1500 years old, like a wild monster. Gu Qingcheng asked in her mind, "Old Gu, Xiao Yi and I must be husband and wife. Is it impossible for me to be with another man?" The soul of Gu Qingcheng said affirmatively, "Yes, the future trend cannot be changed. And it is impossible to change it. Even if you try your best to retreat, know the future in advance, and try your best to change it, the power of the world will still correct the trajectory of the timeline. Whether I travel back from the future or not, you will definitely become your husband's beast girl. So you don't have to bother with other men. If you want a man, just look for our husband." Gu Qingcheng snorted, "Other men? I don't like them." For the first time, she did not refute, and her mind was fixed on what Gu Qingcheng called our husband. Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes lit up and she said, "You are feeling very uncomfortable now. Why don't you find a chance to knock my husband out and let me take over the control of his body so that I can vent the residual drug effect of the wine in your body?" As she spoke, she swallowed, licked her lips, and her eyes became eager. Gu Qingcheng was stunned. "Knock him out? And then you rode on him and ravaged him at will?" "No, I can't accept it. You used my body and destroyed my innocence. I, Gu Qingcheng, have always been pure and innocent. When you did that, I was the one who suffered the loss." The soul of Gu Qingcheng was a little disappointed, and said regretfully, "Then you can just hold it in. Suffocate you to death. Be a spinster forever." After being criticized like this, Gu Qingcheng fell into deep thought. She glanced at Xiao Yi with her beautiful eyes, not knowing what she was thinking. Ziran moved closer to Xiao Yi and whispered, "Xiao Yi, is there something wrong with King Cheng? Help me take a look." Xiao Yi started the template adjuster and checked Gu Qingcheng's information. Just like yesterday, there is no extreme instability of the template for the time being. He shook his head and said, "It's okay, nothing wrong." Ziran breathed a sigh of relief, as long as there was no problem. Then, she said, "King Cheng, in Hanghouse Base City, is there any high-level secret realm with many Supreme Realm monsters? We need to obtain the Supreme Realm Crystal Cores, about 200 Supreme Realm Crystal Cores. 200 Supreme Crystal Cores. Gu Qingcheng took a deep breath. "Is it for your husband's cultivation? Does the mythical template require such a huge amount of resources?" When she was in the Supreme Realm, she only used about 40 Supreme Realms. Ziran shook her head. "It's not him, it's me. I need these crystal cores." A smile appeared on Gu Qingcheng's pretty face, and she said, "Ziran, there's no need to hide it. Xiao Yi needs resources for cultivation. As long as Hanghouse has them, I'll give them to him. I've said it before, I'm the big sister of the two of you. I'll protect you from now on, and as for your cultivation resources, as long as either of you ask, I'll find a way to help you." Xiao Yi felt complicated after hearing this. The Queen of Hanghouse truly treated him as her own. "It's not like when we first met, when I questioned him and rejected him." Ziran smiled. "Whatever you think. Just tell me, is there such a secret place in Hanghouse?" "There is such a secret realm in my Supreme Alliance, but I don't have the authority to enter. I need to ask the Supreme Elder for permission. You and I are different in the Supreme Alliance, although I am the leader and in control of the Supreme Alliance. There is also a Supreme Elder above me, but you are the mayor of Hanghouse Base City, and all resources are at your disposal." Gu Qingcheng nodded. "Advanced secret realm? Yes. It can't be said to be from Hanghouse. I have a way to go to that kind of high-level secret realm, which is the alien planet world." Ziran's eyes lit up. "Then give me the spatial coordinates of that planet. Xiao Yi and I will go there to obtain the crystal core resources." Gu Qingcheng hurriedly said, I will go with you. There are quasi-emperor realms in that world. If you intrude it will. It may be dangerous. Ziran looked at Gu Qingsheng, who was completely red, and asked doubtfully, "You are not fit to go out in this state, right?" Gu Qingsheng shook her head. "It's okay. It's just a small problem. It won't affect my going out to fight." The soul Gu Qingsheng clapped his hands and cheered. "Yes. Let's go together." If she remembered correctly, she helped Xiao Yi a lot in this matter, making her husband no longer hate her so much. It was crucial for the two of them to sign a contract and get together. Now that a trace of her soul has traveled through time and space using a treasure in return, she is confident that she can do a better job of this matter and make her husband completely change his mind about Xiaogu and no longer resist Xiaogu in his heart. During this process, she was brainwashing Xiaogu. "Our future sexual happiness still depends on me." The soul of Gu Qingsheng stood on the treasure of time and space. With her hands on her hips and a wicked smile, the corners of her mouth almost split to her ears. Okay, Ziran was very excited that he could upgrade the template after collecting enough crystal cores. "Then let's set off now. You don't have any business to deal with in your base city, right?" Gu Qingsheng swiped his hands in the air. Airing opened a space crack, and shook his head, saying, "Those things are small matters. Just let the people below handle them." Followed, she took a step forward and entered the space crack. Ziran took Xiao Yi's rough big hand and hurried in. In the endless void, the three of them crossed quickly. With the power of the Holy Realm, it took a lot of time to cross the distance between planets. A day later, the three of them came out of the back of the space and arrived in the void of the universe. In front of me was a huge planet that spanned the pitch-black universe. The planet was purple-blue in color. The three of them seemed incredibly small. This is an ocean planet. The land accounts for less than 1%. Almost all magical beasts live in the deep sea. The high-end combat power of Warcraft is not as good as that of Blue Star, but the core combat power is far superior to that of Blue Star. Perhaps it is due to the peculiarities of the world's rules. The Supreme Realm is as numerous as dogs. The Saint Realm can be seen everywhere, and the Quasi-Emperor Realm can be found onto hands. It's not a planet that our Hanghouse Base City keeps in captivity. Hanghouse Base City doesn't have the ability to keep such an advanced world in captivity. Gu Qingsheng narrowed her beautiful eyes slightly and explained to the two of them. "However, don't be too nervous. Although I am at the perfect Saint Realm, if someone from the Quasi-Emperor Realm comes, I am confident that I can fight him as long as he is not at the peak of the Quasi-Emperor Realm. I am confident that I can kill him." Ziran seemed to know her very well, nodded and said with a smile, "Then you will be the bodyguard this time." Xiao Yi was a little surprised that the Destiny template was so awesome. Having reached the perfect state of sainthood, are you confident that you can kill any Quasi-Emperor level monster? He swallowed his saliva and felt a little envious of the Destiny template. Afterwards, Gu Qingsheng took the two of them, found a location, landed on the planet, and with a few splashes, rushed into the sea and sprinted towards the deep sea. Ziran's divine sense spread out, taking in the situation within a radius of 10,000 miles in the deep sea. Supreme demonic beasts, all of them are supreme demonic beasts, 10, 20, 80. She rubbed her hands together excitedly and said, "Mine, all mine." Chapter 440 To Bikini Queen. Xiao Yi is feasting his eyes. This place is about 10,000 meters deep in the sea, and the water pressure is much greater than the pressure of a fully loaded truck hitting it. Huge sea beasts covered with cold scales swam through the dark sea. If you have a fear of the deep sea, you would probably be terrified if you saw it. The deeper you go into the trenches on the seabed, the stronger the sea beasts become, and their realms rise accordingly. Within the depth range of the 10,000-meter sea cucumber, there are many terrifying sea beasts of the Supreme Realm. And after seeing these deep sea beasts in her mind, Ziran's face was filled with excitement and she was extremely thrilled in her eyes. These beasts did not pose any threat at all, and the 10,000 meters of water pressure was nothing to her. The more supreme beasts, the better. Ziran struck casually, creating quite a bit of noise in the deep sea. The supreme deep sea beasts in the surrounding area heard the noise and wandered towards the three people. Not far away, a giant deep-sea crocodile, with its eyes flashing with thrilling blood-red rainbow light and sticky, smelling mucus flowing from its mouth, was the first to swim over here. Ziran is 1.7 meters tall, Xiao Yi is 1.85 meters tall, and Gu Qingsheng is 1.8 meters tall. They seem very small in front of this giant deep-sea crocodile that is 5,000 meters long and 100 meters high. It seems like every bite can be swallowed, not even a scrap. The three of them restrained their breath, and Gu Qingsheng suggested, "Seduce, we must learn how to seduce. Let those sea beasts gather first, then we can take action. Save us from having to look for them one by one." Ziran's beautiful eyes lit up. As expected of the Empress, you can even come up with such a good idea. When Gu Qingsheng heard this, a look of surprise appeared on her pretty face. "Xiaogu, you are really good. I asked you to learn how to seduce your husband, but you refused to learn. However, you are very proficient in seducing sea beasts. Oh, it would be great if you could use this ability on my husband. Gu Qingcheng listened to the pleasant voice in her mind, her mouth twitched. And she responded, Old Gu, shut up. If you tell me to seduce a man again, I'll sew your mouth shut. Then, she made a casual move, causing another noise behind Shin Ha, and took out a supreme treasure of heaven and earth level, the deep sea fruit from her storage ring. This is the deep sea fruit I got when I came here decades ago. This fruit is very tempting to the supreme sea beasts, and it is the best for seducing them. Gu Qingcheng threw the deep sea fruit in front of her, and a naughty smile appeared on her beautiful face. A ripe supreme deep sea fruit immediately gave off a rich fruity aroma in the seawater. The fruity aroma drifted along the seawater, like aged wine, and instantly spread over a range of thousands of miles. The supreme sea beasts within 3,000 miles of the three people sped up and rushed towards them rapidly. The closest giant deep sea crocodile looked at the sea cucumber fruit with its scarlet eyes, and there was a look of desire in its eyes. It looked at the three little guys with contempt, ignored them, and rushed directly towards the deep sea fruit, its bloody mouth open to a size of 500 meters, and it wanted to swallow the deep sea fruit in one gulp. Xiao Yi felt his scalp tingling when he saw it. The huge mouth of 500 meters long was biting towards him. If it were an ordinary person, he would have fainted from fright. Ziran smiled, rubbed his hands, and said, Little crocodile, including those supreme sea beasts, leave them all to me. Qingcheng, you just need to be a bodyguard and keep an eye out for the quasi-emperor realm sea beasts. Gu Qingcheng nodded, indicating that it was okay. A layer of armor of the power of rules condensed on Ziran's body. He rushed up and dived into the mouth of the giant deep-sea crocodile. With a plop, the figure disappeared. The giant deep-sea crocodile smacked its mouth, as if a fly had entered it. But it didn't matter. It ignored Xiao Yi and Gu Qingcheng, then opened its mouth, wanting to swallow the deep-sea fruit in front of it in one gulp. But at this moment, a popping sound like bamboo shoots sprouting after rain was heard, and the giant deep-sea crocodile's scarlet eyes were about to pop out, and a mouthful of black blood spurted out of its mouth. It felt a heart-nicking pain in its body, as if all its internal organs were torn apart and destroyed. Then, a hole appeared in the heart of the deep-sea giant crocodile, and Ziran, a suit of armor condensed by the power of rules, broke through the hole and returned to Xiao Yi. With a straight body and a long skirt fluttering, It's done. Ziran clapped his hands and said with a smile. The giant deep-sea crocodile rolled its eyes. Its life force quickly drained away, and its huge body fell straight into the deep sea. Ziran waved his hand, and a force dragged the dead deep-sea giant crocodile into his storage space, and said with a smile, I got a supreme top-grade crystal core. Xiao Yi looked at the charming Ziran in front of him and could not associate her with the lustful woman who was as wild and demanding as a wild beast yesterday. Gu Qingcheng warned. 12 deep-sea monsters are coming, and they are within 10 miles of us. 5 low-level supreme realm, 4 middle-level supreme realm, 4 middle-level supreme realm, 6 high-level supreme realm, and 2 perfect supreme realm. Ziran, get ready for battle. Ziran moved her arms and legs, and under the surprised gazes of the two men, she took off her purple skirt, leaving only to lace underwear, revealing her fair, tender and slender body. Facing their surprise, she smiled and said, This skirt is a bit cumbersome in the water anyway. There are no men here, so I might as well just swim for fun. Qingcheng, you should take off your clothes too. There are no men here, so you don't have to worry about exposing your private parts. Swimming in the 10,000-meter deep sea surrounded by deep sea monsters in the supreme realm? Only Ziran could say it so comfortably. As they were talking, the first wave of deep sea monsters had already reached the three of them. Each one was extremely huge in size, and was swimming towards them in the dark deep water. It's time for me to move around, Qingcheng. Xiao Yi is now in your hands. If anything happens to him, I will never forgive you. Ziran, wearing the armor of rules, rushed out with his tiny, newly grown body. He fearlessly faced more than a dozen deep sea beasts. She rushed forward as if she was the hardest being in the world, and easily pierced through the supreme beasts from head to tail. In just 2 breaths, more than 10 deep sea beasts were easily killed by Ziran. On Gu Qingcheng's side, Xiao Yi suddenly widened his eyes and subconsciously looked towards her delicate body. She actually took off her long white robe, leaving only to small underwear. Still a bikini. Xiao Yi was stunned. Her explosive figure, devilish curves, and a pair of long, white and tender legs that are longer than her life, all of them caught his attention. The thing in front was so great that it seemed like it was about to jump out and break free from the constraints of the bikini cover. The back is even more upturned, as if a cup could be placed on it without falling off. The explosive figure is comparable to Yunxi, but the two have different temperaments, giving people a unique feeling. One is a domineering empress, the other is a cold goddess Dean, giving people completely different feelings. Gudong. Xiao Yi swallowed his saliva and looked away with difficulty. His eyes became clear again in an instant. Wu Qingcheng's pleasant voice sounded. Xiao Yi, you should also pay the monthly salary. In the deep sea. Wearing clothes is a bit uncomfortable. This man did not stare at her like a pervert. His eyes were very clear. Gu Qingcheng was very satisfied. Chapter 443, Xiao Yi in swimsuit. The Empress was stunned. Xiao Yi was stunned. No, you really treat the deep sea as a swimming pool? I also want you DUI? Just do as you please. Gu Qingcheng glanced at him, paddled her slender white arms and legs, and swam around Xiao Yi. Being in the sea 10,000 meters deep is as easy as being into meters deep water. She felt like there was something extra, and when she looked down, she saw the majestic mountain but not her toes. Gu Qingcheng kicked off her shoes, revealing to white and tender feet. Her small and crystal toes sparkled as if they were jumping. Anyway, there are no men here. So Ziran and I don't have to worry about being seen by men. It looks dark here, but the water quality is very good. She swam around in front of Xiao Yi without any hesitation, drawing graceful arcs in the deep water. A corner of Xiao Yi's mouth twitched. Is he not a man? Are you wrong? There are no other men here. It's not that there are no men. However, the figure of the Queen of Hanghouse is really amazing. When she wears a slender white robe, you can vaguely see her devilish figure, but at this time, the Queen of Hanghouse is only wearing a bikini. And the scenery is simply eye-catching and has become the most beautiful scenery underwater. Even though Xiao Yi has seen countless beauties, his eyes will still unconsciously look at her. It was the first time that Gu Qingcheng wore only underwear in front of a man. There was no change on her pretty face, but she still felt a little awkward and shy inside. But thinking about what Gu Qingcheng had told her about the future, she and Xiao Yi would definitely be together, become husband and wife, and sign a contract. She no longer had much resistance in her heart. Under the influence of the future Gu Qingcheng, she had unknowingly, deep in her heart, slowly begun to accept the fact that Xiao Yi was her future husband. It's just that she didn't realize this clearly. If she were in front of other men, let alone taking off her clothes and wearing only a bikini, even if she was wearing a white robe, if those men looked at her for a few more seconds, she would get angry and want to gouge out those men's eyes. The soul Gu Qingcheng raised a thumbs up in the spiritual sea and praised. Xiao Gu, you are still amazing. You actually thought of this method to seduce your husband. It's amazing. Then, she was a little annoyed. And repentance appeared on her face as she said, back then, when my husband Ziran and I were getting the crystal core here, I strongly blamed Ziran and asked her to wear a skirt. I myself had a cold face the whole time. You ruined a good opportunity. If there wasn't an unexpected crisis later and I had helped my husband a lot, he might have hated me even more. Gu Qingcheng was speechless when she heard this. You are just as stubborn. Xiao Yi is Ziran's husband. It is impossible for him to have any thoughts about me. It's just wearing a small underwear and swimming. It won't make you lose a piece of meat. When did I seduce Xiao Yi? That was impossible. Chen Gu Qingcheng's face darkened. Okay, you're mocking me now, aren't you? You even called me stubborn? If it weren't for my advice and assistance, would you recognize Xiao Yi at this time? Would you let down your guard against Xiao Yi? If I hadn't been here, you would have done exactly the same thing as I did back then. Gu Qingcheng was stunned. As if what the future Gu Qingcheng said was really happening. Now, she has completely accepted Xiao Yi, and has let down her guard against him and no longer resists the existence of this man. Subconsciously, I have already identified with this man. The soul Gu Qingcheng suddenly licked her rosy lips, her beautiful eyes glowed with a hungry look, and said, Xiao Gu, quickly give your husband some psychological counseling and ask him to take off his clothes as well. I haven't seen my husband's 8-pack ABS in a long time. I've done so much for you, can you please fulfill my little wish, okay? Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched. In the future, she would not only be hooked into a pervert, but also a slut. Hurry, I can't wait any longer. A few drops of crystal clear water flowed from the corners of Gu Qingcheng's mouth. She kept swallowing her saliva. Her beautiful eyes, like a hungry wolf that had been hungry for a long time, released a captivating light. Gu Qingcheng said helplessly, okay, I'll try, but if Xiao Yi doesn't want to swim, don't blame me. She did a deep-sea backflip through a beautiful parabola in the water and jumped in front of Xiao Yi, holding her hands in front of her chest. A smile appeared on her pretty face, and said, why? A grown man, are still afraid of being seen by others? There are no perverts or hungry wolves here, so you don't have to worry about being taken advantage of. Xiao Yi looked at the independent bikini queen of Hanghouse City in front of him, shrugged, and said, Sister Qingcheng, since you said so, it would be hypocritical for a grown man like me to postpone it. In the dim light, Gu Qingcheng's long legs were glowing white, and her skin was so tender that it seemed as if water was about to drip out, which was very eye-catching. He was fighting against his inner self, trying not to let himself show his pig side. Xiao Yi took off his outer clothes and left only a pair of shorts. The strong body is revealed. His body is full of muscles, and his 8 abdominal muscles are arranged like ribs. She looks thin when she is dressed and has muscles when she is in rest. He exudes a strong, masculine aura. He struck a few fitness poses. His arm muscles bulged, his 8-pack abs perfectly displayed, and his handsome face that looked like an immortal, exuding endless masculine charm. Gu Qingcheng was stunned. Is this really a body shape that only men can have? The male protagonists in those action art movies are all greasy, fat, and have terrible bodies. Compared with Xiaoyi, it's simply unbearable. It was the first time for her to see a man's figure in real life, but she didn't expect that Xiaoyi's figure was so perfect, as if without any flaws, like a carefully crafted work of art, without any flaws or shortcomings. Especially the masculine scent that came to her face shocked her greatly. Sister Qingcheng, are you distracted? He was a little surprised that Gu Qingcheng was looking at his body and was actually in a daze and distracted. The queen of Hanghouse would actually be in a daze? I'm wondering if those men can handle some of the affairs in Hangcheng properly. Her heart was pounding as she lied to a man for the first time. Xiaoyi nodded and believed what she said. This is the queen of Hanghouse. How could she be distracted by looking at a man? Impossible. The soul of Gu Qingcheng was extremely excited and kept swallowing his saliva. My husband in his youth was really great. Oh, it would be nice if I could just touch it. Xiao Gu, don't be embarrassed. A man standing in front of you is your destined husband, just look at him if you want. Hey, are you moved? Having her thoughts exposed, Gu Qingcheng's pretty face felt a little hot, and she replied in her mind, I don't want to see it. Old Gu, are you satisfied? Tell me the solution to my stagnation as soon as possible. The soul Gu Qingcheng chuckled. Xiao Yu licked his lips and said, are you still shy? I don't know if you are moved or not, but I am moved anyway. Xiao Gu, let me take over the control of your body, and I'll find an excuse to touch your husband's 8-pack abs, how about that? Once I'm satisfied, I'll tell you how to solve the problem of realm stagnation. Chapter 440 For the future empress takes over the body. Gu Qingcheng hesitated for a moment. Thought for a moment and said, no, Xiaoyi is my future husband, not my current husband. Touching his 8-pack abs is crossing the line. He is Ziran's husband now. If Ziran sees this, how can I explain it? Old Gu, you are so hungry, like a hungry wolf. The soul Gu Qingcheng snorted. What's wrong with a hungry wolf? What's wrong with hunger and thirst? I have been guarding an empty room for nearly 100 years, but I can't get satisfaction or vent. Now that I have the opportunity to meet my husband, I must seize it. Gu Qingcheng said helplessly, Old Gu, can't you just be patient for a while? The soul of Gu Qingcheng said impatiently, I can't stand it, not even for a second. Don't worry, I will create an unexpected situation and find a legitimate reason to ensure that Ziran, that bitch, won't blame you for it. Hey, do you still want to improve your realm? Gu Qingcheng hesitated for a while, then made up her mind and said, okay, but don't do anything excessive, or I will stop at any time and take back control of your body at any time. The body is hers. She can give up control and take it back at any time. Although the soul of future Gu Qingcheng fits her body, there is only a trace of that soul if they fight for it. They will not be able to snatch it from her, the original owner. The soul of Gu Qingcheng jumped up excitedly, rubbed his hands in an obscene manner, and was extremely happy. Hurry, I can't wait, I want to touch my husband, she urged. Gu Qingcheng immediately let go of control of her body and let her take over. Next to him, Xiaoyi saw Gu Qingcheng looking away, thinking that she was contacting her subordinates in Hanghouse-based city, so he did not disturb her. But Gu Qingcheng's graceful body was so amazing that he looked at her vaguely with the corner of his eyes. And this dark and lightless deep sea. He felt very happy to be able to see such scenery. In the distance, Ziran collected the corpses of the second wave of supreme deep sea beasts and waited for the third wave of supreme deep sea beasts. The third wave of sea beasts are also at the supreme level, with about 20 of them. Some great sea beasts heard the noise and rushed over after seeing the supreme sea beasts being slaughtered. They quickly slipped away, wishing they had 2 more legs so they could escape faster. Those supreme-level sea beasts relied on their status as supreme-level beasts and their large numbers, and came towards Ziran, or to be more precise, towards the supreme-level deep-sea fruits behind Ziran. Ziran was a powerful being in the Holy Realm. There was an insurmountable natural gap between the Supreme Realm and the Holy Realm. She was floating gracefully in the seawater, looking at the wandering deep-sea beasts with a relaxed expression, without any fear. Here it comes. The rule armor around her body is invisible and can only be sensed with divine consciousness. From Xiaoyi's perspective, he could only see a slender and graceful body wearing only 2 small white underwear. Swish, Ziran was launched like a missile, at an extremely fast speed, invisible to the naked eye. Xiaoyi retracted his gaze and was immediately shocked when he saw the naked look of the Empress of Hanghouse in front of him. He covered his chest with his hands. took a few steps back, and asked in surprise, Sister King Cheng, what do you want to do? Wasn't the Queen of Hanghouse thinking about the affairs of the Hanghouse Space City? Why were her eyes staring at his body with dry eyes, and her hands reaching out as if she wanted to touch him? Is this still the domineering and powerful Queen of Hanghouse? She looks like a thirsty widow who has not been nourished by a man. One who was controlling the body at the moment was the future Gu King Cheng. She withdrew her hands and put them behind her back with some embarrassment. The greed in her beautiful eyes was hidden, and her complexion returned to normal. I want to test the water pressure around you and see if it can hurt you. Xiao Yi was stunned for a moment, then suddenly realized, it's okay, Sister King Cheng, with your strength, the water pressure here won't have any effect on me. Even if I come by myself, it won't be affected at all. He was saying. How could the Queen of Hanghouse be a slut? She wanted to touch a man like she had never touched a man before. It turned out that she wanted to test the water pressure around him. At the moment, Gu King Cheng was in her spiritual sea, her face as black as charcoal, and she was so angry that her chest rose and fell, swinging like a swing. Old Gu, please pay attention to your expression. You are now representing me, the Queen of Hanghouse. Please restrain your restlessness and hunger, okay? I, the Queen of Hanghouse, will never show that pig-like appearance as to disgusting. Future Gu King Cheng, who was controlling the body, responded, okay. Butcher Gu King Cheng looked at Xiao Yi. A complex expression appeared on her face, and resentment emerged in her beautiful eyes. It was this man who had obsessed her and made her miss him day and night. Over the past 100 years, she had explicitly and implicitly asked this man to come to her room for exercise dozens of times, but the man ignored her. After thinking about it, future Gu King Cheng removed the power that was wrapped around Xiao Yi, and subconsciously said, Husband, you should be able to handle this depth of water easily, right? Xiao Yi replied, I haven't tried it, but it should work. Then, he realized something was wrong and said in surprise, Sister King Cheng, what did you call me? Husband? Sister King Cheng, I am Sister Zairan's husband, not your husband. Future Gu King Cheng was stunned. Oh, you heard it wrong. Xiao Yi, I just called you Xiao Yi. Xiao Yi scratched his head in confusion. Did I hear wrongly? Future Gu King Cheng stared at him, scratching his head with her eyes wide open. So cute, my husband actually has such a cute side. Yes. Xiang Xiao Yi, you heard it wrong. She waved her hand, retracted the power she had on Xiao Yi, and said, Xiao Yi, try to see if you can move freely in this water pressure. Gu King Cheng's face turned dark again in his spiritual sea. This old Gu is so careless. She is worthy of being a woman who has been guarding an empty house for 100 years. Her brain has gone wrong. Old Gu, Xiao Yi is at the great venerable level. The water pressure here is much greater than that on Blue Star. He won't be able to withstand the water pressure at a depth of 10,000 meters. She reminded hurriedly. If Zairan's husband had an accident in front of her, she would feel bad. In the future, Gu King Cheng smiled and responded in her mind, it's okay, I know my husband. When Xiao Yi's power protection was removed, he immediately felt unprecedented pressure. Suddenly, the aura of the second level of the great venerable realm burst out from his body. After the 10,000 tons of water pressure on his body was released, he felt relieved. Control of water element, as the name suggests, you are the king of water. All water elements in the world are under your control. His talents and skills were stimulated, and the surrounding sea water became gentle and active, as if it had found its biological father. Xiao Yi restrained his great power and was able to breathe freely in the sea water, just like a fish returning to the sea. He felt the sea water around him became familiar. He waved his hand casually, and the sea water around him automatically receded. Future Gu King Cheng watched with a smile on her face, seeming to be very familiar with this scene, not showing the slightest bit of surprise. But Gu King Cheng in the spiritual sea was extremely surprised and said in shock, He actually has such a high degree of control over water. More powerful than those water-attributed supreme beings. Future Gu King Cheng smiled and said, My husband has full control over the 5 elements. Put away your rustic expression, okay? Gu King Cheng's mouth twitched. You are the country bumpkin. Your whole family is country bumpkins. Future Gu King Cheng chuckled. You scolded the wrong person. Are you sure you want to scold my whole family as unsophisticated? Gu King Cheng's face froze, a little embarrassed. Calling old Gu's whole family unsophisticated was just calling her own family unsophisticated. I don't want to bother with you. Your husband is right to ignore you. You are so irritating. Future Gu King Cheng frowned. Suddenly, the battle between Zairan and the Supreme Realm Sea Beast in the distance approached. And the aftermath of the battle in the Supreme Realm spread out, and the sea water rolled over. In the future, Gu King Cheng's beautiful eyes lit up, and she seemed to be pushed along by the surging sea water. Hey, Xiao Yi, be careful. She was pushed by the seawater, her whole body pressed against Xiao Yi. She held Xiao Yi's head against her chest, hugged him, and was pushed out by the seawater pressure of hundreds of thousands of tons. Xiao Yi only felt his eyes go dark, and his face was pressed against something soft, as if buried between two mountains. Unable to be pulled out. Chapter 445 The future Gu Qingcheng who took advantage of Xiao Yi. Not only that, there is also an extremely strong fragrance that rushes straight into the nostrils. Is this Sister Qingcheng's body fragrance? Xiao Yi thought it smelled good and subconsciously took a few deep breaths. He pressed his entire face against that fair skin and could feel how tender and soft it was. In the future, Gu Qingcheng held Xiao Yi's head, leaned against him, and was washed out 20 zarameters by the pressure of hundreds of thousands of tons of water. That was a close call. Are you okay, Xiao Yi? She hugged Xiao Yi's head tightly, looked down at his flowing hair, and asked. Xiao Yi's head was forced to be buried in the giant mountain. He was unable to speak and could only make dull mumbling sounds. Oh, sorry. A sly smile appeared on the beautiful face of the future Gu Qingcheng, and the corners of her rosy little mouth curled up slightly. Gu Qingcheng. She could feel that she was in the sea of spirituality and her body's feelings were also synchronized. Old Gu, you wanna touch your 8-pack ABS, so you put me inside? You're losing my innocence, and he's taking advantage of me. Let him go now. Gu Qingcheng said with a blushing face. Future Gu Qingcheng replied, he is our husband. It is natural for a husband to take advantage of others. Why are you so anxious? Are you going to let someone else take your tofu? Really? It's just a small bargain. On be so stingy. Gu Qingcheng's face darkened. She was taken advantage of by a man, but she was still the one being stingy. Xiao Yi is her future husband, not her current husband. Future Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, I'll try to eliminate our husband's resistance to you now. Don't say anything. Just watch me do it. When Gu Qingcheng heard this, she had a bad feeling in her heart. This old Gu really didn't treat her as his own daughter and was capable of doing anything outrageous. Xiao Yi was held tightly and tried to struggle to pull his head out. 10 minutes later, after the aftermath of the battle between the supreme sea beasts in the vicinity ended, future Gu Qingcheng let go of Xiao Yi. A smile appeared in her eyes, and her red lips opened slightly. I have released my power to protect you. In this desperate situation, I can only use this method to protect you. Sister Qingcheng, thank you. Xiao Yi touched his face, which still had a lingering fragrance. He stared at Gu Qingcheng in a daze, and felt that Gu Qingcheng's temperament had changed at this moment. She became more mature and charming, and her tone became more friendly. Every move she makes can inadvertently exude the charm of her graceful body. Xiao Yi felt strange. How come the Queen of Hanghouse seemed like a different person? The look she gave him vaguely revealed a strong possessiveness and a hint of resentment. It seemed as if he had let down the Queen of Hanghouse. Ziran is fighting fiercely. It's a very exciting battle. Let us go back and take a look. It will help you gain combat experience and will be good for you. A hint of cunning flashed across the beautiful eyes of the future Gu Qingcheng. She stretched out her slender hand and grabbed Xiao Yi's rough big hand, and instantly returned to the battle scene. At this time, the white and tender purple girl, wearing a small underwear and invisible regular armor, exuded a strong aura. A tiny figure was fighting with the 3,000-meter-tall deep-sea monster. One man fights against 15 deep-sea beasts alone. There were 20 of them just now, but now there are only 15 left. The other 5 have been killed, and their corpses have been collected by Ziran into his storage ring. The purpose of killing these Supreme Realm sea beasts is to obtain the Supreme Realm crystal cores, not to obtain the rule fragments, so Xiao Yi does not need to take action. Ziran looked back and saw that Xiao Yi was safe and sound. Being protected by Gu Qingcheng, she immediately smiled brightly and turned back to fight with the 15 Supreme Sea Beasts. Those Supreme Sea Beasts also realized that Ziran's realm was very high. Killing them was like killing dogs. They all wanted to slip away. The energy of Taoism surrounded the huge beast's body, and a heart-pounding beast roar came out of its mouth. How could Ziran give them a chance to escape? In the Saint realm, he didn't even need to use his innate skills to deal with the Supreme. He just rushed towards the sea beasts in a rude and brutal manner. Deep Sea Tornado shielded vision. King Kong body violent. The innate skills of the deep sea beasts were activated one after another. Suddenly, a violent water tornado with a range of tens of thousands of meters appeared at the battle site, and the beasts fled in all directions. After Ziran stabbed a beast with ease, he sprinted towards the next beast. A deep tornado rolled in, bringing with it millions of tons of sea pressure. Xiao Yi's face changed with his current level. He couldn't easily deal with this level of sea pressure. Future Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes lit up, and she thought to herself, good opportunity. Xiao Yi was stunned. Why did Sister Qingcheng hug him again and press her whole body against him? Future Gu Qingcheng came close, hugged Xiao Yi's waist with her tender right hand, and said with a smile, Xiao Yi, don't be afraid, I'm here, you will be fine. The sea tornado rolled over, Xiao Yi's hair fluttered, and he didn't feel any pressure at all. But I felt the softness and comfort on my side. I felt my abdominal muscles again, as if they were tickled. He looked down, his face filled with astonishment. A slender, white little hand. After embracing his waist, 10 slender fingers with long nails kept making small movements, touching his 8-pack abs. When he looked up again, he saw the Queen of Hanghouse standing sideways with a calm expression, her eyes fixed on the battlefield, as if she was not doing anything tricky. Xiao Yi put his hand on the mischievous little hand, held it tightly, and said in astonishment, "Sister King Chang, what are you doing? Are you taking advantage of me?" Future Gu King Chang's pretty face looked natural, pretending to be ignorant, and said, "What? Xiao Yi, what did you say? Who dares to give you an advantage?" The corner of Xiao Yi's mouth twitched as this Queen of Hanghouse never touched a man. Gu King Cheng's pretty face flushed in the sea of consciousness. The feeling was so wonderful. She can sense the feelings of her body simultaneously. Gu King Cheng said awkwardly, "Old Gu, if you want to touch me, you have to find a reason. This kind of ruthless behavior of putting on pants and leaving is too embarrassing for me." Gu King Chen. Future Gu King Cheng nodded, blinked at Xiao Yi, and said, "I'm sorry. I've been a virgin for 1500 years, and this is the first time I've been in such close contact with a man. I couldn't help but touch him. I didn't mean to. Xiao Yi, can you let me touch you for a while longer?" Xiao Yi opened his mouth with a look of shock on his face. Did the Queen of Hanghouse mean that she was missing a man? "Sister King Cheng, this is inappropriate. I am Zairan's husband." Future Gu King Cheng said regretfully, "Oh, forget it. No, that disappointed expression of yours, is that real?" Xiao Yi was stunned. In the distance, the sea beasts were fleeing and were about to leave the area. Ziran took immediate countermeasures. Devouring Domain transformed the battlefield into a domain, blocked the enemy, and within the domain, the effect of devouring talent skills increases by 1000. But Ziran as the center, a pitch-black area with a radius of 10,000 miles instantly spread out, covering all the fleeing sea beasts. A sea monster crashed into the border of the territory and made itself dizzy, but the border of the territory was as solid as a mountain and did not show any sign of shaking. Roar, roar, roar. The sea beasts were communicating with each other in secret. "Fight her, we have more people, hit her, and attack her, we can take her down in one fell swoop." These sea beasts reached a consensus in a short period of time and attacked Ziran. Ziran smiled slightly, her face calm and not afraid at all. Several loud noises were heard. The fighting power of the Supreme Realm at the scene exploded and reached its peak. The aftermath of the battle spread towards Xiao Yi and the others. Future Gu King Cheng's beautiful eyes lit up again. She looked at Xiao Yi's stylish lips under his slight beard and swallowed. Chapter 446, The Future Empress Who is Full of Tricks. After seeing the body's vision, Gu King Cheng had an ominous premonition and asked in surprise, "Old Gu, you are not going to force a kiss, are you? You nagging woman. You can't give me my first kiss, I haven't kissed a man yet," she said a little anxiously. Future Gu King Cheng immediately admitted, "Yes, I just want to force a kiss. Hey, why are you so anxious? This is our husband, what's wrong with kissing him? Now I am in control of the body, and I kissed you. So it doesn't count as your first kiss when you are in control of the body in the future. If you kiss me again, it will be your first kiss." Gu King Cheng thought about it, and it seemed to make sense, so she said. Seeing that Xiaogu had been led astray and brainwashed by her, Future Gu King Cheng laughed. "Explain? Why should I explain? Just don't let him find out." Gu King Cheng's mouth twitched. "Don't let anyone find out? Kiss secretly? Xiao Yi would definitely feel something if he was kissed, so how could he be kissed like that?" The violent aftermath of the Supreme Realm battle surged over, and Future Gu King Cheng smiled and said in his mind, "A good opportunity. A supreme level shielded vision, shields vision and divine consciousness detection. A ranged talent skill has an impact range of tens of thousands meters." At that moment, Xiao Yi, who was only at the second level of Great Venerable, was hit. In an instant, everything went dark before his eyes, and he fell into infinite darkness. His star-like black eyes were opened, but he could not see any light or scenery. In the future, Gu King Cheng did not help Xiao Yi to remove the visual blockade, but followed the aftermath of the battle. Stuck to Xiao Yi again, pouting her rosy little lips and kissing him. "So moist. So cool, and has a sweet and fragrant smell. What's going on?" Xiao Yi's mouth was blocked. After feeling the sensation coming from it, endless doubts arose in his ear that couldn't speak and could only think about it in his mind. Then, he felt his body being hugged. Two soft bodies pressed against him and hugged his waist. "I can feel the tenderness and smoothness of the skin in front." The future Gu King Cheng blocked Xiao Yi's mouth with her rosy little mouth. An expression of joy and intoxication appeared on her beautiful face, and she was completely immersed in it. She was extremely excited. It had been a long time since she had kissed her husband. Perhaps decades. During the next 100 years, she transformed from a young empress into a mature and charming empress. However, she had very little practical experience in this area. Although she watched a lot of porn movies, she had a lot of theories in her mind, but they were of no use. In her mind, Gu Qingcheng felt the touch of lips coming from her body at the same time, and her heart was stirred. Is this what it feels like to be a man? It was the first time she felt this very unique and special taste. There were ripples in my heart. In her field of vision, Xiaoyi's handsome face, which looked like a fairy descending from heaven, had a pair of sword-like eyebrows trembling slightly. It was the first time for her to look at a man at such a close distance. Suddenly, Gu Qingcheng felt something, his face froze, and he said, "Old Gu, why are you sticking my tongue out? You don't mean to." She widened her beautiful eyes and said anxiously, "No. This is absolutely not possible. I've already made a great sacrifice, just try it a little, don't go too far. You are satisfied, but I am the one who was sacrificed and my innocence was damaged." Future Gu Qingcheng paused, stopped stretching out the little fish, and replied with some disappointment, "Well, it's a bit anxious to reach the stomach in one step. You have to eat one bite at a time and walk one step at a time." Just like that, the future Gu Qingcheng followed the aftermath of the battle in the Supreme Realm, hugged Xiaoyi, kissed him, and was pushed out 50,000 meters by the seawater. Feeling that it was about time, she separated her little mouth from Xiaoyi and licked her lips with her little finger. Feeling a little unsatisfied, she looked at Xiaoyi's handsome face with her beautiful eyes, and somehow moved closer and kissed him on the face. I kissed the right side, and it seemed a little awkward. Then, she kissed Xiaoyi on the left side of his face again. She's a real female hooligan. Gu Qingcheng watched in his spiritual sea, his face darkening. "You have really been guarding an empty room for too long. You gave me my first kiss, and also the second and third kisses. Old Gu, you are really cruel. Fortunately, there is no one else here, otherwise, you would have completely disgraced me, the Queen of Hanghouse." What kind of talk is this? Am I, the Queen of Hanghouse, an unsatisfied female pervert? Future Gu Qingcheng chuckled and said, "You are not a female pervert, but I am." Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched. "You are me and I am you. If you are a female pervert, then don't you say am?" A strange look appeared on Xiaoyi's face. Why did he feel like someone kissed him several times, not only on the mouth but also on the face? The person who was holding her in front of her, judging by the two softas coming from the front, must be the Queen of Hanghouse, Gu Qingcheng. It couldn't be Ziran, because Ziran was not that magnificent at this stage. The person who kissed him was the Queen of Hanghouse. But that's impossible. How could a domineering and powerful woman like the Queen of Hanghouse do such a sneaky thing? The unknown secret of the Queen of Hanghouse. Xiaoyi shook his head. Something must have stuck to his face just now. There were so many strange things in the deep sea, including many soft, moist and cold little things. It is estimated that those things were accidentally stuck to his lips and left and right sides of his face with the aftermath of the battle in the Supreme Realm. Yes, this is the only possibility. Xiaoyi's eyes suddenly widened, and he felt something kneading him down there. It feels like being pinched by a small hand. What's going on? Could it be that there is some small creature clinging to him again? Xiaoyi hurriedly said, "Sister Qingcheng, can you help me get rid of the visual blockade? This place is so weird." The visual shielding of the Supreme Realm would have a much smaller effect on him than on ordinary people, and its duration would also be much shorter, but it could still last for several dozen minutes. If an ordinary Great Venerable was hit by the vision-blocking talent skill of the Supreme Realm, it would be estimated that for 2 or 3 months, he would be without vision and his spiritual sense would lose its detection effect. Gu Qingcheng was in the spiritual sea, looking at the future Gu Qingcheng in astonishment. Gu Qingcheng controlled her body, stretched out her little hand and kneaded it, and said in shock, "No, Lao Gu, you are thirsty too. Is that something you can move? Help Xiaoyi to contact the visual shield quickly, otherwise it will be hard to explain if we continue playing. Xiaoyi is not stupid, he will definitely be able to guess what you have done." Future Gu Qingcheng shook her head and laughed, "I haven't had enough of pinching yet." Gu Qingcheng was completely stunned. "Isn't this enough?" Future Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, "It's okay. I have the plan." She reached out casually and caught a small starfish that was passing by. She chuckled and said, "We didn't do anything just now. It was this little starfish who did it." Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched, and he sighed, "As expected of my future self. I can even think of such a cunning method." Afterwards, the future Gu Qingcheng controlled the body of the Empress, stretched out her little hand, and pinched that place twice. Xiaoyi opened his eyes wide, but could not see anything. He quickly covered his eyes with his hands and his body hunched over like a shrimp. Chapter 447 The Arrival of the Supreme Sea Beast, the Empress in the Quasi-Emperor Realm. Gu Qingcheng was shocked. "No, you really got it right? You are so brave." Future Gu Qingcheng said, "Just tell me if it feels good or not." Gu Qingcheng's pretty face turned red. The touch felt good, and she felt it too. "You can't do this kind of thing again, or I will take back control of my body." Based on her understanding of Lao Gu, if she didn't stop him, this perverted Lao Gu might do something outrageous. It felt good, but she wouldn't tell. In the future, Gu Qingcheng felt that it was about time. So she stuck the little starfish to Xiao Yi as he took a step back and let Xiao Yi go. With a wave of his hand, he removed the visual blockage that had blocked Xiao Yi. In a flash, Xiao Yi's vision recovered and he saw the Queen of Hanghouse looking at him with a smile. He looked down quickly and saw a small starfish clinging to him. So that's it. Xiao Yi was a little angry and quickly threw the little starfish away. This little starfish was so mean, kissing and touching him. The aftermath of the battle rolled in. And the little starfish was swept back by the surging seawater and stuck to his abdominal muscles. Xiao Yi. Uchi. Future Gu Qingcheng laughed looking at Xiao Yi like this. She inexplicably found him cute. This wave of battle aftermath was the last one. Ziran ended the battle and collected all 20 Supreme Realm corpses. Her purple hair fluttered with the seawater. Floating in the dark seawater, she looked around and found that there were no supreme sea beasts within 1,000 miles. And she flashed and came to the side of Xiao Yi and the others. When seeing Xiao Yi's embarrassed look, Zoran smiled. She reached out and grabbed the little starfish. And with a squeeze of her palm, she crushed it into powder. It's just a small starfish, what? With that expression. Xiao Yi, it's not constipation, Ziran said with a smile. Xiao Yi was a little depressed. The smile appeared on future Gu Qingcheng's pretty face, and she said, I guess he thought I kissed him and touched him just now. But I found out it was a little starfish that was causing the trouble. It was a huge psychological gap. Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched. Is this something that can be said out loud? Ziran patted Xiao Yi's shoulder and said, it's just a small starfish, don't worry about it. Ingcheng kissed him. Impossible. While the three were chatting, undercurrents were already surging in the seas of this water planet, which was comparable in size to a blue star. It seemed as if all sea areas and all sea beast forces had received orders, rushing quickly towards the direction of Xiao Yi and the other two. Future Gu Qingcheng's expression suddenly changed. A powerful enemy is coming. There are more than 2,000 Holy Realm beasts, and there are more than 300 Holy Realm perfect sea beasts. Not only that, there are also quasi-emperor realm beasts. There are hundreds of people in the early, middle and late stages of the quasi-emperor realm. There is also a deep-sea monster that has reached the perfect quasi-emperor realm. She had not yet released the divine consciousness of perfection in the Holy Realm. But she could feel the powerful aura from all over the planet, rushing towards her quickly. Ziran and Xiao Yi's faces changed. Are they here to arrest us? But it be that this planet does not allow outsiders to enter? Future Gu Qingcheng nodded, frowning and said, maybe the noise we made in the fight just now was too loud and disturbed the supreme being of this planet. I can't handle this number of high-level deep-sea beasts by myself. Xiao Yi quickly thought about it and said, let's run away and return to Blue Star. Gu Qingcheng in the future pulled with both hands. But there was no movement in the seawater space in front of her. She said with an unpleasant expression, the space on this planet is blocked. There's no escape. I can use the innate skills of the Destiny template to empower my future realm, but I can only empower it to the late quasi-emperor realm. I can't handle so many high-level deep-sea beasts, especially those at the perfect quasi-emperor realm. I'm sorry, we are in great danger. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have brought you here to get the crystal core. Xiao Yi and Ziran looked at each other, their faces turning ugly. But it be that I am really going to fail here this time? Gu Qingcheng was puzzled in his spiritual sea and said, Old Gu, didn't you go through it once? How did you escape from this predicament at that time? Future Gu Qingcheng frowned, feeling strange, and responded, at that time, there were only 3 deep-sea monsters in the early stage of the quasi-emperor realm to capture us. Not so many high-level sea beasts. There are no deep-sea beasts in the middle, late, or perfect quasi-emperor realm coming here. Gu Qingcheng was stunned. Why is it like this now? Future Gu Qingcheng was confused and said, this is what I don't understand. But it be that I traveled back in time and changed some current events, causing a butterfly effect that led to the current situation? Gu Qingcheng nodded. It's possible. Traveling through time and space is an act that affects the operation of the world. You have changed some things in our current stage, causing the supreme rules of this universe to be revised. Future Gu Qingcheng shook her head and said, you think too simply of me and the time treasure I use. Since I can travel back in time, I already know everything. How can I avoid being rejected by the world and causing serious consequences? I have not changed the current development trend, so it is impossible for me to trigger the revision of the supreme rules of the universe. Do you know what the general trend of the timeline of this starry sky is? Gu Qingcheng was confused. What is it? Gu Qingcheng from the future said, the general trend of this starry sky is Xiao Yi's growth and my husband's growth as long as my husband is not dead. The supreme rules of the universe in this starry sky will not interfere. Gu Qingcheng was shocked. In short, a general trend of the timeline of this starry sky is Xiao Yi? Future Gu Qingcheng nodded. That's right. This is the conclusion drawn by Mu Qingzu, the supreme emperor of time. Qi, who has a deep understanding of the way of time, told us this in person. It was also with her guidance that I was able to travel back and change some of the current details. Emperor of Time? Supreme Being of the Universe? Gu Qingcheng was shocked. She was very puzzled and asked. And we are about to be surrounded and killed now, doesn't this violate the timeline trend? Future Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, don't worry. My husband won't die. But for Ziran and I, that's not necessarily the case. Gu Qingcheng's face froze. Ziran and I will die. And you are still laughing. You are really a woman who has been tricked into turning upside down. In the future, Gu Qingcheng burst out with the aura of perfection in the Holy Realm, and used the innate skill initiation of the future realm, using the power of one's future self to temporarily improve one's present self. Her breath was rising layer by layer. The Holy Realm is complete, the early stage of the Quasi-Emperor Realm, the middle stage of the Quasi-Emperor Realm, and the late stage of the Quasi-Emperor Realm. 10 minutes later, the future Empress had reached the late stage of the Quasi-Emperor Realm. She stood in front of Xiaoyi and Ziran with a determined look, and said solemnly, you two go into the Bronze Hall, leave this to me. Xiaoyi immediately took out the Bronze Palace and said, the three of us will go in together. The Bronze Palace is at the perfect level of the Quasi-Emperor Realm. I don't believe that these sea beasts can break through the defense of the Bronze Palace. The future Gu Qingcheng shook her head. It's useless. Just go, and even if I die, I will do my best to send you back to Blue Star. Chapter 448. Supreme Beast, meet the Madam. While saying this, future Gu Qingcheng had a resolute look on her face, and her beautiful eyes revealed a look that indicated she was ready to die. The Bronze Palace projected a blue light gate. Ziran hurriedly pulled Xiaoyi and entered the Bronze Palace in milliseconds. In the Bronze Palace, Ziran breathed a sigh of relief and said, with Qingcheng's current state, if she fights hard, she should be able to escape back to Blue Star. You don't have to worry too much. Xiaoyi felt that there was some truth in what he heard. He glanced at Ziran, and saw a very worried and anxious look on Ziran's pretty face. You told me not to worry, but you clenched your fists and your nervousness was written all over your face. In the outside world, Gu Qingcheng's face was solemn. Thousands of holy deep-sea monsters had appeared all around him, up and down, left and right. The eyes of these deep-sea monsters were fixed on her. An incomparably powerful aura burst out from their huge bodies, pressing the waters so hard that they seemed to be wailing. Gu Qingcheng, who is only 1.8 meters tall, looks very small in front of these sea beasts that are at least 5,000 meters long. But the aura of the late Quasi-Emperor Realm that burst out from her made these deep sea beasts dare not approach her. They were 1,000 meters away, and did not dare to take a single step forward. In the future, Gu Qingcheng burst out with all his power and tore open the space ahead. The space ahead shook violently, and the restrictions on it shattered with a crackling sound. Her beautiful face lit up with joy, and she continued to exert all her strength to break through the space in front of her. But the broken restriction was instantly restored to its original state. Future Gu Qingcheng's face changed. This is at least a perfect treasure of the Quasi-Emperor Realm, and it has caused a world blockade. It's hard to escape. Different treasures have different exclusive functions. Some are defensive treasures, some are offensive treasures, and some are forbidden treasures. The Bronze Palace contains the most valuable treasures for capturing people. Treasures of the same level have different functions and focuses. If the Bronze Palace is continuously attacked by a sea beast at the Quasi-Emperor level, it will inevitably be damaged and broken into bronze fragments. At the same level, the defense of the Bronze Palace is definitely not as good as that of defensive treasures. In the future, Gu Qingcheng did not give up and continued to exert all his power, trying to break the world's restrictions and then break through the space to escape. Tried again and again, failed again and again. Around him, Quasi-Emperor level deep-sea monsters were already gathering. After trying dozens of times, despair appeared in the eyes of future Gu Qingcheng, and he said in his mind, Qingcheng, we are about to die. Do you have any regrets? Gu Qingcheng was silent for a few seconds, then said, if I have the chance, I want to find a man and have a taste of what it's like to be a man. To be honest, your kiss and touch gave me an unprecedented sense of novelty and pleasure. The touch was also wonderful. Originally, I would not have been able to say these words, but if I don't say them now, I will have no chance. Future Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, looking for a man? Looking for my husband? Based on my understanding of myself, your best choice, the man you want to find in your heart, must be Xiaoyi, right? Gu Qingcheng blushed and did not deny it. That's right. My best sisters all married him, why can't I marry him? Future Gu Qingcheng smiled happily. You finally fully accept my husband, and fortunately, we may not have a chance. Gu Qingcheng sighed. If I could do it again, I would definitely say, Xiaoyi, I want to be your beast mother. Future Gu Qingcheng was silent. At this time, in the outside world, deep-sea monsters in the middle and late Quasi-Emperor realm had appeared. And what was a little strange was that these high-level sea beasts stood 10,000 meters away from the future Gu Qingcheng and did not move forward. However, their huge bodies exuded endless power, which deformed the sea water and made a trembling sound, as if they were crying and wailing. Ziran's anxious voice came from the Bronze Palace. Qingcheng, how about you take the Bronze Palace and escape to the land? Or to the sky to see if you can break the world's restrictions and escape through the space cracks? Or you can use your current strength in the Lake Quasi-Emperor realm to leave here first and stay away from these sea beasts with their speed. They should not be able to catch up with you. Even if a deep-sea giant beast at the Quasi-Emperor level catches up with you, you will be much more relaxed and won't have to worry about a sea beast attacking you from behind. Future Gu Qingcheng shook his head and said, "We have long been blocked by the Quasi-Emperor realm perfect sea beasts according to my speculation. There is a blockade barrier within 1,000 meters here, otherwise those Sate realm sea beasts would have crashed into us long ago." Upon hearing this, Ziran and Xiaoyi in the Bronze Hall fell silent. It seems that this time, the situation is very dangerous and life or death is unpredictable. But Xiaoyi was a little confused. He could usually predict life and death crises in advance with his time-related talents and skills. He could sense that there would be crises in the future and could also predict the crisis scenes in advance. But this time, he didn't feel any sense of crisis, and his innate skill of predicting the future was not passively activated. That means he is not in danger. And neither is his beast girl. But the current situation, no matter from which perspective you look at it, is a life and death crisis. There are more than 2,000 Holy Realm beasts, 200 Quasi-Emperor Realm beasts, and some perfect Quasi-Emperor Realm sea beasts with this siege and world restrictions. He and his beast mother are simply unable to resolve the current predicament. Future Gu Qingcheng suddenly asked, "Xiaoyi, there are some things I must tell you." Xiaoyi was stunned. What? Ziran was confused. Why didn't her good sister say something to her? Why did she say it to Xiaoyi? Future Gu Qingcheng asked, "Xiaoyi, do you hate me in your heart?" Xiaoyi shook his head. "No, since Sister Qingcheng accepted me, I don't hate her anymore." Future Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, "It's good that you don't hate it anymore. But in your heart, you still have resistance to me. Right?" Xiaoyi was silent for 2 seconds. Resistance, perhaps. In his heart, he still had a stereotype about the Queen of Hanghouse City, and subconsciously felt that he couldn't get too close to this person, and couldn't get in touch too deeply. Future Gu Qingcheng paused and said, "Xiaoyi, please put aside your resistance to me. I, Gu Qingcheng, am also a normal woman like Ziran, Xiaobing and Xiaoxi. You must accept the things I give you. I promise to protect you, and I will definitely do it. We are a family." After listening to this, Ziran felt like she was listening to her best sister's last words. Her beautiful eyes gradually turned red and a look of sadness appeared on her face. Xiaoyi was silent. The Queen of Hanghouse had said so much, and he had no choice but to express his opinion. "Sister Qingcheng, I understand. From now on, I will treat you as my own and will no longer have any resistance to you." When future Gu Qingcheng heard this, she felt as if a huge burden had been lifted off her shoulders, and a look of joy from the bottom of her heart appeared on her pretty face. "Well, with what you said, I can die with my eyes closed." At this time, a giant beast at the Quasi-Emperor level, with starlight shining all over its body, slowly came from a distance. All the deep-sea beasts surrounding Gu Qingcheng within 1,000 meters showed respect and awe in their eyes, and made way for a wide path to allow the starlight Quasi-Emperor to pass through. The Quasi-Emperor beast, covered in starlight, walked over with an indifferent look, crossed the 1,000-meter range in one step, and came in front of Gu Qingcheng. Then, a shocking scene appeared. Its head floated down, surrendering in front of the future Gu Qingcheng. Its eyes became on, and it said respectfully, "Your subordinate Xingguang, I pay my respects to the mistress." The expression of the future Gu Qingcheng turned solemn, and a look of surprise appeared on her pretty face. Gu Qingcheng, who was in the sea of consciousness, had several question marks popping up in his head. Ziran was confused. Xiaoyi's expression also froze. "What's going on?" Chapter 449. Xiaoananan, don't leave me this time. The giant beast with starlight all over its body crawled on the ground and spoke respectfully again. "Greetings, madam." Future Gu Qingcheng pointed at herself in confusion. "Madam, do we know each other?" The starlight beast nodded. "No doubt about it, you are my mistress." Future Gu Qingcheng was confused. Mistress is the name given to the mistress by maids and servants. She couldn't remember when she had taken in such a powerful beast. Then the giant starlight beast looked at the small bronze palace floating beside Gu Qingcheng in the future, with fear and admiration in his eyes, and said, "Greetings, my lord." Ziran was incredulous and asked, "Xiaoya, she called you lord? She seems to know about the bronze palace, and she also knows that you are hiding in the bronze palace." Xiaoyi frowned. What was going on? He had never encountered this super ferocious beast before. It was covered with starlight and looked like a giant beast in the sky. The starlight beast's dark eye swept around, and a murderous aura burst out of its eyes. The aura that had been restrained was released with a roar. Roar. I asked you to come and welcome the Lord and the Mistress. What is your attitude? Behave yourself. That roar caused more than 2 holy deep sea beasts and more than 200 quasi-emperor sea beasts in the water area to tremble and shiver. All of them, the magical beasts, simultaneously restrained their violent aura and became introverted. And they shouted in unison, "Greetings to the madam, greetings to the Lord. Meet the madam. Meet the Lord." The sound was as loud as a thunderous wave, spreading for hundreds of thousands of miles and echoing throughout the entire planet. Future Gu King Cheng's pretty face froze. Mistress and Lord are the names that maids and servants use to address the mistress. Are all the deep-sea beasts on this entire planet enslaved by her and Xiaoyi? But after hearing the voices of all the deep-sea beasts, the Starlight Beast became furious and roared. "These are my mistress and Lord. Are you worthy of being the servants of my mistress and mistress? Call me Master Yi, Madam Gu." Most deep-sea monsters seem to be very obedient, and they all said in unison, "Meet Master Yi, meet Madam Yu. Meet Master Yi, meet Madam Yu." The sound spread hundreds of thousands of miles away, resounding throughout the entire planet again, and continued to echo. When future Gu King Cheng heard this, a look of surprise appeared on her beautiful face. "She actually called me young madam? Hello, madam?" The Starlight Beast nodded in satisfaction. "Very good. My lord, can you come out for a moment? Let these guys see it, so that no sea beast will get a cramp in the brain and offend you in the future." In the Bronze Hall, Ziran was surprised and said, "She really knows you. Xiaoyi, should we go out? Is this a trick on her part to lure us out and then take action?" Xiaoyi shook his head. "It shouldn't be some conspiracy. But the realm of the Starlight Beast and the many high-level sea beasts around, it would be easy to kill us there. There's no need for any conspiracy. Since she invited us out, let's go out." Xiaoyi took Aran's hand, passed through the blue light gate, and came to the side of the future Gu King Cheng. The pupils of the giant star beast shrank, and the whole beast crawled even lower, with a look of intense fear and undisguised admiration. "My lord, I am glad to see you again. I haven't seen you for 20,000 years, I miss you so much. This time, please don't abandon me. I have grown up and am capable of assisting you." Her tone was very joyful and eager. Diran poked Xiaoyi's waist with her small hand and asked in a low voice, "Aren't you only 18 years old? She said you lived for 20,000 years? Xiaoyi, could it be that you are the reincarnation of an ancient great power?" Gu King Cheng in the future couldn't figure it out either, and wondered. Could it be that my future husband has come back? But he didn't come back to the present, but to a certain point in time 20,000 years ago? Why did she come back from the future? Because the giant Starlight Beast just now called her its mistress, which means that the giant Starlight Beast knew that she, Gu King Cheng, was Xiaoyi's beast mother. Gu King Cheng felt that this was the only way forward for the future, and this speculation was the most realistic. Xiaoyi frowned, looked at the Starlight Beast and said, "Can you remove all these sea beasts first? They are an eyesore. After you withdraw, explain to us why you know us, and then I will answer your questions." The Starlight Beast was overjoyed and quickly replied, "Yes, Lord." She raised her huge head and said to the surrounding sea beasts, "You have all seen my lord. Remember this face when you see him in the future. Treat him as if he were me. Treat my lord and mistress as if they were me. All right? The leaders of each tribe will stay, and the rest can retreat." Upon hearing this, the deep sea beasts all looked deeply at Xiaoyi, Gu King Cheng and Ziran, as if they wanted to engrave the appearance of the three of them in their hearts. After watching it, they restrained their aura and quietly faded away. Afterwards, only 10 deep-sea beasts in the late quasi-emperor realm were left on the scene. These deep-sea beasts were suspended 10,000 meters away, restraining their momentum and breath, quietly waiting for the instructions of the chief. Xiaoyi, Ziran and Gu King Cheng breathed a sigh of relief. Without so many deep-sea beasts, the pressure in their hearts was also reduced a lot. The three of them looked at the star beast, as if they saw a sea of stars, very deep and mysterious. The voice of the Starlight Beast was very pleasant, gentle and melodious. It said, "My lord, my lady, don't you remember me?" Xiaoyi and future Gu King Cheng shook their heads. "I haven't seen you." "I haven't seen you either." Xiaoyi asked, "Have you seen us?" The eyes of the giant star beast darkened. "Have the lord and mistress forgotten her?" She explained, "I am Xiaowen, and 20,000 years ago, he rescued me from the Starry Sky clan, released me to this planet, and gave me the Starry Sky cultivation method and some resources, as well as warmth and hope. If it weren't for you, I would have died along with my family. At the beginning, you said that little girl was too weak and burdened. Now little Anand has grown up and is a top powerhouse in this small piece of Starry Sky. Don't leave little Anand behind this time, okay?" Her eyes were filled with desire. Xiaoyi was a little confused. What's going on? Did he save this giant star beast 20,000 years ago? How come he doesn't remember? Little girl? could you have recognized the wrong person? He asked. The giant starlight beast said with certainty, no, your name is Xiao Yi, and the young lady's name is Gu Qingcheng. Little N and Un will not recognize the wrong person. Xiao Yi scratched his head, puzzled. He even knew his own name. But why did she call Gu Qingcheng and address her as young madam? His relationship with Gu Qingcheng is clean and clear. Future Gu Qingcheng rolled her beautiful eyes in thought and said, I know what's going on. Xiao Yi and Ziran's eyes were focused on her. Gu Qingcheng is confident about the future. Xiao Yi, it is highly likely that in the future, you and I went back to the past, back to 20,000 years ago, and did something, either to save little N Anon, or we saved little N and Un by chance, and finally returned to the future. Ziran and Xiao Yi suddenly realized. He and Mu Qingzu have the attribute of time. It seems reasonable that they can travel through time and space after becoming powerful. Xiao Yi looked at the giant star beast. His mouth twitched, and said, you want to follow us? It's not suitable. Your body is too big, as huge as a mountain. The starlight beast's eyes lit up, and he said, my lord, I am the starlight beast, and I can change my form. Then, a mysterious light swirled around the starlight beast, and the huge body of the starlight beast disappeared instead. A beautiful woman in a white-sleeved fairy dress appeared in the center of the light. Looking from the bottom up, her feet are bare, crystal pink and tender, and even the white-sleeved flowing fairy skirt can hardly hide her hot body. Finally, there is a faint sense of imperial power flowing on her beautiful face. Chapter 450, The Perfect and Beautiful Maid at the Quasi-Emperor Level. Ziran and the future Gu Qingcheng were both stunned. This was too beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. In terms of appearance, I can compare with them and each has its own merits. Looks just like a human. A smile appeared on her face, and she stepped on her pink jade feet, trying to move forward. Xiao Yi stretched out his hand and frowned, saying, stand there. Don't move. They were no longer a life and death crisis at this time, but this girl who called herself Xiao An and could not be fully trusted. What's your name? What's your full name? Xiao Yi asked. The beautiful woman paused and the smile on her face froze. She could feel Xiao Yi's resistance and opposition to her. My name is Zhang Zunan, my lord. No matter if it is you in the future or you in the past who saved me, I will recognize you. If you don't believe me, I can sign a master's servant contract with you and your mother. Xiao Yi's eyes lit up. Master's servant contract. A contract with a servant who has reached the perfection of the quasi-emperor realm. He was a little moved. Xiao Yi scratched his head, took a step forward, walked in front of the beautiful woman, raised his hand and pinched her smooth and fair face, small and exquisite nose, pink and delicate earlobes, and rosy lips. Tsk. Zhang Zunan, your transformed form is too realistic. It feels just like the real thing. Charan's eyes widened, and she stepped forward and kicked Xiao Yi angrily. Then she put her hands on her hips and said, Xiao Yi, watch your behavior. Don't make a move here. Xiao Yi shrugged his shoulders and said inferently, this is her transformed form. In fact, her true form is still a giant star beast. Don't be jealous of her. Are you jealous of even a giant star beast? Zhang Zunan explained, I am a space beast, and now I am in my juvenile form. I have woken up from my deep sleep less than 100 years ago. I have an exclusive talent that allows me to change my body's appearance, which is called transformation. Well, it's just like what the Lord Princess Mother said before. The fox spirit Dha transformed after the transformation. Her physical features are exactly the same as those of humans. Her whole body is exactly the same as that of a human female. She can give birth to children and have relatives. If I am given some more time, the Emperor realm is just the starting point. Xiao Yi's pupils shrank when he heard this. So powerful. The Emperor realm is just the starting point, and he can also transform. He was attracted by such a beautiful maid with great potential, and he was also a little nervous. Ziran suddenly asked, why do you call Gu Qingcheng young madam? What about me? Zhang Zunan's beautiful eyes flashed with confusion. I have only seen the master and mistress but not you. 20,000 years ago, the lord and the mistress were very affectionate. They held hands wherever they went and kissed intimately from time to time in the middle of the night. They even asked me to stand guard at the door so that you could do your naughty things smoothly. Ziran and Gu Qingcheng in the spiritual sea were greatly shocked. A question mark popped up in Xiao Yi's head. Are the Queen of Hanghouse and I very affectionate? Are the Queen of Hanghouse and I doing something shameful? How is that possible? Upon hearing this, future Gu Qingcheng's pretty face showed joy from the bottom of her heart, and she was very happy. It seems that her trip through time and space did change some details, so that the future Xiao Yi no longer hates her, and even falls deeply in love with her. Gu Qingcheng feels very satisfied with the future. Gu Qingcheng was in the sea of consciousness, with a complicated expression on her pretty face. Xiao Yi and I will end up together. She realized this deeply. Perhaps, from today on, I will try to have in-depth contact with Xiao Yi. Teacher Gu Qingcheng gloated. Didn't you say that you wanted to tell Xiao Yi that you wanted to be his beast mother? Gu Qingcheng blushed and said awkwardly, "That's what I was going to say before I died. Now that I don't have to die, why should I be so extreme? Xiao Yi and I are not very familiar with each other yet, so let's get to know the future husband first." Future Gu Qingcheng said, "You haven't realized that your heart has already been moved by Xiao Yi. You have already developed a romantic relationship with Xiao Yi, but you just haven't noticed it." Gu Qingcheng looked confused. Did she like Xiao Yi now? She didn't feel it. She just felt that Xiao Yi was a very interesting, an outstanding person, and that no other man in the world could compare to Xiao Yi. Zhang Zunan took a step forward and walked in front of Xiao Yi. Her white and tender hands tightly grasped the hem of Xiao Yi's clothes. Her face was tense, and tears appeared in her beautiful eyes, which turned red. She begged, "My lord, please don't abandon me, okay? I can sign a master's servant contract with the master and princess, and I will be a maid for you." She summoned out her master's servant contract, and the contract emerged like a picture, floating in front of Xiao Yi. Xiao Yi looked at her hot body and beautiful face, swallowed his saliva, and nodded immediately. "Okay, since you ask so, then I will reluctantly agree to you. Everyone knows that I, Xiao Yi, am always willing to help others. I hate to see women cry, especially beautiful women." Soon, he was about to release his divine consciousness to formally sign the master's servant contract. Tiran pulled Xiao Yi away and said angrily, "King Cheng, just sign the master's servant contract with Zhang Zunan. Xiao Yi, don't interfere. We have so many top-notch beast girls. It's enough if there is another beautiful maid. Who knows if you will do something shady with this beautiful maid behind our backs?" Xiao Yi's face turned dark in Ziran's opinion. Was he so despicable? Future Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, "Okay, then I'll accept this beautiful maid." She released her divine consciousness and formally signed a master's servant contract with Zhang Zunan, who had transformed into a giant star beast. She is the master and Zhang Zunan is the servant. After the signing, the power of rules flowed in the master's servant contract, transformed into two balls of light, and entered the bodies of the two people one after another. In an instant, future Gu Qingcheng felt that she could control Zhang Zunan's life and death in a single thought, and could also sense the extent of Zhang Zunan's malice towards her and others. If Zhang Zunan wants to harm someone, she can detect it at the first moment and use the master's servant contract to seal Zhang Zunan's realm and power. The master's servant contract has three functions. First, a master controls the life and death of the servant. Second, the master can sense the degree of the servant's malice towards the outside world. Third, a master can seal the servant's realm power at any time. After signing the contract, Zhang Zunan lost her personal freedom and was completely controlled. But Zhang Zunan's pretty face was full of excitement and she was very happy in her heart. This time, the princess and her mother will finally not abandon her. "My lord, although I have only signed a contract with my mistress, if you want me to do anything, just tell me. I will do my best to serve you," Zhang Zunan said. "I can do anything and I will not complain." Xiao Yi grinned, raised his hand and patted Zhang Zunan's head, saying, "Okay, little Ananan." Zhang Zunan was patted on the head. She lowered her head and rubbed the rough big hand with an expression of enjoyment. She was so happy that she couldn't express it in words. Ziran's pretty face turned dark. Even though Xiao Yi and Zhang Zunan didn't sign a master's servant contract, they could still be together. She had a vague sense of foreboding. "I feel like Zhang Zunan is a sheep falling into a tiger's mouth and will be eaten clean." Gu Qingcheng was somewhat shocked in her sea of consciousness. This was a giant star beast that had reached the perfect quasi-emperor realm. On Blue Star, the highest level is just the perfect quasi-emperor realm. She now has a maid who has reached the quasi-emperor level? Gu Qingcheng felt that the discovery of things was very magical. And all of this was brought about by Xiao Yi. This man is the powerhouse of this starry sky, and he can also recruit a maid who is at the quasi-emperor level. Looking at that handsome face, Gu Qingcheng stared at it in a daze, fascinated and stunned. Chapter 451. The future empress is in trouble. When future Gu Qingcheng noticed Xiao Gu's expression, she was secretly delighted and said to herself, "Curiosity is the beginning of fall. Xiao Gu, you've already started to fall. Xiao Gu, how many times have you been so fascinated and stunned by our husband? You wouldn't be so obsessed with a man before. You have to understand that you have already developed romantic feelings for Xiao Yi." Gu Qingcheng woke up. Feeling a little complicated, she did not deny it and said seriously, "Such an excellent man, I think any woman in the world would be unable to walk if she saw him. I am the queen of Hang House. I am also a normal woman. I can get horny." Seeing her admit it, future Gu Qingcheng was overjoyed and said with a giggle, "Then hurry up and catch my husband." Gu Qingcheng shook her head and said, "Don't worry. Xiao Yi and I will definitely be together in the future. And with you here, you will find a way to get Xiao Yi and I together, right?" She refused on the surface, but in fact, she had no idea how to pursue a man, nor did she know how to explain it to her good sisters. Outside, Zhang Zunan ran over and hugged the future Gu Qingcheng, rubbing her face in her hot bosom with an enjoyable expression as intoxicated as a puppy. Madam, I missed you so much. Future Gu Qingcheng touched Zhang Zunan's little head and said with a smile, just follow us from now on. Wherever we go, you go. Zhang Zunan was very happy, her beautiful eyes turned into crescents when she smiled. Ziran came close to Xiao Yi and whispered in his ear, Xiao Yi, why doesn't King Cheng object to being called mistress? Is she really together with you in the future? Xiao Yi looked at the two hot beauties with beautiful faces hugging each other, swallowed his saliva, and said, who knows? Anyway, right now, I don't have many thoughts about Sister King Cheng. After hearing this, Ziran's beautiful eyes sparkled. She vaguely guessed that in the future, good sisters Gu King Cheng and Xiao Yi should get together. Like Xiao Shi and Xiao Bing. He signed a contract with Xiao Yi. Ziran chuckled, accepted it happily, and said, not having many ideas means having ideas. Xiao Yi felt a chill on his back. Ziran was a very jealous person. He quickly shook his head and said, Sister Ziran, you heard me wrong. It's not that I don't have many thoughts. I, Xiao Yi, have absolutely no bad intentions towards Sister King Cheng. Ziran grabbed his raised fingers, rolled her eyes, and said sarcastically, what oath did you make? I didn't say that you and King Cheng can't be together. Xiao Yi widened his eyes and looked at Ziran in disbelief. What do you mean? Ziran curled the corners of her mouth and revealed a wicked smile. The four of us sisters have all sworn to marry the same man, Xiao Shi, Xiao Bing, and me, Ziran. The only one missing is Gu King Cheng. If you can get together, I fully support it. Xiao Yi was shocked. He didn't expect Ziran to think this way. Ziran suddenly looked at Xiao Yi seriously and said, tell me, do you want to marry King Cheng? Xiao Yi hesitated for a moment and said, Empress of Hanghouse, I do think so a little bit. Ziran hit him speechless lie. Think about it if you want to. But there's still a little bit of it. Really, you have the desire but not the courage. If you want to take down King Cheng, I'll be your wingman. Xiao Yi smiled, shook his head and said, no, I'm not a licker, and I don't do things that only lickers dare to do. Chasing women? I, Xiao Yi, have never chased women. What we should do is upgrade the template and improve our realm. If Sister King Cheng really wants to be with me in the future, then let things develop naturally anyway. I won't be a bootlicker if you want me to. Ziran said helplessly, okay. Beside him, the future Gu King Cheng's face suddenly changed, and his realm suddenly dropped from the late Quasi-Emperor realm to the early Quasi-Emperor realm and finally to the perfect Saint realm. Her body was very weak at this moment. A tired look appeared on that face. In the future, Gu King Cheng felt her legs go weak and she collapsed on Zhang Zunan's body, unable to even stand steadily. Zhang Zunan was horrified. Madam, what's wrong with you? My lord, come and have a look. Something has happened to the mistress. Xiao Yi and Ziran came over. Dr. Gu King Cheng waved her hands, extremely weak, and said feebly, it's just a side effect of using your innate skills, don't worry. Then, she let go of control of her body, and returned to the treasure in her sea of spirituality. Her soul was very dark and became extremely transparent. After Gu King Cheng found out, she anxiously asked in her mind, Old Gu, are you really okay? In the future, Gu King Cheng's soul flickered, like a lamp that was about to go out, and it could go out permanently at any time. She smiled and said, I have achieved the purpose of coming back this time. Perhaps, I should go back. I consumed too much spiritual power just now to control my body. Don't be anxious. This is the first time you have used your innate skills to raise your realm to the Quasi-Emperor realm. Your template is no longer stable. Let me think about it as I recall. You will be in danger tomorrow or tonight, and you may explode and die. Gu King Cheng gasped after hearing this. Died from explosion? Old Gu, you didn't lie to me. In one more day, I will die. Future Gu King Cheng nodded and said, that's right, I'll tell you how to solve the problem of stagnation you can find. When she said this, her soul puffed, the light completely disappeared, and her consciousness fell into a deep sleep. Not to mention using the treasure to go back, she couldn't even wake up. Gu King Cheng was shocked. Who are you looking for? Lao Gu, what's wrong with you? She kept calling out in her spiritual sea, but received no response at all. After shouting for a while, Gu King Cheng fell silent, with a look of sadness on her face. Although she had not been in contact with Lao Gu for a long time during this period, Lao Gu and she were like close friends. They could speak to each other openly and have conversations without any scruples. Lao Deso provided her with a lot of help in many things, and she was very grateful. The most important thing is that Gu King Cheng was panicked. If it weren't for old Gu, she would have no idea how to pursue Xiao Yi. Lao Gu didn't say that she exploded and died, so how to solve it? She was panicked, completely panicked. Seeing that Gu King Cheng looked unwell, Ziran asked worriedly, King Cheng, are you really okay? Xiao Yi touched his chin and felt that Gu Qingcheng was in a very abnormal state. He looked distraught and as if someone had died. Gu Qingcheng said in a sad tone, "Something happened. She must find rare treasures to restore old Gu's soul, or at least make him recover enough to use the treasure of time and space to go back. I just recklessly raised my realm, and my soul was damaged. I must use quasi-emperor or even emperor-level soul-repairing materials and treasures." She found an excuse and spoke out loud. Zhang Zunan's eyes lit up. "We have the natural treasures to repair the soul on our planet." Chapter 450. To Xiao Yi takes action and the treasure hunting pointer shows its power. It is rumored that there is an emperor-level soul-repairing treasure on this planet. I will send someone to find it immediately and offer a high reward. Zhang Zunan took a step back and came in front of 10 deep-sea beasts in the late quasi-emperor realm. Her expression became serious, and a strong sense of oppression burst out from her body, causing the water area to wail. She said in a serious tone, "Pass the order to find the treasure for cultivating the spirit once found. There will be a huge reward." After hearing the order, each of the 10,000-meter deep-sea monsters expressed their opinions. My Sea Shark clan will definitely be the first to find it. By Demon Whale clan is the strongest clan on planet Aquamarine. We the Demon Whale clan will present the divine treasure to the chief. Hey, while you were arguing, I had already contacted my tribe members, and the demonic killer whale clan has gone to look for him. Damn, you demon killer whales have no moral principles. Chief, we're going first. One after another, the deep-sea monsters in the late quasi-emperor realm rushed to various parts of the planet, fearing that they would be slower than others and miss the opportunity. Zhang Zunan returned to Gu Qingcheng's side and said with a smile, "Madam, please rest assured. With their help, we will definitely get the imperial treasure." In front of the sea beasts, she was the majestic leader, but in front of Xiao Yi and the others, she instantly became amiable. Gu Qingcheng, who was extremely weak, leaned on Ziran and asked doubtfully, "You are a giant beast of the starry sky. What is the relationship between you and these sea beasts?" Xiao Yi and Ziran also looked at her in confusion. Zhang Zunan laughed and said, "He is the chief leader who commands all the sea beasts. After I woke up from my deep sleep, I found myself being worshipped by the leaders of these sea beasts. They said I was the reincarnation of the ancestor of the sea tribe. After I woke up, I reached the perfect quasi-emperor realm. After using force to intimidate them, they became more loyal to me and felt that I was the reincarnation of the ancestor of the sea clan. As for why they think I am the ancestor of their sea tribe, I am not so sure." The corner of Xiao Yi's mouth twitched. Zhang Zun and looked a little stupid. She didn't even understand everything, but she thought of herself as the leader. Ziran narrowed his eyes and speculated, "It may be related to the time when Xiao Yi and King Cheng came back in the future." "Xiao Yi, don't you have the innate skill of the nine-tailed heavenly fox?" Thought Seal. "If you in the future had planted a racial stamp of thought on the ancestors of these sea beasts 20,000 years ago, and had them protect Zhang Zunan, the starry sky beast, and have been doing so until today." Xiao Yi was a little surprised. "Sister Ziran, your analysis is very accurate. This is really possible. If I really saved a pet with great potential, I would find a way to protect her and let her grow up safely. When I reach a higher level, I might be able to plant the thought stamp on an entire race, that is, the entire sea race." Ziran looked at Gu Qingcheng, who was supported by Zhang Zunan, and said, "Zunan, let Xiao Yi support her. He is a man and has done nothing here. We need to find something for him to do. Qingcheng and I were only wearing small underwear, and he saw a lot of FULI." Zhang Zunan nodded and said, "The master and mistress are so loving, the master must be heartbroken now." She pushed Gu Qingcheng towards Xiao Yi, and Gu Qingcheng passively fell on Xiao Yi. Xiao Yi felt Gu Qingcheng's limp body, and hurriedly hugged her waist, saying, "Sister Qingcheng, don't worry, we will help you find a high-level treasure to repair your soul. This feels really good. A queen of Hang House is so fragrant." Xiao Yi looked down and his pupil shrank suddenly as he saw the huge mountains. A ravine, and it seemed like an abyss, bottomless. Gu Qingcheng felt his gaze and her pretty face turned red. But she did not resist and asked, "Xiao Yi, can I rest my head on your shoulder? Don't get me wrong. I'm so tired and want to lean back and rest for a while." Xiao Yi smiled and said, "Okay." Gu Qingcheng's face turned red. Her heart was pounding, and she leaned her head on Xiao Yi's shoulder. Randomly she said, "Ziran, do you mind?" Ziran smiled and shook her head vigorously. "I don't mind. Of course I don't mind." She wanted to applaud in her heart. "My good sister Qingcheng is like an iron tree. It would be even better if the iron tree could bloom." Zhang Zunan looked at Ziran and Gu Qingcheng, only to find that they were only wearing small underwear from the side. They looked completely white. She immediately shouted, "I want you DUI too." Under Xiao Yi's shocked gaze, she took off her wide-sleeved fairy dress, revealing her transformed body. The three were shocked. "Why don't you have a little one?" Zhang Zunan didn't feel shy. she naturally spread her hands and turned them around, and said with a smile, "My lord, my lady, do I look good in my transformed form?" When Xiaoyi saw it, he felt his blood boiling. The scenery was so beautiful. Tiran hurriedly took out a few of her underwear from her storage ring, threw them to Zhang Zunan, and said, "Hurry up and put them on." Zhang Zunan was a little confused. "Why do you want to wear this?" Having said that, she still did as Ziran said. But halfway through putting it on, I found that the underwear was too small and didn't fit at all. Ziran was a little embarrassed because her level was too low. Gu Qingcheng took out her own ring from the storage ring and threw it to Zhang Zun, and it was still lace, and said, "Wear this one. Mine suits you better." Zhang Zunan took it and replaced Ziran's with hers, but she was clumsy and found that she couldn't reach the tie at the back. "My lord, please help me, I can't reach it." She came to Xiaoyi, her pretty face a little distressed. "You used to be very skilled in helping the mistress tie the knot, can you help me tie it now?" Gu Qingcheng's pretty face blushed in the future. She actually asked Xiaoyi to help her tie this? Xiaoyi swallowed his saliva and wanted to help, but he found Ziran's murderous eyes and immediately shook his head and said, "Let Ziran help you. I don't know how to tie this." After tying it up, Zhang Zunan paddled in the water in a doggy style. Xiaoyi looked at it and felt that it was like a little pet. Very dog-like. Time passed slowly and 4 hours went by. Gu Qingcheng's worries grew heavier the longer time dragged on. The closer she was to exploding and dying, what should she do if old Gu still didn't wake up? Lao Gu said that she exploded and died because of a template problem. Template problem is such a difficult problem of the century that she had no idea how to solve. Little Ananan, have you received the message from the Sea Clan? Have you found any high-level treasures that can repair the soul? She asked. Zhang Zunan shook her head. "No. Madam, are you anxious? I don't think it will take more than half a month to find this thing. That spiritual treasure exists in rumors, but where exactly on the aquamarine planet it came from remains to be discovered." Gu Qingcheng's face showed despair. She also had a treasure that could repair her soul, but it was only of the supreme level. She had just used the supreme level soul treasure and placed it next to Lao Gu's time and space treasure, but Lao Gu didn't react at all. Lao Gu's soul level is estimated to be very high. The supreme level soul treasure has no effect on her, only a high level treasure will work. Xiaoyi's rough hands held Gu Qingcheng's slender waist, feeling the tenderness of her skin, and said, "Little girl, what is the name of that spiritual treasure and what are its characteristics? Tell me in detail, maybe I can find it within 10 minutes. Gu Qingcheng frowned. "Xiaoyi, you're not lying, are you? Find it in 10 minutes? Ziran patted her shoulder and said with a smile, "Xiaoyi never lies. As long as something exists in the world, he can find it." Gu Qingcheng was shocked. Chapter 453, King of the Trench, Meet the Ancestor. Gu Qingcheng was shocked. How come Xiaoyi knew everything and had all kinds of abilities? It took millions of sea creatures on the Blue Star half a month to find something, but he, a Blue Star outsider, could find it in 10 minutes. Zhang Zunan touched her chin with her white fingers, tilted her head and said while thinking, "They call the thing a spiritual treasure. According to rumors, it seems to be a crystal of extreme yin and darkness. The power of soul rules flashes on its surface when any creature from the outside world approaches. The soul inside it will tremble uncontrollably, as if the soul will passively leave the body. But don't get too close. If you observe from a distance, the souls of living things will feel sublimated by the power of the soul rules. They will feel more comfortable and clear-headed than ever before." She clapped her hands and smiled. "That's all. I don't know anymore. It's just a rumor. It could be fake or it could be true. We need the Sea Tribe to search for it before we can know the result." Xiaoyi frowned. "The treasure of spiritual cultivation. This name should be given by the Sea People, and it may not be the real name of the treasure. But having the physical characteristics of a treasure is enough." He immediately took out the treasure pointer. In an instant, a watch with the appearance of a compass and exuding a mysterious aura appeared in his hand. Jiran's beautiful eyes lit up. "Is this what Xiaobing said? The treasure that can find everything in the world?" It was the first time she saw it. The Gu Qingcheng and Zhang Zunan looked over with curiosity, wanting to see how Xiaoyi was going to find the spiritual treasure. Xiaoyi glanced at the three women and gave instructions to the treasure hunting pointer. "Describe again the physical features of the treasure that Zhang Zunan had just described." The mysterious aura of the treasure hunting pointer became more and more mysterious after buzzing for 2 seconds. The result was revealed. "The target has been found. There are 3 items. Do you want to check the item navigation?" 3 items? Xiaoyi was a little surprised. Among these, there should be the spiritual treasure that Zhang Zunan mentioned. Right? Check. In an instant, a 3-dimensional map of spatial coordinates appeared in Xiaoyi's mind. By Xiaoyi as the starting point, a blue arrow appeared, pointing in 3 directions. Xiaoyi zoomed out the map and maximized the field of view, and suddenly discovered that these 3 items were all on the aquamarine star. One of them was located very deep below the trench where the 3 of them were. There is another one. which is at the south pole of planet Aquamarine. The last one is on the land that occupies 1% of the Aquamarine planet. Xiao Yi's eyes lit up and he immediately read the 3 spatial coordinate points. Aquamarine to Aquamarine 9. 687 Aquamarine 0. 8. Ziran asked, "How's it going? Xiao Yi, did you find it?" Xiao Yi nodded and said with a smile, "Found it." Gu Qingcheng was stunned. It had only been less than a minute and he had already found it? Zhang Zunan seemed to admire Xiao Yi very much. There was a puppy-like look in Kazilan's big eyes. She thought it was normal for Xiao Yi to have such ability. There are 3 treasures that match the physical characteristics of the treasures for spiritual cultivation that Xiaowen and Un mentioned. "I found 3, Xiao Yi said. Gu Qingcheng was even more confused. Others didn't find any, but he found 3 in 1 minute. These 3 spatial coordinates are not large-scale terrain coordinates, but are so detailed that they indicate which house, which household, which room number, and which closet the location is hidden in." Gu Qingcheng felt that she had learned a lot, and once again deeply realized how terrifying Xiao Yi was. "Is this the excellence of the starry sky trend?" Ziran urged, "Just tell me where it is." Xiao Yi said the 3 spatial coordinates, Aquamarine to Aquamarine 9 687 Aquamarine 0. 8. 2 of them are in the main space of the Aquamarine star, and the last one is in the dimensional secret realm on land. "Let's go check out the deep trench below first." Zhang Zunan wrote down these 3 specific and detailed spatial coordinates. She thought for a moment, frowned, and said with some distress, "The deepest part of the trench below is not the habitat of the sea creatures. There live evil races that are not under my command. You should not go there. I can go alone. If the Lord and Princess go together, your current strength is still a little low, and you may be in danger. With my realm and strength, I don't believe they can stop me from obtaining the treasure of spiritual cultivation." Zhang Zunan sounded a little unhappy. When she said this, she had just met the princess and her mother-in-law and wanted to stay with them and didn't want to leave. Xiao Yi opened a blue light door, lifted up Gu Qingcheng's delicate body with both hands, and said with a smile, "Ziran, let's go into the Bronze Palace Xiaoyan. You will take the Bronze Palace with you to look for the treasure of spiritual cultivation." The 3 of them entered the Bronze Temple and came to the outside of the altar. Zhang Zunan hugged the Bronze Temple. Her pretty face was filled with joy. She patted the Bronze Temple and said, "I'm going." She maintained her transformed form. With an unparalleled aura bursting out of her whole body, she sprinted down at an extremely fast speed, like a falling meteorite, descending towards the deepest trench. At the deepest part of the trench, a huge and ancient palace sits. There were giant magma beasts patrolling around the palace. The aura of those giant magma beasts was extremely terrifying. Upon closer inspection, they were actually at the quasi-emperor level. In the center of the palace, a giant magma beast king with black gas all over his body was pacing back and forth in the palace in annoyance. Late stage of quasi-emperor realm. 2,000 years have passed, and there has been no progress at all. My old idiot said that I have the potential to be a great emperor, but now I feel the barrier of realm, a huge and insurmountable barrier, unable to break through. He was thinking about how to solve the problem, when suddenly he felt a sense of crisis and his dark eyes looked up into the sky. Its pupils shrank. Zhang Zunan arrived above the palace in an instant. A perfect Tory of the quasi-emperor realm made the entire space tremble. The teams of giant magma beasts all became extremely alert and surrounded Zhang Zunan. Aquamarine is a forbidden area. Sea people are forbidden to enter. The magma monsters all issued warnings. Zhang Zunan ignored these people and fell straight to the center of the palace. With a bang, she smashed into the palace, creating a hole and entering the palace. The giant magma beast king was furious and burst out with all his momentum, attacking Zhang Zunan. But when he got closer, after he saw Zhang Zunan's appearance clearly and sensed the unique aura on her body, his aura stagnated and he instantly retracted it in the astonished eyes of everyone. The magma beast, the guardian of the Jigu forbidden land, pays homage to the ancestor of the sea god. It bowed its head and saluted respectfully. Zhang Zunan was stunned, pointed at herself, and asked blankly, "Do you know me?" The magma king beast nodded, then shook his head and said, "I know you, and I don't know you, but it doesn't matter. You are the ancestor of the sea god of our aquamarine planet. And there is no doubt about that." Zhang Zunan was carefree and didn't care about anything. She quickly accepted it and said, "I want to cultivate the divine treasure. Give it to me." A magma beast nodded. "We, the magma sea beast race, have guarded the world for generations, and today we have finally completed our mission. I will hand over the dark god to our ancestor now." Inside the bronze hall, Xiao Yi and the other 2 had question marks popping up in their heads. Just give it to me? So easy? Chapter 454, The ultimate treasure for spiritual cultivation is obtained, and the future empress forms a cocoon. Why does this deep trench magma sea beast also recognize Zhang Zunan as its ancestor? Is it so easy to give away something that has been guarded for generations? Xiao Yi, Ziran and Gu Qingcheng had many doubts in their hearts. The Magma King Beast said respectfully, "Ancestor, the Dark God is at the bottom of the palace. I will open the seal for you, and you can get it yourself. I can't get close to the Dark God. If I force myself to get close, my life will be in danger." After saying that, its huge body of 10,000 meters shrank to about 2 meters, turning into a miniature Magma King Beast, and carried the fair-skinned Zhang Zunan, who was only wearing lace underwear, to the bottom of the palace. Above, the patrolling magma teams stood guard on both sides of the palace and continued their patrol. Zhang Zunan walked along the way, browsing the magnificent ancient palace, and asked in confusion, "Why don't you, the Magma Sea Beast race, come out and stay in the deepest part of the trench? None of the thousands of sea beasts on our aquamarine star have ever seen you." The Magma King Beast explained, "This is the most suitable place for us magma sea beasts to survive, and it is the most conducive to our cultivation. Also, the magma sea beasts have family rules that prohibit us from stepping out of the trench. We must guard the Dark God for generations. We can only be born after completing our mission." 2 minutes later, the Lava King Beast and Zhang Zunan arrived at the bottom of the palace. There are layers of seals ahead. Zhang Zunan could vaguely see a crystal through layers of seals. Even with a seal, the power of the Dark God's soul rules could not be concealed and escaped, permeating the entire bottom of the palace. Zhang Zunan was bathed in the power of soul rules, and instantly felt refreshed. With a clear mind and full of energy, mysterious power burst out from the Magma King Beast and hit the seal. The layers of seals, like a door lock being turned by a key, gradually dissipated, revealing the true appearance of the Dark God. Zhang Zunan looked around and saw a green crystal floating in the air, emitting a dim light. "Is this the crystallization of soul-type rules?" Zhang Zunan frowned. The Magma King Beast shook his head and said, "It's not a rule fragment crystal. I don't know what it is specifically. You can get it yourself. I won't go near it. I can't get close to it." Zhang Zunan nodded and walked towards it step by step. But at the critical moment, she seemed to feel some great terror, and her body retreated explosively, retreating to the side of the Magma King Beast in a subtle moment. Zhang Zunan looked horrified and frightened, and said, "I can't get close to it either." The Magma King Beast was stunned. It said blankly, "My old Laodang said that the master of the Dark God will come to take it in the future. How come you can't get close to it?" The Magma King Beast was a little annoyed. "We, the Magma Sea Beast race, have guarded it for 20,000 years. After you take it away, we have completed our mission, but you actually said that you can't take it away." Zhang Zunan scratched her head awkwardly and said, "It's okay, I'll think of a way." She said to the Bronze Palace, "My lord, my lady, what should we do?" A blue light gate appeared, and Xiao Yi Ziran and Gu Qingcheng walked out. Gu Qingcheng was held by Xiao Yi, and the two of them were pressed close together. Xiao Yi frowned. "That's difficult." Gu Qingcheng suddenly said, "Let me get it, it seems to be calling me." After saying that, Gu Qingcheng let go of Xiao Yi and approached the Dark God step by step. The Magma King Beast wanted to stop it, but was stopped by Zhang Zunan. "This is my mistress. Let her get it." The Magma King Beast nodded. Gu Qingcheng got closer to the Dark God step by step, and the calls from her mind became more and more frequent. Under the gaze of everyone, she walked easily to the Dark God as if there was no hindrance. The green crystal suddenly made a buzzing sound with it entered Gu Qingcheng's spiritual sea, and then took the initiative to escape into the time and space treasure in the center of the spiritual sea, and merged into the sleeping and very transparent future Gu Qingcheng's soul. The tightly furrowed brows of the sleeping future Gu Qingcheng relaxed, and her transparent soul became solid and no longer transparent. Layer upon layer of circular soul cocoons formed around Gu Qingcheng's soul in the future, wrapping her up. Gu Qingcheng was overjoyed and shouted in his mind, "Old Gu, how are you?" She shouted a few times, but got no response. After a while, she stood there in a daze, not knowing what to do. When the Magma King Beast saw the Dark God Ertani escape into Gu Qingcheng's body, the annoyance in his heart disappeared in an instant. And he smiled. "I, the Magma Sea Beast, have finally completed my mission today. I declare that I, the Magma Sea Beast, am born." Return to planet Aquamarine. For 20,000 years, we have been guarding this godforsaken place. We, the Magma Sea Beasts, are finally going to be free. It was so happy. He burst into laughter, and after he finished laughing, he realized that everyone was looking at him in surprise. The Magma King Beast coughed and said, "Ancestor, no matter where we Magma King Beasts are, we will recognize you." Xiao Yi and Ziran came to Gu Qingcheng. "Qingcheng, has your soul been repaired? How is the effect?" Gu Qingcheng frowned and said, "It's not enough. It's not fully repaired yet." She observed the state of future Gu Qingcheng's soul. She was forming a cocoon. A soul cocoon, which still needed the supply of soul power until future Gu Qingcheng broke out of the cocoon. Gu Qingcheng was a little anxious she would explode and die in another day. It is urgent for future Gu Qingsheng to wake up and tell her the solution if old Gu is allowed to break out of the cocoon naturally. I wonder how long it will take, a year and a half. Or 10 to 5 years. Xiao Yi smiled and said, then let's go on and find the other two dark gods. Ziran pondered and said, I speculate that the dark god might be your future self, who left it 20,000 years ago, specifically for you. As for why the Magma King Beast recognized Xiao Anan as its ancestor, it is possible that 20,000 years ago, the future Xiao Yi engraved a mental imprint on this planet. All creatures born on this planet will be planted with this mental imprint. Of course, this is just speculation. Whether it is true or not still needs to be verified. Gu Qingsheng suddenly realized that this was the case. I think it's almost certain. The Magma King Beast said, Ancestor, everyone, I know where the other two dark gods are. I am also familiar with the Beast Kings they guard. How about I lead the way and take you there? Zhang Zunan's eyes lit up. Okay, you led the way now. But didn't you say you never left here? Have you ever come into contact with those Beast Kings? Magma King Beast blushed and said awkwardly, well, I was feeling suffocated here. So I sneaked out. It tore open a space crack and jumped in. Xiao Yi and his group entered the Bronze Palace again. Zhang Zunan held the Bronze Palace in her arms and followed them in. In the Bronze Hall, Xiao Yi could see Zhang Zunan's majestic mountain that was squeezed and deformed, and he swallowed. When Gu Qingsheng saw this, she looked down at her own. I felt inexplicably uncomfortable in my heart. So she collapsed on Xiao Yi again, pressed her whole body against him, and said with a red face, sorry, I'm still a little weak and can't stand steadily. Ziran smiled and clapped her hands in applause. Chapter 455 The Future Empress Wakes Up, the most precious treasure in the imperial realm. Gu Qingsheng already regarded Xiao Yi as her future husband and her man. At this time, she saw Xiao Yi looking at other women and felt inexplicably angry. Xiao Yi hugged Gu Qingsheng, but his eyes were not on her, but on Zhang Zunan. Gu Qingsheng was furious. This man is holding this beautiful woman like himself, but he still has the mind to look at other women. Although she can only become Xiao Yi's beast girl in the future, she subconsciously doesn't want to see Xiao Yi getting involved with other women. Unless that woman is the beast girl with whom Xiao Yi has already signed a contract. Ziran observed Gu Qingsheng's expression, and saw that she was staring at Xiao Yi with her beautiful eyes. She was angry and looked at the large water curtain screen that was reflecting the outside world's view with dissatisfaction. In the outside world's view, on the large water curtain screen, there was a pitch-black void in Zhang Zunan's snow-white body that was squeezed and deformed. Ziran was surprised. Qingsheng, are you jealous? Why do women get jealous? They get jealous when they see the man they like flirting with other women. In this scene, it is obvious that Qingsheng is jealous of Xiao Yi and angry because of Xiao Yi. So does this mean that Qingsheng likes Xiao Yi? Realizing this result, Ziran felt good, but was not quite sure and needed to test it again. After all, it was too unbelievable that the Queen of Hanghouse would like a young man like Xiao Yi. In the outside world, Zhang Zunan followed the Magma Beast King across the void half an hour later. I passed through the void cracks and arrived at the South Pole, the pole of the aquamarine star. The South Pole and the North Pole are called poles because they are the two ends of the planet's rotation axis. The temperatures at both poles are extremely cold. A man and a beast came to the top of the iceberg. Looking around, there is a vast expanse of white, all icebergs, suspended above the sea. The Magma King Beast brought Zhang Zunan to the bottom of the iceberg, walked into a passage, and drilled into the iceberg. 10 minutes later, a space inside an iceberg appeared in the eyes of the man and the beast. There are all kinds of ice plants and ice buildings here. The huge palaces located in the middle of them look magnificent. The ice-type sea beast guarding the entrance of the passage saw that it was the Magma King Beast, saluted respectfully, and let it pass. It seems that you have come here many times. These sea beasts are so familiar with you, Zhang Zunan said in surprise. The Magma King Beast smiled innocently and said, I, the Magma Sea Beast and the Solid Ice Sea Beast, are old friends and we often interact with each other. The two of them had no trouble and arrived at the largest sea monster palace. King of the Ice Beasts, come out to greet the guests. It roared so loudly that the ice palace shook. Roar! A snow-white two-horned sea beast flashed like a phantom and appeared in front of the Magma King Beast, roaring with great joy. I'm just bored, you came just in time to fight with me. 10 years have passed, and my hands and feet are getting rusty. The Magma King Beast took a step back and said, no, we haven't seen each other for 10 years, and you want to fight? I'm not here to fight with you this time. You big, rough guy, didn't you see I brought people here? The Ice King Beast then noticed that there was Zhang Zunan standing next to him. He looked over and his pupil shrank instantly. Greetings, great ancestor Poseidon. He bowed respectfully, almost subconsciously. Zhang Zunan seemed to be very familiar with this scene. She accepted his salute directly, put her hands behind her back, and said bluntly, Ice Beast King, I will take the dark god. You know what to do, right? The Ice King Beast was very excited when he heard this, and said happily, "Ancestor, you finally came to get the Dark God. Come on. I'll take you to the Dark God sealed area to get it." He was even more active than Zhang Zunan and seemed impatient. Zhang Zunan said to the Magma King Beast through voice transmission, "Is he mentally ill? Why is he so happy that I am taking away the treasure of his tribe?" The Magma King Beast said bitterly, "The Ice Sea Beast and us Magma Sea Beasts are both protected races of the Dark God. During the protection period, you are not allowed to leave the mountain. I'm tired of staying in this tiny place. Now that the mission of protection is about to be completed, of course I am happy." When the Ice King Beast saw how small and delicate the Lava King Beast was, its body shrank as well, becoming only 2 meters in size. From the terrifying body that was 10,000 meters tall just now, it turned into a mini version of the Ice King Beast. The 2 King Beasts wagged their tails and rushed forward, one after another. Zhang Zunan followed behind as if she was walking a dog. 2 dogs in the late Quasi-Emperor realm. After a while, Zhang Zunan followed the 2 beasts to a frozen space. The Ice King Beast said excitedly, "Ancestor, I will unlock the seal first, and you can get it yourself." As he said this, he laughed out loud. He was extremely excited at the thought of not having to stay in this godforsaken place anymore. Zhang Zunan nodded, "Okay." Balls of light emerged from the body of the Ice King Beast, shooting onto the ice. The ice that sealed the space gradually melted. 2 minutes later, all the ice disappeared, revealing the true appearance of this space. In the center of the space, a green crystal is suspended, and the crystal exudes a rich power of soul rules. The Ice King Beast said, "Ancestor, please." Zhang Zunan patted the bronze palace. A blue light door appeared, and Gu Qingcheng walked out from it. Gu Qingcheng glared at Zhang Zunan and snorted. Zhang Zunan was panicked. How did she make the mistress angry? "Madam, the Dark God is just ahead, and you need to get it." She looked aggrieved. The Ice King Beast stood aside, seemingly thinking about something, but did not come out to stop him. He could see that this man had a close relationship with his ancestor. Gu Qingcheng moved forward step by step and smoothly came close to the Dark God. The Dark God flashed with a faint light and automatically escaped into Gu Qingcheng's body just like before. He merged into the soul cocoon in the sea of consciousness. The soul cocoon changed from light green to dark green. Gu Qingcheng could feel that Old Gu's spiritual power was becoming stronger. "Old Gu, can you hear me? Old Gu, please reply." "I can hear you, stop shouting." The voice of Gu Qingcheng came from inside the soul cocoon. Gu Qingcheng was overjoyed and asked, "Old Gu, how are you now?" "Chen Hun," Gu Qingcheng said in a complicated tone. "I saw this soul repairing treasure in my husband's hands in the future. I didn't expect that my husband would go back to the past and leave it to me. But the soul restoration treasure is not complete. It is still missing a part. If the remaining part is completed, I will be able to break out of the cocoon and my soul will be immortal. This is the effect of the Emperor Realm soul restoration treasure." Emperor Realm? Gu Qingcheng was shocked. The Dark God was actually a treasure of the Emperor level. Will Xiao Yi really be that strong in the future? Zhang Zunan looked at the stunned Gu Qingcheng, thinking that something was wrong with her, and hurried over and said, "Madam, how are you? Has your soul been repaired?" Gu Qingcheng regained consciousness and said in a daze, "I'm much better, but still not nearly there." Zhang Zunan heaved a sigh of relief, rubbed her beautiful face against Gu Qingcheng, and said with a giggle, "Madam, let's go get the last Dark God with Xian in here. We will definitely succeed." Chapter 456. Gu Qingcheng. "I want to pursue Xiao Yi." "Okay," Gu Qingcheng replied in a daze. At this moment, she was talking to the old consultant in her mind. "Old Gu, you said I would explode and die. How should I deal with it?" she asked worriedly. Gu Qingcheng from the future said, "Don't worry. A man who can solve the risk of your body exploding and dying is both far away and close at hand. As long as you stay close to him, your life will not be in danger. The man who is far away and yet right in front of you." The first person Gu Qingcheng thought of was Xiao Yi. There is only this man. As for the 2 male sea beasts, they are not men. Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched. "Are you talking about Xiao Yi? He's already powerful enough that he can even handle the danger of my body exploding and dying." The soul of Gu Qingcheng said firmly, "That's right. Not only will you be at risk of exploding and dying, he can also solve the problem of your realm stagnation and the problem of your template instability. Only he can solve these problems. He is the only one in this starry sky who can solve these problems." Gu Qingcheng was numb, and once again deeply realized how excellent Xiao Yi was. It seems like this man can do anything. Any difficulty can be easily solved in front of him. It seems that only such a unique and outstanding man can be Gu Qingcheng's husband. Come to think of it, maybe she, Gu Qingcheng, is not worthy of this eternal encounters. It was Gu Qingcheng who was marrying above her station. For the first time, the Queen of Hanghouse felt inferior in front of a man. Solgu King Cheng smiled and said, "You better hurry up and take him down, otherwise if that giant starred beast Xiaoan and other one from the world of rules shows up, your chances will be slim." Little Star Beast Girl is also an empress, commanding the entire Aquamarine Star Sea Beast tribe. She is more powerful and at a higher level than you. The Empress of Hanghouse City, her figure and appearance are no worse than yours. As for the one in the world of rules, he is even more terrifying. Gu King Cheng was stunned and stood there in a daze. She had always thought that she would definitely become Xiaoyi's Beast Girl, so she planned to take her time, let things develop naturally and slowly walk together with Xiaoyi smoothly. But now, Lao Gu's words shattered her fantasy. Solgu King Cheng continued, "Our husband's most amazing exclusive talent is that he can make unlimited contracts with Beast Girls and improve his qualifications, raising the SSS level to the mythical level. My husband is destined to never be possessed by a Beast Girl alone. He's such an outstanding man. If you are attracted to him, you should seize the opportunity and win him over as soon as possible." Gu King Cheng felt a sense of urgency and said, "I know, I'm going to chase him. From this moment on, I will start chasing you. I, the Queen of Hanghouse, will not be careless or perfunctory now that I have been moved. I will follow my heart and take Xiaoyi down." The Solgu King Cheng smiled, and said with a very gratified tone, "The boy is teachable. Let me tell you something first. You need to accept it. No. You must accept it. Be mentally prepared first. He will solve the risk of your body exploding and dying for you. You need to take off all your clothes and use ancient secret methods to give you a full body massage to solve your physical defects." Gu King Cheng was stunned. "You do like Guan Wang? Let Xiaoyi give her a full body massage." Her pretty face flushed and she muttered, "I know. Anyway, Xiaoyi is my future husband, so it should be natural for me to show him." The soul of Gu King Cheng listened and nodded with satisfaction. Xiaogu's mind has been corrupted by her brainwashing. Gu King Cheng felt that this was not a bad thing, but a good thing. The worse, the better, Gu King Cheng said unconfidently at this time. "I don't know how to chase men. Old Gu, you have to help me. When it comes to fighting and killing beasts, she is good at it. But chasing men, she is a novice and has no experience at all." Shen Hun Gu King Cheng said, "Nonsense. Of course I will help you. Helping you is helping myself. You don't need me to tell you, I will also help myself to take down my husband." Gu King Cheng smiled and turned her attention back to the outside world. She was shocked to find that Zhang Zunan's head was rubbing against her chest with an expression of enjoyment on her face. She hurriedly pushed Zhang Zunan away, propped up Zhang Zunan's head with one hand, and said, "Let's quickly get the next dark god." Zhang Zunan smiled and said, "Okay." A Magma King Beast and the Ice King Beast who came over said at the same time, "Grandfather, we will accompany you. We are very familiar with the Rock King Beast." Just like that, the two King Beasts took Zhang Zunan to the secret place on land that guarded the race. Gu King Cheng entered the Bronze Hall, but he found that at this time, Xiaoyi was giving Ziran a massage. Ziran was bald and let Xiaoyi do whatever he wanted. Gu King Cheng covered her face with her hands and looked curiously through the gaps between her fingers. "So this is how you massage. But the place where he massages is so embarrassing. Do I need to massage that area too?" When Gu King Cheng thought about the massage that Xiaoyi would give her in the next 2 days, her pretty face became hot and red all the way to her ears and even her long neck. "Hey, King Cheng, you're back?" Ziran didn't feel embarrassed and asked generously, "King Cheng, how are you?" Gu King Cheng turned around and said with a red face, "I am much better now. After I get the last Dark God's treasure, my injuries will be completely healed." "What are you doing?" Ziran smiled and said, "Restore your figure, stimulate the human body's potential and develop again." Gu King Cheng suddenly realized that it was all to restore her figure. At this time, the soul Gu King Cheng said in her mind, "My husband's forehead is sweating, go over and wipe it." Gu King Cheng felt like she couldn't move her feet, so she said, "Is it inappropriate for me to go over there?" Shen Hun Gu King Cheng said, "It's appropriate. Hurry up, don't waste time." Under urging, Gu King Cheng took out wet wipes and walked over step by step under the astonished gazes of Xiaoyi and Ziran. She raised her hand and carefully wiped the sweat off Xiaoyi's forehead. Gu King Cheng blushed and said, "Xiaoyi, you continue, don't worry about me." Xiaoyi smiled and said, "Thank you, Sister King Cheng." For the first time, he discovered that the Queen of Hanghouse was so considerate. Then he continued to massage Ziran without stopping. Gu King Cheng wiped the sweat off her face and stared at Xiaoyi's expression with her beautiful eyes. She was shocked to find that his eyes were clear and his look was serious. In front of the naked Ziran, he didn't have a single dirty thought. Gu King Cheng suddenly felt that there was no need to feel any psychological burden when asking Xiaoyi to massage her, so she could just let him do it. Half an hour later, Xiaoyi stopped and said, "Sister Ziran, it's done. Sister King Cheng, you wiped my sweat for half an hour. You worked hard. Thank you. I didn't expect Sister King Cheng to be so considerate and caring. If anyone marries Sister King Cheng in the future, That man must have accumulated 8 lifetimes of blessings. Gu Qingcheng felt very happy when she heard compliments, especially from the man she liked. The man I want to marry is you. After this period of companionship, after seeing Xiaoyi's numerous outstanding abilities, and after being brainwashed by Lao Gu Qingcheng has deeply realized that she has fallen in love with this man. Chapter 457 Gu Qingcheng. I want to be a gentle and virtuous woman. Inside the cocoon, the spirit Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, Xiao Gu, what do you think of my suggestion? Is it good? Gu Qingcheng gave a thumbs up. Great. After hearing Xiaoyi's praise, I realized that my queen of Hanghouse City is actually a thoughtful and considerate woman. Shen Hun Gu Qingcheng asked, then are you willing to be a careful and considerate woman? Gu Qingcheng replied without even thinking, yes. For Xiaoyi, I, Gu Qingcheng, am willing to be a gentle and virtuous woman. The scene just now was different from the ferocious beasts' battle and bombardment. I also felt a different taste and experienced a different feeling. Outside the Bronze Palace, Zhang Zunan followed the 2 king beasts and came to the sky above the only land on the aquamarine star. When they arrived here, the faces of both the beasts and the man changed. This guardian race is in a secret realm. And at the entrance to the secret realm, there were hundreds of quasi-emperor level sea beasts of different kinds. These sea beasts attacked together, bursting out with terrifying momentum, and rushed towards the closed entrance to the secret realm. After cracks appeared at the entrance to the secret realm, 10 high-level quasi-emperor late-stage sea beasts entered, and the remaining quasi-emperor early-middle-stage sea beasts once again joined forces to attack the entrance to the secret realm. After cracks appeared at the entrance to the secret realm, all the sea beasts in the early to middle stage of the quasi-emperor realm escaped into them and entered the secret realm on land. Zhang Zunan looked at the sea beasts that entered the secret land and frowned. These sea beasts look so familiar. It seems to be the sea beast leaders and soldiers under my command in the ocean of planet Aquamarine. The faces of the Magma King Beast and the Ice King Beast changed, and they said unhappily, Ancestor, I'm afraid these sea beasts want to forcibly take away the dark god guarded by the rock sea beast race in the secret land. Zhang Zunan was a little embarrassed these sea beasts when looking for the dark god only after listening to her instructions. Now these sea beasts are attacking the secret land guarding the dark god, which is equivalent to the order she issued. Well, let's quickly go into the secret realm if so many quasi-emperor realm sea beasts surround and attack the rock guarding sea beasts. The rock guarding sea beast will probably be in trouble. The 2 king beasts nodded and said, Ancestor, please come with us, we have access rights and can directly enter the secret realm. In the past, our 3 guardian races frequently interacted with each other after we became familiar with each other. The beast kings could enter our respective guardian areas without any hindrance. 2 beasts and 1 person came to the entrance of the secret realm. The beast king used his power to embrace Zhang Zunan, and ripples appeared at the entrance of the secret realm. The 2 beasts took 1 step each and entered unhindered. Zhang Zunan's eyes changed, and she saw a world filled with yellow sand and towering rocky peaks. Roar! Far ahead, there were sounds of fierce fighting and the roars of sea beasts. A Magma King Beast and the Ice King Beast immediately recovered their terrifying 10,000-meter-long bodies, one with fiery red magma on its body, and the other with bone-chilling coil. Zhang Zunan landed on the head of the Magma King Beast, holding the bronze palace with one hand and waving with the other hand, saying, Let's go! Destination, the palace of the Magma guarding sea beast. The beast kings of different types roared, escaped into the void, and quickly crossed towards the center of the small world. Half a minute later, 2 beasts and 1 man appeared above the huge rock palace. Zhang Zunan saw that 10 marine beasts in the late quasi-emperor realm were beating up the rock marine beast patrol team outside the palace. A red and yellow king beast stood at the entrance of the palace and roared, Guard the forbidden area ahead. Sea beasts are forbidden to pass. Those 10 sea beasts in the late quasi-emperor realm were able to single an action defeat the patrol rock sea beasts, which were only in the early quasi-emperor realm. After hearing the roar of the rock king beast, he was immediately happy. So this is the guarded forbidden area. But why does it look so rubbish? There is only 1 sea beast in the late quasi-emperor realm. Oh, we are a union of 10 superpowers of sea beasts, so they look like garbage. That's fine. Soon, the rock patrol was knocked to the ground by 10 late-stage quasi-emperor king beasts and lost their ability to move. The 10 ocean king beasts fixed their eyes on the rock king beast and said frivolously, Hurry up and present the treasures for spiritual cultivation. Otherwise the sea beasts guarding the forbidden area will be seriously injured and you will not be able to stop us. Why waste time talking to them? Just rob them. At this time, more than 100 marine beasts in the early to middle stage of the quasi-emperor realm also arrived outside the rock palace. Each one is huge in size and surrounds the rock palace densely. A rock king beast roared, Even if I die, I will not let you take away even a single cent of our forbidden land. Lava Beast King, Ice Beast King, come and help me. He had already discovered that the Magma Beast King and the Ice Beast King were coming. The two beast kings had bodies that were 10,000 meters tall, and they emitted terrifying fluctuations even if he didn't want to notice them. He couldn't. The three guardian races are close friends and lifelong friends. They jointly guard each other's dark gods and carry out their own missions. In times of trouble, assistance can be sought from the other two guardian races. Roar, roar. The Magma King Beast and the Ice King Beast roared excitedly, jumped to the side of the Rock King Beast, and said excitedly, I haven't fought for a long time. My hands and feet are almost stiff. Today is a good time to stretch them out. Yes, let's call our tribes beasts as well. I don't believe that these sea beasts can break through the joint defense of our three guardian races. Zhang Zunan, who was standing on the head of the Magma King Beast, had a few black lines on her forehead. He said unhappily, Fight, fight, fight. Do you have to fight? We are all my subordinates. Do we have to fight to the death? Stop it. Her voice was not loud. But as her divine thoughts burst out, it resounded in the ears of all the sea beasts. All the sea beasts suddenly felt thunder exploding in their ears, making their heads buzz. Zhang Zunan is in a transformed state at this time, with a human body, and looks very small, but her true form is a giant beast in the starry sky. The only extremely ferocious beast on the Aquasi Emperor planet that has reached the perfect level. Zhang Zunan flew up and came to the palace gates. He stood between two waves of sea beasts with different formations, put her hands on her hips and said, You 10 rough guys, please stand down. And you 3 guardian beasts, if you want to fight, don't do it in front of me. The far sense here. Where is the Rock King Beast and the Dark God? Take me to get them. The 10 king beasts of the ocean were confused. Why was their ancestor here? And come out from the enemy camp. When the Rock King Beast saw Zhang Zunan's figure and sensed her aura, its body shook. Ancestor Sea God. This is Ancestor Sea God. Have you finally come to retrieve the Dark God? Is my mission as the Rock King Beast about to be accomplished? Very good. It was extremely excited and shouted with joy. I'll ask you sea beasts for advice another day. Today, the Sea God Ancestor has arrived, and we, the Rock Guardian Sea Beasts, are here to receive our guests. Please go back. The 10 Sea King Beasts restrained their own eye and smiled awkwardly. So they are one of us. We were too reckless. Retreat. Chief, I leave this place to you. We are going back now. Zhang Zunan nodded. Yeah. The Ocean King Beast led more than 100 quasi-emperor sea beasts to withdraw. The Rock King Beast breathed a sigh of relief and said respectfully, Ancestor, please follow me. I will lead the way and let you retrieve the Dark God. In the memory of the Rock King Beast, the Dark God was originally something placed here by the ancestor of the Sea God. For them, the Rock Sea Beasts, to guard. Chapter 458. The Emperor's Soul. Gu King Cheng, a Rock King Beast, along with 2 beasts and 1 man, walked towards the place where the Dark God was sealed. Ice King Beast, Magma King Beast, has the Dark God you are guarding been taken away by our ancestors? The 2 beasts smiled proudly and said, Of course. Before coming to you, our race's mission was completed. That's right, otherwise we wouldn't have brought the Sea God Ancestor here. They feel honored and proud of it. 20,000 years ago, they were not yet born, but the ancestor of the Sea God was the invincible existence of the aquamarine planet 20,000 years ago. This was mentioned in the inherited memory of the race. Although the ancestor has now transformed into a human female, in essence, she is still the invincible Sea God Ancestor, the benefactor who saved millions of sea creatures on the aquamarine star. Ancestor, the one in front of you is me, the Rock Guardian Sea Beast, a dark god that has been guarding for 20,000 years. I will break the seal for you right now so you can take the dark god away smoothly. The Rocky Sea Beast King pointed at a huge, hard, yellow rock mountain in front of him. The Rocky Mountain looks like an ordinary mountain. Zhang Zunan nodded. The spell to break the seal from the inheritance burst out from the Rock King Beast, and rays of light shot onto the huge rock. A rocky peaks gradually melted and turned into wind and sand. A breeze swept in, blowing away the wind and sand, revealing the true face hidden in the peaks. A crystal that was green all over and emitted a faint glow was suspended in midair. The extremely rich power of the soul rule spread in all directions. The 3 king beasts and Zhang Zunan felt refreshed and energetic in an instant. The Rock King Beast said respectfully, Ancestor, please. A blue light gate appeared beside Zhang Zunan, and Gu King Cheng, Xiao Yi and Ziyiran walked out. This is my partner. Zhang Zunan said, Madam, the Dark God is there, you need to get it yourself. A Rock King Beast stayed quietly aside, watching silently. Gu King Cheng walked towards the dark green crystal, with her super long legs, and twisted her sexy waist. The crystal seemed to have telepathic connection. It hummed and automatically flew towards Gu King Cheng, disappeared into her body, and merged into the soul cocoon of the future Empress in the sea of spirituality. The soul cocoon that enveloped the soul of the future Empress suddenly burst into a dazzling dark green light. Lines of soul roll power flickered around the cocoon. Gu King Cheng felt that her spiritual sea had been sublimated, becoming more stable and powerful than ever before. She observed the soul cocoon. She couldn't see the scene inside the cocoon, but there was a tearing sound on the surface of the cocoon, and two extremely solid soul jade hands stretched out from the cocoon. The soul jade hands pulled hard on the soul cocoon, and a mature and charming strong soul body crawled out of the cocoon. This is the soul of Gu Qingcheng. She jumped out of her soul cocoon and jumped twice on the spacetime treasure. Her pretty face was full of joy. She looked at her hands and said happily, "The soul will never decay, I will exist forever. My current soul level is the Emperor Realm. Emperor Realm Divine Soul. At Emperor Realm Dark God has completely solidified my soul. I will separate from the main body and grow up on my own." Gu Qingcheng was shocked. This soul that was separated from her complete soul in the future actually became a complete soul, completely separated from the main body, and able to exist forever in the world on its own? A complete imperial soul body? "Old Gu, are you going to take over my body and take over the control of my body?" she asked worriedly. Shen Hun Gu Qingcheng put his hands on his hips and laughed. "You think too much. Rather than taking over your body, I would rather merge with your soul. Do you think your future husband is a fool? Since he can leave the Emperor Realm Dark God here without any worries, he won't worry that I will hurt you. Even if I hurt you, my future husband will use thunder and lightning to raise his hand from the future and slap me to death with one palm. You don't know that my future husband is the master of all races in the universe, controls the origin of the universe, controls the 3,000 laws of the universe, knows the past and the future, and is omnipotent. Even if I have the intention to steal, I don't have the courage to do it." Gu Qingcheng breathed a sigh of relief, her beautiful eyes sparkling with brilliance, and said, "Xiao Yi is only at the great venerable level now. In more than 100 years, has he grown to the point where he can control the universe?" Gu Qingcheng, the spirit, boasted proudly, "Maybe I exaggerated a bit, but it's almost there. Don't ask what your future husband will be like. He is now the trend of the starry sky, a mythical template, which is enough to explain everything." Mythical template. Gu Qingcheng frowned. She didn't know yet that Xiao Yi was a mythical template. Soul Gu Qingcheng laughed and said, "I am now extremely strong. Even if an emperor comes, I can fight him." "Xiao Gu, you should improve your realm. You are a little behind. Zhang Zunan's realm is much higher than yours. Don't leave our husband for the next 2 days. You may explode and die at any time due to the power of rules. It's best to stay close to your husband at all times. Even if he poops, you have to follow him." She did not confess completely with her soul at the emperor level. She could already communicate with the essence of the law of destiny, know the power of all the rules of destiny in the world, and suppress the power of the rules of chaos that was about to come from Gu Qingcheng. But she didn't say it. Being able to suppress the power of riot moles and solving template problems are two different levels of things. The template problem cannot be solved by Shenhun Gu Qingcheng. Gu Qingcheng was stunned. "Xiao Yi is taking a shit. Oh, I have to go into the toilet and watch?" The soul Gu Qingcheng suppressed a smile and said, "That's right." Gu Qingcheng's face turned red and blue, and the corners of her mouth twitched. After a while, she looked determined and said, "Okay. And I won't let Xiao Yi poop, let him hold it in." Soul Gu Qingcheng. Ziran, Xiao Yi and Zhang Zunan came to Gu Qingcheng, who was standing there in a daze, and looked at her in a daze. Ziran touched his chin with a puzzled look on his face and said, "What happened to Qingcheng?" Her expression changed so quickly she looked shy, angry, and embarrassed. This is the first time I've seen all these expressions on Qingcheng's face at the same time. Zhang Zunan raised her hand. "I've seen it." Ziran and Xiao Yi looked at her. Zhang Zunan recalled and said slowly, "When the mistress and the master were doing naughty things, I saw these expressions on the mistress's face. Oh, there's one more expression missing, the expression of enjoying pleasure." Xiao Yi was shocked. "You didn't lie to us, did you? Sister Qingcheng and I are doing something shameful." Ziran's beautiful eyes lit up, and she revealed an expression of enjoying herself. Zhang Zunan was a giant in the sky, so she didn't think there was anything wrong with saying this. And she said in detail, "Yes, 20,000 years ago, a lord and the mistress asked me to watch the door. I was curious about what they were doing, so I sneaked into the room. As a result, the master and mistress are doing shameful things. I've done it in the living room, kitchen, balcony, bathroom, bedroom, and even in the wild. At first they avoided me. But later, the mistress said that I was not a human, but a giant star beast. It didn't matter if they looked at me. So they did it in front of me." At this time, a white and tender hand covered Zhang Zunan's small mouth. The people who were eating melons turned their heads and saw Gu Qingcheng, who was blushing and staring at them with her beautiful eyes, saying, "Shut up." Chapter 459. Gu Qingcheng, just tell me secretly. Xiao Yi and Ziran were both stunned. Will he be as unbridled as Gu Qingcheng in the future? But now, his relationship with Xiao Yi and the Queen of Hanghouse City is clean and clear, without any ambiguity. Zhang Zunan's little mouth was covered. Gu Qingcheng blushed, stared at him with her beautiful eyes, and said, "Little girl. Shut up." If you say that again, I don't want you anymore. Zhang Zunan panicked, pulled the hand away, and nodded hurriedly. No more, no more. Madam, please don't abandon my little girl. She had finally met her lord and mistress again, and had finally followed them. She didn't want to live a lonely and helpless life anymore. Gu Qingcheng turned around and saw Xiao Yi and Ziran looking at her with strange expressions. Well, it's a nice day today. She looked at the sky somewhat embarrassed. Lie. The Magma King Beast said, how come the weather is good when the sky is full of yellow sand? Humans are really weird. They lie with their eyes open. Zhang Zunan glared at him. Shut up. Magma King Beast. The ancestors also became strange. A Rock King Beast and the Ice King Beast quickly pulled the Magma King Beast away and said in a voice transmission, let's go and reminisce about the past. You are really stubborn. Can't you see the relationship between our ancestor and them? Be careful or the old man will get mad and beat you up. The Magma King Beast shrank its neck and slipped away even faster. In his subconscious, the ancestor of the sea god is an invincible existence, and no sea beasts on the aquamarine planet can defeat him. Gu Qingcheng pulled Zhang Zunan aside, glanced at Xiao Yi in the distance, and whispered to Zhang Zunan. And I really do those things with Xiao Yi? Zhang Zunan said in a muffled voice. Madam, tell me to shut up. Gu Qingcheng's face darkened. I'm asking you to tell me now. Just tell me in secret. Zhang Zunan smiled and said, yes. But 20,000 years ago, you were so loving and loving that you held hands wherever you went. I followed behind him and became a light bulb. Gu Qingcheng was silent for several seconds before accepting it and asking, what did he call me then? Zhang Zunan recalled, I called you Xiao Qingcheng. Little Qingcheng. Gu Qingcheng's pretty face blushed. He was so kind. The soul of Gu Qingcheng was in the sea of consciousness. With a complicated expression on her face, happy and sobbing, with tears of joy flowing from the corners of her eyes after her efforts during this period of time. She finally got what she wanted in the future. No longer a resentful woman guarding an empty room day and night. I finally got the favor and love of my husband. Now, she can use the treasure of time and space to go back 100 years. But she witnessed the contact and changes in the relationship between Xiaogu and Xiao Yi here, and dominated the direction of their relationship. She wanted to see with her own eyes that Xiaogu and Xiao Yi were really together. At this stage, she has already invested her emotions and doesn't want to leave so soon. If only I could see with my own eyes that the two of them actually came together and signed a contract. She would rather stay here than go back 100 years later and have her soul absorbed by the main body. After she goes back, she will definitely be absorbed by the future Gu Qingcheng, there is no doubt about it. Xiaogu, do you want me to go back to the future now? She asked in her spiritual sea. Gu Qingcheng said without even thinking, don't leave. She said it with some intensity. If you leave, how can I pursue Xiao Yi? I don't chase men at all. The soul of Gu Qingcheng listened quietly, with the corners of his mouth slightly raised, and he felt a little happy. After Gu Qingcheng blurted out the sentences, her face changed and she said, I'm sorry, you must want to go back now after all. Xiao Yi and you are already very affectionate. In the future after you go back, you will be able to enjoy the taste of a man. It would be selfish of me to let you stay at this time. The soul Gu Qingcheng laughed out loud and said, it's okay, I'll stay as long as you want me to. When you get tired of me, I'll go back to the future. Gu Qingcheng was overjoyed. All Gu, thank you. I'll never get tired of you. If Xiao Yi and I really get together, I will let you control your body and spend the wedding night with Xiao Yi. Gu Qingcheng's eyes widened and he swallowed. Really? Gu Qingcheng hesitated. How about, let me come on the wedding night, and let you come the next day? The soul of Gu Qingcheng said, no problem. Zhang Zunan looked at her mistress, who was in a daze again, and had no idea what vicious words Gu Qingcheng was saying or what earth-shattering event he was planning. She just felt that her current mistress was too weird and often in a daze. In the distance, Zoran pulled Xiao Yi and teased. Xiao Yi, after listening to what Xiao Anan said, do you have no idea at all? Explain. Are you having wild thoughts in your mind? Xiao Yi hurriedly shook his head. No, absolutely not. Sister Ziran, don't think too much. I don't have any improper thoughts about Sister Qingcheng. Don't let your imagination run wild and don't get jealous. Ziran was speechless and said, am I the kind of person who can get jealous at any time? I am very generous, okay? Xiao Yi looked straight ahead. You are it. Ziran snorted. My 3 best sisters are all in love with you. And I won't mind if there's one more. Why are you pretending to be so noble in front of me? Don't think I don't know that you are actually an LSB. Looking at Qingcheng's hot body and majestic face, I don't believe that you don't have any ideas at all. Xiao Yi's temples were throbbing, and he felt that he couldn't let Ziran continue talking, so he changed the subject and said, Sister Ziran, I suddenly noticed that your panties have become tighter and the size has become much smaller. Your thing is about to pop out. He had no improper thoughts about Gu Qingcheng, and he was not lying. But he wants to possess the Destiny template, the Q-Ilin template that can access future power. So, at this moment, he was thinking about signing a contract with Gu King Cheng. But this kind of thing cannot be rushed, and he still doesn't know how the Queen of Hanghouse, Gu King Cheng, feels about him. You can't just say to her, I covet your destiny template. I order you to fall in love with me immediately and sign a contract with me, right? Ziran's attention immediately shifted to herself, and when she looked down, she realized that she was not even on tiptoe. She was delighted and extremely happy. I was wondering why I couldn't breathe, and this is the reason. I measured it and found that the grade should be C, and the limit is close to D. If you give me a few more massages, my body will definitely be restored to its peak condition, comparable to King Cheng and Xiao Shi. Xiao Yi widened his eyes and asked, Are you measuring it with both hands? Gu King Cheng walked over, looked at him with a perverted look, and said, Ziran, what are you doing in public? Ziran laughed, not feeling embarrassed at all, and said, It's okay, there are no men here, and those sea beasts are not human. Xiao Yi's face darkened. Is he not a man? Gu King Cheng looked at Xiao Yi, her face slightly flushed, and said, Xiao Yi, our trip is considered a complete success, is it time to go back? Ziran said. King Cheng, why are you asking him? You should ask me. I have only collected 56 Supreme Realm crystal cores. Not even 200 yet. Gu King Cheng avoided her eyes. She now regarded Xiao Yi as her backbone, so she subconsciously wanted to listen to Xiao Yi's arrangements. Xiao Yi smiled and said, Then let's go hunt some more sea beasts and collect enough crystal cores before returning. Gu King Cheng nodded. Yeah. Zhang Zunan came over and said with a giggle, Crystal cores, I have plenty of them. I usually eat them as snacks. She waved her hand, and thousands of Supreme Realm crystal cores and hundreds of Saint Realm crystal cores appeared in the air. Xiao Yi took a breath of cold air. So many? Chapter 460 Zhang Zunan, I want to go to Blue Star too. More than 1,000 Supreme Realm crystal cores were floating in the air, shining with colorful brilliance, like a starry sky, forming a beautiful picture. The Holy Realm crystal core is like a star, but larger in size and releases more powerful energy and color, which is the finishing touch. Gu King Cheng stared at it in a daze, and once again felt humbled by what she had. Not only is she inferior to Zhang Zunan in realm, she is also inferior to Zhang Zunan in resources. Ziran smacked his lips. He actually ate the crystal core as a snack. He really was rich. If these resources were multiplied several times, they would be comparable to the wealth of the Hidden Z family. Zhang Zunan commands the entire Blue Sea Star and leads tens of millions of sea beasts. If they were all brought to Blue Star, it would be like a natural disaster invasion, and all the secular forces on Blue Star combined would not be able to resist. Zhang Zunan scratched her head and tilted her head and said, These are all given to me by the sea beasts. If they are not enough, I can ask them for more. I estimate that the amount will be 10 times greater. What a pity, during the more than 100 years since I woke up, I have already eaten thousands of supreme crystal cores, otherwise it would have been more. Xiao Yi smiled and asked, That's enough, that's enough. And I have some. Little girl? Zhang Zunan nodded her head in a rush. My lord, if you want to take it, just take it. Mine is yours is yours, and I am yours too. Xiao Yi smiled widely. It was the first time he had seen so many high-level crystal cores. She waved his hand and took half of the supreme crystal cores and Saint crystal cores. She said, Half is enough, and you can use the rest for yourself or eat it as a snack. If you take all of them away, it would be too extreme. Zhang Zunan smiled and said, Madam, what about you? I'll give you the remaining half. I'll ask the sea beasts for some later. I have plenty of crystal core snacks and I can't finish them all. Gu King Cheng. She swallowed, unable to resist the temptation, and took the remaining half. Ziran's pretty face darkened. What about me? Don't I even have a single hair? But Zhang Zunan didn't care about Ziran's feelings at all. She was not her mistress. So why should she care? She has only one mistress, Gu King Cheng. Ziran snorted. If she didn't have any, then she didn't have any. Her secluded Z family was no pushover either. They had plenty of resources. Gu King Cheng noticed that Ziran's face was dark, smiled and came over, whispering in her ear, I'll give you half after we go back. Ziran smiled instantly, and his expression changed very quickly. She is worthy of being her good sister and is so nice to her. Ziran glanced at Xiao Yi and snorted. Xiao Yi said helplessly, All my resources will be used on my beast girls, including you. When you become stronger, I will also become stronger. When Ziran heard it, she felt that it made some sense. After returning, she will be able to upgrade the template level and devolve the SSS level devouring template to a mythical level template. Ziran was also very envious of the mythical template. Xiao Yi said, This trip is over, we should go back to Blue Star. Xiao and Anan, do you want to stay on Aquamarine Star or follow us back to Blue Star? Gu King Cheng smiled and said, Blue Star is another planet. If you follow us, you will have to leave here and leave your familiar hometown. Zhang Zunan said, As a matter of course I will follow the master and mistress. This is not my hometown. My hometown was destroyed by the Starry Sky clan a long time ago and became a cosmic graveyard. I am the only starlight-type space beast of my type left. My lord and mistress are my relatives. Wherever you go, my little girl will follow you. Xiao Yi nodded. Then you follow me. Zhang Zunan is a starry sky giant beast that has reached the perfect quasi-emperor realm and possesses unparalleled power. They also have a powerful backer. Wu King Cheng thought carefully and said, the blue sea star treats you as its ancestor. Before you leave, say goodbye to those sea beasts and set some rules. This way the blue sea star won't be in chaos after you leave. With Zhang Zunan as the ancestor, the aquamarine planet maintains the balance between the various sea beast species. So the aquamarine planet appears to be peaceful and prosperous. But after Zhang Zunan left, it's no longer certain. As long as they are ferocious beasts. Most of them have violent, lustful, greedy and reckless natures. Without Zhang Zunan's restraint, these sea beasts will most likely reveal their true nature, triggering racial wars again and again, competing for resources, for female sea beasts, and for territory in sea areas. Zhang Zunan thought for a moment and said, Mistress is right, I need to set some rules for them to follow. Immediately, she used her divine consciousness at the great perfection of the quasi-emperor realm to send out a message, asking the leaders of all tribes and their king beasts to come see her. At her level, the barrier between the secret realm and the main space could no longer prevent her from transmitting sound. Then Zhang Zunan sent a message to the 3 beast kings of the Guardian race who had escaped, asking them to come and see her on the land of the main space outside the secret realm. Zhang Zunan, along with Xiao Yi, Gu King Cheng and Ziran, came to the only land on the aquamarine star, waiting for the arrival of the sea beast kings. The sky of the aquamarine planet is so blue, a deep blue, not a cloud. There are actually 3 suns. Wu King Cheng looked at the sky and exclaimed in amazement. Zhang Zunan laughed and said, the weather is really nice today. Wu King Cheng felt as if she had said this. Was little and uneasing her? Zhang Zunan paused and continued, actually, it's just that the sky looks nice today. Most of the weather is cloudy and rainy. On ordinary days, the scenery of strong winds and heavy rains on the sea surface is not as beautiful as the magnificent scenery under the sea. While the man and the beast were talking, Xiao Yi was surprised to see that Ziran was measuring himself with his hands again. I only heard her mutter, with a strong sense of joy in her words. It's already D. After a few more massages and drinking a few hundred liters of blood, I will be able to recover to a peak figure comparable to Xiao Shi King Cheng. Xiao Yi widened his eyes. Hundreds of liters of blood? When Ziran said this, did he drink hundreds of liters before? Oh my god. Maybe Ziran stole his blood while he was sleeping. Ziran did eat something from other parts of his body, but the effect of that thing shouldn't be so terrible. He gave Ziran 2 massages. And Ziran's level went from A to D, jumping 3 levels in a row. At this time, powerful power fluctuations were heard from all directions. One after another, huge deep-sea beast kings, thousands of meters in size, emerged from the sea and stood on the ocean like huge towering peaks. There are 13 in total, and all of them are in the late quasi-emperor realm. These sea beasts are the kings of various sea tribes, leading each race of sea beasts. Greetings, ancestor. Greetings, ancestor. Greetings, ancestor. Good morning, ancestor. I greeted Megatron with respectful tones. Zhang Zunan pressed her hands. And they immediately quieted down and watched quietly. Chapter 461. Zhang Zunan, I will be a good little maid. Zhang Zunan cleared her throat and said, I have something to do. I will be away from Aquamarine for a while. The 13 sea beast kings in the late quasi-emperor realm were all shocked. What? The ancestor is leaving. Has our ancestors given up on planet Aquamarine? Our group of beasts on the blue sea star is leaderless. The 3 guardian sea beast kings said, Ancestor, this is absolutely impossible without a leader. The blue sea planet will fall into chaos. Yes, we, the guardian race, do not like fighting and killing. Instead of fighting to the death, it is better to retreat to seclusion. Zhang Zunan's pretty face darkened and she said unhappily, Shut up, listen to me. I'm just away for a while and I'll be back soon. It's not like I'll never come back. The 3-headed beast king of the guardian race breathed a sigh of relief. That's good. Zhang Zunan continued, Before I left, I set a rule that no sea creature can violate, otherwise I will exterminate it. Yes, all the beast kings present took a deep breath. It's so serious, genocide. They immediately set an example and said, Don't worry. Ancestor, we will definitely not violate your rules. Yes, your rules are the heaven. And they are the rules for our survival. Grandfather, please speak, we are all listening carefully. I had no doubt about the truthfulness of Zhang Zunan's words. Subconsciously, they believed that Zhang Zunan had the ability. Zhang Zunan looked serious and said, 1. Small fights are allowed, but no clan wars are allowed. If any clan takes the lead, that clan will be wiped out by me and the entire Sea Clan. 2. The Magma Sea Clan, the Ice Sea Clan, And the Roxy clan are my guardian races. They have not been born in the past 20,000 years now that their mission has been completed. These 3 guardian sea clans have been born. You must live in harmony with them. 3. If there is an invasion from an alien planet, you must unite as a front and fight together against the aliens. 4. 5. Ziran stared blankly at Zhang Zunan's majestic appearance as she commanded the sea tribe. She felt that she was so cool, so impressive, and so grand. Little girl. The master of the planet. This is much more awesome than being the leader of the Supreme Alliance. The Supreme Alliance is led by the Supreme Commander, but Zhang Zunan is a sea beast that commands an entire planet. Zhang Zunan's subordinates include thousands of saints, hundreds of quasi-emperors, and 13 in the late quasi-emperor's emperor realm. After such a comparison, Ziran felt that she was far inferior. Gu Qingcheng clenched her fists and remembered what old Gu had said as she, Gu Qingcheng, didn't hurry up and take Xiaoyi down. Her attractiveness would be greatly reduced when Xiaoyi met a better beast girl in the future. At this time, Zhang Zunan was much better than Gu Qingcheng. He commands the entire aquamarine star, and his realm is also at the quasi-emperor level. With the right opportunity, he might be able to be promoted to the emperor level someday. She, Gu Qingcheng, was called the Empress, but at this moment, Zhang Zunan seemed to be more suitable for the title of Empress than her. At this moment, Gu Qingcheng and Ziran seemed to have become Zhang Zunan's background, feeling ashamed of themselves in the face of Zhang Zunan's charm. After Zhang Zunan said 5 points, she said seriously, "Once you break these 5 rules, I will immediately sense it. I may not come back to punish you right away, but I will definitely punish you. Okay, go do what you need to do. I'm done." After hearing this, the Beast Kings did not leave immediately, but said, "Ancestor, please be careful on your way there. If you are bullied, send us a message and the entire Lava Sea clan will come to support you." "Yes, and my Ice Sea clan." "So do I, the Roxy tribe." The 10 Sea Beast Kings also expressed that they would provide support with their entire clans. Zhang Zunan's face darkened. If the whole clan came to support, what would happen? But all the sea beasts on the Blue Star go to the Blue Star? She waved her hand and said, "I received your words. Now go do what you need to do. I have something to do. Please step aside for a moment." Hearing this, the 13 Beast Kings looked at each other, and then each of their terrifying bodies sank into the ocean and disappeared without a trace. Zhang Zunan turned around, and her serious face instantly changed to a smiling one. She threw herself on Xiaoyi, rubbing her little head against his broad chest, and said obediently, "My lord, I'm done." Xiaoyi patted her head and said with a smile, "Okay, little maid." "Yeah." Zhang Zunan was very happy. Her pretty face was full of smiles, just like a kitten who liked her owner to touch her head. Ziran was a little jealous. She also wanted a maid of the lord of the planet. The corner of Gu Qingcheng's mouth twitched. She just said that Zhang Zunan was the empress, but now she has become a maid? The empress and the maid are not the same thing at all. Zhang Zunan turned around and said with a smile, "Madam, little Ananan is very obedient and will be a good maid." Gu Qingcheng nodded. "Oh, Zhang Zunan is also Gu Qingcheng's maid, so that's okay." Ziran clenched her little pink fists. Damn it, she also wanted a maid of the lord of the planet. Zhang Zunan sensed Ziran's emotions and asked in confusion, "Sister, are you also a maid serving the master? Wash your feet, rub your back, bathe, test poisons, relieve your master's desires, block fatal injuries, and go on adventures. My little girl can do all of that. It's my first time to be a maid. I hope my sister can teach me some experience. I see that your realm is very low. Little Ananan can give you some combat experience and upgrade insights." Ziran's face turned dark, her full chest heaving up and down with anger, and her beautiful eyes burst into rage. She, Xiaoyi's beast girl, was actually treated as a maid? Gu Qingcheng chuckled and said, "Little girl, Ziran is not Xiaoyi's maid, she is Xiaoyi's beast mother." Zhang Zunan scratched her head, somewhat puzzled. "The Lord's beast girl, what does that mean?" Gu Qingcheng thought for a moment and described it. "She is the woman who will give birth to offspring for Xiaoyi." Zhang Zunan's beautiful eyes lit up. It turns out that this sister is not the master's maid, but the master's spouse. "I'm sorry, sister spouse." She was so happy this beautiful-looking woman was not her lord's maid. That meant her was the only maid in her lord's family, and no one would compete with her for his favor. Zhang Zunan does everything a maid should do. Wash feet, rub back, scrub bath, warm bed, test poison, help the lord relieve desires, resist fatal injuries and adventure. Thinking about her happy life in the future, Zhang Zunan felt so happy that she felt like she was going to break. Ziran snorted coldly and turned her head away from her. "Call me Sister Ziran. Sister spouse. This title is too ugly. If you keep yelling, I'll hang you up and spank you." Zhang Zunan was not afraid at all. The level of her spouse's sister was so low that she couldn't catch her at all, let alone hang her up and spank her. She smiled and said, "You are wrong. Little girl, you are wrong, you are Sister Ziran. After all, This person is the Lord's spouse, so we have to give her some face. Gu Qingcheng's sense of crisis became even stronger. Zhang Zunan. A maid actually has to provide Xiaoyi with a series of services, including washing feet, giving a bath, and warming the bed. If Xiaoyi falls in love with Zhang Zunan, does Gu Qingcheng still have a chance? The chance is slim. After returning, she must take action immediately and chase Xiaoyi, take him down as soon as possible. Ziran's face looked better, and he said, "It's getting late, we've been out for 2 days, let's go back to Blue Star now." Xiaoyi nodded. "Then let's set off now." Zhang Zunan raised her hand and said, "My lord, you show me the way and I will lead you." She waved her hand, and a force swept up Gu Qingcheng, Ziran, and Xiaoyi, and then they escaped into the void together with the powerful strength of the Quasi-Emperor realm. She quickly crossed the void and headed towards the Blue Star. Chapter 460. Gu Qingcheng is jealous. The speed of reaching perfection in the Quasi-Emperor realm was extremely fast, more than 10 times faster than when he came in less than half a day. Xiaoyi and his group, led by Zhang Zunan, returned to the City Lord's mansion of Hanghouse Base City on Blue Star. The three of them arrived above the base city of Hanghouse. Zhang Zunan's perfect aura of the Quasi-Emperor realm was naturally revealed, and the residents and soldiers in the entire base city were bent over by the pressure. They looked up at the sky in horror and felt the strong pressure from the giant beast in the starry sky. This is an extremely strange and powerful breath, which is profound, ancient, mysterious and vast, much more powerful than the Queen of Hanghouse. Their hearts are trembling and beating at the same frequency. At this moment, everyone thought that the sky was about to fall, but the extremely strong feeling of oppression was fleeting. It was oppressing all the residents and soldiers of Hanghouse Base City in the last second, and it completely dissipated in the next second. But there was a shadow in their hearts. In the sky, Zhang Zunan took in the entire situation of the Hanghouse Base City in a flash. Xiaoyi raised his hand and gave her a slap on the head, saying unhappily, "Are you here to show off? Or to be a maid? Hurry up and restrain your aura if you don't obey. Go back to your aquamarine planet." Zhang Zunan's neck shrank, and she covered her head with her hands. Her beautiful eyes were filled with fear. She quickly apologized and said, "My lord, I was wrong, please don't chase me away." "Little girl, promise to be obedient." Gu Qingcheng smiled and said, "Little girl, this is not the Blue Sea planet. When you are not facing a strong enemy, do not release your own realm aura, you must restrain it completely." Zhang Zunan nodded rapidly. "Yeah, I understand. Little girl is very good and will do her best to be a good maid." When Ziran saw Zhang Zunan being humiliated, a smile appeared on her pretty and innocent face, and she was very happy in her heart. "Look at me showing off to you, now I'm being taught a lesson." Xiaoyi looked at the three women who were still only wearing small underwear. Their fair bodies were revealed under the setting sun, shining and glittering. These are three beautiful and graceful bodies, revealed so clearly and brightly. Noticing his gaze, Gu Qingcheng blushed and said, "Let's go back to my bedroom and take a bath. If the residents and soldiers of Hanghouse see you like this, I will be too embarrassed to see anyone." Ziran's smile froze. She looked down and realized she was only wearing a small underwear. "Oh, let's go now, there are too many men on Blue Star, and I don't want to be seen by others." 3 seconds later, everyone brought Zhang Zunan to the City Lord's bedroom in the City Lord's mansion. A 10-story super villa. This big villa is fully equipped with fitness area, training area, entertainment area and living area. It has everything. Gu Qingcheng was pulled by Ziran into the bathroom. "King Cheng, mine is also very big. I want to compare it with yours to see how much bigger the difference is." "Well, goodbye. I haven't taken a bath with you guys for a long time. I'm so embarrassed." Gu Qingcheng. "It's okay, I've seen you poop before, why are you embarrassed?" Ziran dragged Gu Qingcheng into the bathroom. Xiaoyi sat on the sofa, looking at Zhang Zunan who was standing next to him blankly, and asked in confusion, "Don't you want to take a bath?" Zhang Zunan asked in confusion, "Why does little Enan need to take a bath? I'm very clean." "My lord, you don't believe it?" She was anxious, so she grabbed Xiaoyi's rough big hand and pressed it against her body, saying, "Feel it and see that the little girl is really clean, there is no dirt at all. Although my original form is a giant star beast, after I transform, I am no different from a human woman. I have everything that human women have, and I can get pregnant and give birth to a girl." Xiaoyi widened his eyes, and his rough hands were forced to press on the tender skin and rubbed it casually. "It feels very smooth and tender, just wonderful. The crystal white skin is as tender as a newborn baby's and shiny white." He withdrew his hand, feeling hot all over, looked away, and said, "Well, you are very clean." Zhang Zunan was very happy to receive the praise from her master. Her pretty face smiled and she said with a giggle, "My lord, don't you need to take a bath? I will give you a bath. Little girl knows everything, she is proficient in all kinds of difficult things." Xiaoyi felt that he couldn't be alone in a room with Zhang Zunan anymore. Something bad would happen. He hurriedly ran into another bathroom, closed the door and said, "No. I'm not used to being served. I need someone to scrub me when I take a shower." Jiang Zunan stood there in a daze, a look of grievance on her face. And her eyes, as pure as autumn water, became moist. The Lord had agreed to let her be his maid. But he still rejected her. She really is a maid. Jiang Zunan was angry and depressed. She sat on the sofa where Xiao Yi had just sat, with her brows furrowed. What should she do if her lord rejects her? What should I do? No, little Nn is a giant star beast who is willing to work hard from the moment she meets the lord and the princess again. She will do her best to serve the lord and the princess and make full use of the value of her existence. Only then will the lord and the princess not abandon her like before and let her stay alone on the aquamarine star for 20 years. If the star beast had not been able to fall into a deep sleep, she might not have been able to survive those 20,000 years. After much thought, Jiang Zunan felt that being a maid required her to start with small things and let the master gradually accept her identity. Yes, start by washing the Lord's feet. Wash your feet, take a bath, warm the bed, relieve your desires, etc. As the degree of her kindness grows, the Lord will not reject her so strongly, and will gradually accept her identity as a maid and adapt to her identity as a little maid. After figuring it out, Jiang Zunan's beautiful eyes lit up again. She felt that life had hope again, and her heart became happy. Suddenly she sniffed with her delicate nose and curled her cherry lips. This is the sofa that the master has made. It has the taste of the master. Jiang Zunan lay down, sniffing on the sofa with an intoxicated look on her face, her butt raised high. What the hell? A sharp voice came from behind. Jiang Zunan, what are you doing? Are you a pervert? Xiao Yi, neatly dressed, stood there